Nah, you definitely beat your record on that one. You definitely beat the record on that one. Give me a second, guys. We still getting somewhat started. My freaking head going crazy right now. It hurts. Oh, still not fully ready yet. Holy shit. First off, that's all I pretty much drank is water, and I just took something. So yeah, I just gotta give it a little bit to kick in. That I'm trying to not smoke as much, cause I kind of feel like that's another reason why I'm having a fucking headache. Ugh. Oh. Jesus Christ, dude, that was a big ass yawn. Um, yeah, actually, yeah. Iraq. Oh, my ears. Brother. Am I still too early? Apparently. Ready to go back to fucking bed. My damn head's hurting right now. But that's alright. I got shit to do today. We got a movie to watch, pretty much. Dude, you got literally everyone. Nah, right before I took my nap like an hour ago, all I heard from some pros was, yeah, get ready for today. It's gonna be a fucking movie. I was like, oh, here we go. Then I guess you're the legendary keyboard and mouse player of all time. Don't go champs, man. Motherfucking Pete and Poya, let's do it. Nah, it literally still showing a freaking screen of the lobby right now, or who's all playing. Booga, Muzz, Rise. Nah, Muzz and Rise are on a fucking tear today, or yesterday they was. Playing it? I wouldn't doubt it. He's one of the front runners to win freaking solo FNCS. Oh my god, you're about to make me go and grab my keyboard and mouse and just fucking try it out. Yeah. Sounds like you're typing up a whole essay right there. Huh? Try what? Try what? Oh, I literally, I think I talked about it with my brother, but he was like, don't do it just because of the fact that it's gonna be so much harder just to learn it. And I was like, I understand that, so you're just telling me basically stay on controller. And he was like, honestly, yeah. I think generally if I want to do keyboard and mouse, I need to get me a mouse pad first. I don't want my mouse just running all over the table and then create scratches on it either. I already got enough damage to the table done. One point. Yeah, nah. I'm expecting a lot from Pollo today. Huh? Fuck no. FNCS, baby. That comes first. I'm not the only one putting in the work. Fucking Dragon's been doing back to back fucking 10-hour streams lately, just practicing and shit by himself or with people, and I was like, dude, I've never seen this type of shit from my duo before. I think he was already talking about today putting in more, and I was like, go for it, dude. Whoop ass.
Fortnite fam, day 2 of the grand finals. 6 games today.
All right, the final 6 games.
To make adjustments to.
Oh shit! I forgot to turn back on the camera.
Oh, that's right. There's also prize money and an Axe of Champions. I hope you're ready. It's FNCS time.
Yep. Real. Yeah, allegedly.
The only people more excited about the grand
finals
is Kelly Link and Vivid. Friends, day number 2, 6 games, Axe of Champions, 6 spots, prize money. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm feeling
nervous.
like a
I'm sure
Peter
not
Bot
as nervous
Championships
as
about to
our
happen.
players, but my goodness, was day one such an exciting day for Fortnite. Not just for you, but of course NA. It was absolutely incredible. And the way that things ended off with Peter Bot and Pollo on top, my goodness, Vivid. But we've already got 6 teams from North America made their way to the Global Championships, and we're going to find 6 more today.
I mean, listen, we have constantly talked about it. Every single time you guys have seen our faces up here, it feels like this Fortnite season is just flying by. I mean, Major 2 has been no different. We are already on day number 2 of Grand Finals, just a couple of hours away from not only crowning champions, but for securing.
Well, I wonder why you feel like it went by fast. You
qualifications.
did
A lot to
fucking
play for and
FNCS
just
for
6
2
games
weeks.
left to do it.
We've never had that.
Oh man, let's go ahead and start off easy here. Let's bring up that leaderboard. Let's remind ourselves kind of how things ended. To start, I'd like to go ahead and say, hey, that's right, NA, we got top 5 in NA, no EU in the top
Pollo,
5.
Ritual,
Currently, I'm looking at you, Veno, I'm looking at you, Moneymaker, and
Acorn, Bolts,
But
Pigs,
speaking of
Curve,
both of these EU duos,
Aegis,
you know, we
Veno.
kind of seen some crazy situations out of Moneymaker and Fanayan, specifically looking to possibly contest
It's a crazy top
some other
6
duos.
just right
Veno,
there.
do you maybe want to talk us through some of that action?
Yeah, so Moneymaker and Fnatic, I mean, obviously you can see they're doing well on the leaderboard, but they came into it yesterday in game number 1, kind of expected to land at this island split to the east of Sunken, and they were uncontested game 1, and out of that, they got 3rd place with 4 eliminations, but for whatever reason, they just weren't happy with that. And as you can see, just to the north end, by the way, Kentucky and Josh Yamazar kind of had this contest going on, but Moneymaker and Fnatic, like I said, they weren't happy with it. So in the next like 5 games, they moved. A bulk of those games, they went to the 0-point center of the map split where they ended up being contested. And then one of the other games, they went up to Chopped Shop up there in the northwest side of the map. So they pretty much left their uncontested split to the south side and opted to be contested. It's kind of working out for them because they're still doing well on the leaderboard, but it's also working out well for Josh Nyamzo and Kentucky because now both of those duos have
11 and a half minutes until fucking game 7 starts. Like, holy shit, man.
On how this actually pans out through the day and if we can kind of expect this to kind of remain how it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because they definitely started off strong.
It's
The
NA.
last 2 games were definitely a little rough for
Central.
them. So it'll be interesting to see if they do change up their strategy. But for a team that also had some success yesterday,
Fortunately, I'm
you
not
already
going to be
alluded
able to
it a
watch
little
West
bit,
because
Zeke,
I'm
but gonna let Vic
pretty
take
sure
it
that
away
falls
because
during the
Veno and
session
Agers had
tonight.
quite a day yesterday.
I mean, listen, we're kind of talking about all spawn situations. I expected Veno and Aegis to come into this weekend with a little something up their sleeve. I did not expect them to go latte at all because they were going to be triple contested over here. But this triple contest, it happened all 6 games. There was no secrets being kept from Veno and Aegis outside of the fact that they are just darn good. Because I feel like anybody that watched those 6 games yesterday would probably agree with me in saying that Veno and Aegis, I feel like, won that all spawn fight, whether they were fighting or not. But the tough part about it is that when you're triple contested, you kind of leave the POI sometimes with not so great loot. I mean, their weapons and their utility is pretty good, but their mats were always just so low. So they were actually forced into a situation where they had to just take mid-game fight after mid-game fight after mid-game fight. That being said, I mean, it just worked out so well for them. We know they were our elimination leaders after just those 6 games, and the numbers do the talking for themselves. Because as you can see, this is a breakdown of all of our teams, or at least towards the top, of how many eliminations they were able to pick up between zones 0 and 7. So a bulk of Aegis and Veno, bulk of their action was just coming from those early to mid-game fights, 22 total eliminations from them.
And we've seen in the past, especially when Veno first came over to North America and teamed up with Clix, that he does really favor these early and mid-game fights. But I feel like between Clix and even Curve, that he hasn't really found a duo mate that would be able to kind of follow along with him and keep up the pace of Veno, who is so fast, so aggressive. But I don't think that's the case with Agers. Agers is the perfect teammate for Veno. Being able to just stay with him and keep that aggression going is definitely a key to the success that we saw from them yesterday.
I'm curious to see. Did we change something? Are we going to keep the triple contested situation? For now, though, as we continue to talk about day number 2, why don't we go say
What the
what's up to
fuck?
your
When did
sponsors,
Toast turn into
NBA,
Iron Man, bro?
Honestly, you're talking about day 2, Zeke, and honestly, one thing that always sticks in my head, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're doomed to repeat them. And for Queasy, Victor V, Okus, and Zana, they may have had some mistakes, but they also had moments where they shine like no other, getting victory royales on the day yesterday.
Yeah, it's a story that is so different from one to the other. Queasy and Victor V have very high expectations set on their shoulders. You saw their preparation has got them sort of out of the early game, but it's that mid game, the lurks that you saw in just the dynamic troubles in their area. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna adapt. And then Jacob, we have this team, right? Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yeah, and honestly, both of these teams really have shown, because they have shared at one point or another a spot inside of global championship qualifying territory. They fell down a little bit, 14th and 15th place on the respective leaderboard, but it goes to show that one game can truly mean the difference, Zeke.
It can, Jacob. That's why you have to fight it out until the final game of Fortnite. Fortnite's gonna do what Fortnite's gonna do. But why don't we go ahead and bring up once again the leaderboard, right? So we got the talk of EU out the way. Let's look at our top 5 and see who could possibly race to number 1. Let's start at the bottom. Higgs and Curb. I mean, look, we started very strong yesterday, right? A victory royale, 12 eliminations, and we had some consistency and maybe a few one-off games that didn't quite go their way. But Kelly, coming into today, I'm kind of curious what they might have adapted, you know, how they might have changed their plans to tackle these upcoming 6 games.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the first half went better in their favor, unlike the second half of the day. But I will say in game number 1, the game that they won, that they kind of forego these early rotations that I saw a lot of other teams kind of prioritizing. And instead they stayed in Storm. They kind of left Lifty Lodge and then even ended up going back to it. And it wasn't until zone 5 or 6 that they actually ended up going back into zone. And they kind of waited a little bit until zone 11 to steal high ground. And then just honestly, it was a clean, easy win and a bunch of eliminations. Getting that VR and the 12 elims has allowed them to kind of hold themselves up in this 5th place spot.
Higgs and Kerr, man, they opened strong yesterday. Games 1 through 3, they were towards the top of the leaderboard. I mean, yeah, they're still in top 5, but struggling with that consistency a little bit. But a team that has not been struggling to be consistent. Acorn and Bulge just a spot above them on the leaderboard in 4th place here. And I'm not going to lie, how everything kind of happened yesterday, I, as it currently stands, kind of favor Acorn and Bulge to kind of take this home. I feel like they're going to win this FNCS, and it's just on the back foot of how consistently that they have played. Their average placement right now over the first 6 games was 7.0. There is not another team in the lobby with a better average placement than 10, and these guys are on 7. So the consistency is there for Acorn and Bolts. I mean, we constantly talk about it. Acorn, best IGL in the world, paired up with Bolts, so mechanical. That being said, Callie, I know we were kind of talking about it yesterday. The solo clutch points are also kind of keeping these guys alive.
Yeah, it's wild to see that they have a 7th place average place, but they haven't placed above 5th. And I think a lot of that is due to what you just indicated, that they are consistently a solo when it comes to the final moments of the game. And you can see that here in the solo clutch points. And obviously, we kind of built up Acorn's solo play in the heats, but that is a one and done. You win and you move on. Here, we need both of them to stay alive a few moments. There was even a few moments in the game in the day yesterday where we saw that they were separated. They weren't even in the same box together. So I don't know necessarily if it's just a little bit of a hitch in their synchronicity or if there's something else going on, but we know that this duo has been together for quite a long time now, and I know that they have that synergy. So maybe just a moment to kind of look back on maybe where they're taking a few missteps and to recover. But again, I'm saying recover. They're in 4th place, but I would love to see them get into a top 3.
Absolutely right. I think we all want to see that. We got to keep the ball rolling, though, the conversation going. We got to talk about Muzz and Rise. No big deal. Only a few points behind
What?
Bot and Pollo. Very strong showing from the duo yesterday. Even a victory royale. You know, I guess I posed the same question. Now that we've had the evening to kind of moderate, to look over our gameplay, do we feel like they may have made some changes? Do we even feel like they need to? I mean, with such a strong showing, maybe they just stay the course?
Listen, they got a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd yesterday. I don't know necessarily if they're going to have to make any changes. And I got to rewatch some of their games this morning. And honestly, right off the bat, they have so much success. Muzz lands on this crazy high plateau where there's a few chests, and he's able to grab some easy tags on some players, especially depending on how the bus path goes. He lands so much earlier than anyone else. And then they get the mythic AR from the boss that's nearby. And then they go into this mid-map. They're like, you know, relatively in the middle of the map. So they have these these early rotations, and then they can get the surge tower that's in the middle of the map, and it's on top of that plateau that Muzz already landed on. So they have so much vision around the map. Just they have so much in the early and mid game that sets themselves up for success, that they don't really need these crazy big pop-off games in the end because they've just done so well in the early and mid.
Well, listen, 34 points separates first and fifth place. 6 points separates first and third, and just a single point separates Peterbot and Pollo and Ritual and Cold. I mean, listen, Ritual and Cold, no surprise here. And we kind of talked about it towards the end of yesterday. If you kind of follow socials, Kinch always posts out his stats from the days, and Cold was all over it, man. He was the player with the most damage dealt. He had the best individual damage ratio. That being said, it wasn't actually the individual prowess that was so impressive for me yesterday. It was actually their average placement if you go ahead and disclude game number 4, because unfortunately they got 46th place, 0 eliminations. They went down just 5 minutes into the game. If you go ahead and actually disclude that game and kind of take their average placement without that one, it's a 4.2. If these guys survive the early game and just make it to the end game, how do you have an average placement of 4.2 there? It is absolutely incredible. They're playing so consistent right now, and I'm not entirely sure what happened in that game number 4, but they can kind of prevent that from happening and have 6 games today where they're constantly in the end game. I mean, listen, only 1 point behind, these guys could win.
And on top of the consistency, they're also able to grab just a ton of eliminations every time they make it to the end game. And when I was rewatching some of their games, I thought, you know, maybe they're doing these crazy aggro plays like what Veno and Agers do. They just run in the mid game, jump in people's boxes and eliminate them. But no, they kind of wait until the end game and they'll kind of early rotate, box themselves up, and then just create a little window. And they're so in sync and in tune, and they're both so good that they're able to get an elimination onto players rotating in front of them in like a split second. And they don't even do, like, they are so efficient in their eliminations that they don't need to go for the loot. There was a game yesterday where they got 3 eliminations back to back to back and didn't go for any of their mats, any of their ammo, anything, because they barely wasted any of it. Cold and Ritual are just so efficient in the end game that they don't really need to use anything.
Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Well, you guys did it. You said a duo's name, it activated my neurons, and now we must talk about them. Peterbot Pollo. You know, Kelly, of course, it would be this way, right? We go in, we're like, Peterbot Pollo. We even talked about it at the top of the show yesterday. You know, like, sometimes they have these big explosive games, and sometimes they're not doing that hot. Of course, they win game 6. They come in today as that #1 team. Of course, it's only a point, but that's still not, like, that's a pretty scary place to be.
I'm a broken record at this point. I always say how they are, you know, historically a day 2 team, and that is still even the case for now. That was the case if you look at Summit Land and you split the games in half. They just do better in the second half of a tournament, and they're already in first place. And I have to think a part of that is due to this kind of early rotates they would do in the end game, even around zone 7 or zone 8. They would build these little towers and just kind of observe where everyone else is going. They would even rotate into Storm to build up a tower to kind of block everyone else off if there was this natural height. They do such a good job preparing for the end game that they're able to control height much earlier than any other team is able to do.
You can see their time on height yesterday. Over the course of the 6 games, it was almost 9 minutes total. But that being said, I feel like we have to mention Peterbot and Pollo, it was very, very slow for them in games 1 through 3. And matter of fact, most of this time, 7 minutes and 20 seconds of it, out of the total of almost 9 minutes there, actually just came on the back foot of games 4, 5, and 6. So a majority of that was just in the later half of the day yesterday. In fact, kind of going into game number 4 yesterday, they were on 160 points, and now they're on 333, which means that in just those last 2 games, they got more than half of their points than they are currently sitting on right now. So the momentum is on Peterbot and Pollo's side right now. Can they kind of bring it into day number 2 and keep the ball rolling?
Oh, man, it is going to be an awesome day of Fortnite, right? 6 games. After that, we've got 6 spots going to the Global Championship. We're fighting for prize money. We're fighting for the Axe of Champions. It is going to be another movie. It's almost that time. Everyone find your seats on the battle bus. Casters, over to you.
Thank you, Zeke. And yeah, as a community, Jacob, we're lucky we get to come into day 2 with 4 teams neck and neck, and then so many others in the race right now. What do you think is going to happen here?
Now, first off, lucky is an understatement. We got a front row seat. I think the last time we had a tournament this close, it ended just as close. I hope it's one placement. I hope it's one elim. I hope first and second place are battling it out come game 12, and the winner of that game wins it all.
Yeah, definitely. You know, NA has given us quite the spectacular show year after year, season after season. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. As we're gearing up here, though, we get to jump in for game number 7.
There's the buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Game 7.
This is a big day for everybody involved. We crown a Major 2 champion. If it's not for the prize money,
so
maybe the
fucking
active
crazy.
champions
You got
or
so
the
many
bragging rights
people,
to be the
so
best
many
in the world. We
fucking-
also have 6
so much
global
on the line.
championship spots up for grabs. Some teams already have them secured, so we could have a roll down situation. And Monster, with these 6 games, one last day to really put your name on the map and keep your journey
Uncontested.
going, because you don't want to have to go through that last chance global qualifier.
Yeah, definitely. Things get much more difficult later on in the weeks, but take a look at this. Veno, Agers, Chance, and Madden sticking to their drops as we sort of expected them to be contested, not to fully have the drop to themselves. However, it's quite the nice surprise, I'm sure, even for them to only have a single team here directly contesting them.
Yeah, they're not the only ones changing things up on this side of the map. I saw on the feed Aoxy Jojo Fishy taking down Void and Magma. That's another team that's just towards their west. Tolzir and Ishu.
It's already
this is a fight
crazy.
yesterday. We saw them kind of go back and forth, each team winning their respective off spawns, maybe even potentially trying to stay alive as a solo.
sure I just
And
watched someone
sometimes
die
all
to
you
fall
need is
damage
that
already.
one-day difference. It's time to kind of recollect, figure out what went wrong and fix it, but also figure out what went right and how to replicate it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, this is their get back. They lost, I want to say, about 4 out of the 6 drops yesterday, maybe even 5, honestly. I know the first game went their way, but besides that, it was a pretty tough showing. F9, Moneymaker, keeping things interesting for us here as they continue to sort of float around the drop. Today, they're pulling out a whole new bag of tricks. They have a completely new team and a new POI in sight.
Yeah, I feel like they realize sometimes on this region, it is those eliminations that make the difference and start that momentum building, get confidence through the roof. So for Moneymaker and F9, it seems like they're pinpointing contested fights off the drop. And I'm not sure if they kind of plan for where they're actually hiding, but teams usually do go down the monster. They usually do farm up the metal here, the break down below. You almost get maximum material down there. So the chances are high that teams are going to rotate in that direction. Obviously, the porta potty's there to get even more loot towards the backside of the map.
That's right, and Sharkman and Yuz are, of course, a team with some fair amount of points earned from yesterday. Their overall performance ending them in 23rd. So very much in the race right now for a consistency position. Meanwhile, Quick and Avari have the high ground here. They're looking down, also trying to see if they can find an opportunity. Everyone is oh so patient down
I don't know
here.
what that
so
is.
Moneymaker and F9 might have did their homework, but were they spotted potentially landing down?
That's
Hence everyone's
diabolical.
cautiousness at the moment. How much time can you wait here, though, right? Even with max heal, you don't really have a lot of builds. So the clock is ticking here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Like I said, they're going for that brick, the porta potty, Moneymaker and F9. You're asking how long they could be patient for. Just a couple of seconds longer. They do have a team crossing their path, but they're just trying to go ahead and loot that boat. But you also have Quick and Avari still up above eyeing this altercation. So the initial plan for Moneymaker and F9 is let the fight break out. Listen to the noise, look at the feed, count the knocks, and then strike. And now they might be the ones trying to push what little advantage they might have.
So interesting as they get closer, and I'm curious if they realize there's a team above them. They have to know because Sharkman and Yuz are building for good reason. Now, Vari and Quick are obviously not going to over-peak, so although F9 and Moneymaker are exposed here,
Pork
they're not
dumpling, what's
actually
going
in
on?
danger just yet from the high ground team.
Oh, I don't know why I put that in.
In the end, it does seem like they ultimately decide to leave.
You see, I'm just gonna sleep on the roof.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. They know 2 teams are here. When you see one disengaging out and you don't know where the other one is, a little bit too risky. As it does look like Paper and Zen are looking to go ahead and contest the Battlewoods against Ritual.
You see, I'm the
and
president.
Cold. This could be a
It
blessing
shouldn't
for
be
Ritual
any
and Cold.
money
They get
for
that
me.
first knock onto Zen, which is going to help them for Surge. I'm not sure how much, though. You can see 53 shield left on the Ritual. You got to imagine he took some sort of a shot. But while Paper and Zen contest Ritual and Cold, you can see Aviv and Veer at least trying to get a little bit of damage. It might be 20, it might be 30, but at least it's something to start the journey for Aviv and Veer.
Yeah, a couple tags there to put them ahead. Cold Ritual play a lot more defensively now as they tuck themselves inside the base, just in case that team comes down, not to be, of course, pinched here. Goes the shockwave to give them that extra stamina. Now it's time to go ahead and make the push here. Breaking that wall right there allows them to see straight through it, and the elimination was quick and easy for them. They had to secure their first set of points and some damage to go with it.
Yeah, basically 2 eliminations. Even though Ritual did get tagged up, it's still overall a net positive, especially since they haven't even left their POI yet. It's a lot of time for them to continue on with their game plan, just like Josh and Yamzo. They only get that little building just outside of Sanctuary, so they have to be quick to loot up elsewhere. And that's why we're seeing in majority of the games, even yesterday, they're so quick to get
I
out
thought
with that
everybody
actual
was
drop
leaving.
and
I thought
rotate
that's
towards
why the
center of
question
map.
was
This time
asked.
around,
My
it does
bad,
look
I'll
like they're
stay.
venturing on over towards Sinister Strip, and you're already seeing how crowded it actually is. All of our OG being the primary ones to try to put down pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Tons of teams situated in the vicinity. You have Okus and Zonda. BATMANBUGHA has a surge base there as well. This is quite the dangerous rotate. Everyone's going to base down, but for a second we get to jump in with Mirops, QK, Aminish, and Javi here. Shots and exchanges happening.
Nah, because this ain't president approved at all.
No,
matter of fact, this ain't fucking bad chicken approved.
They're popping tags in as well.
This is fucking bad chicken full denial.
Literally 4 teams.
Ooh, my vape's charged.
Darzy, 20, Chimp towards the outside, Marab's QK here, Javi and Aminish. And typically throughout the day yesterday, it was
a lot of stuff is done without bad
chicken's
chicken's approval.
In
It's
this
fine.
exact same location, maybe a little more towards the east on that coastline, but it's interesting to see them not even kind of move over in this direction. So Clicks and Rapid also having a change of game plan here, at least early on in game 1, as we return back to familiar territory on the whole southern western part of the map. Fnine and Moneymaker, you can see they kind of overstayed their welcome in the zone. My only question here, Monster, is probably the same one we had early on. Does anybody even know
making my
what's lurking
fucking
around?
brain hurt?
Yeah,
already
really
more
hard to
than
tell,
it's
you know, honestly,
you're
early on,
giving
I felt
my
like
headache
there might
a
have been
worse
some
headache.
early indication, maybe some visual pickup. Hey, there's another team, there's extra gliders here, what are we going to do about it? Hence why
Then come to come to my server. You know, the motherfucking King Chicken server.
everyone's probably not there. Since
Oh,
they've been
fucking
sort of
righty,
waiting
ladies
on top
and
of
gentlemen,
them in this
game
general area.
7.
Man, I can kind of see rightfully so. I feel like they just invested so much time and energy
go,
onto this
Poyo
side.
Pete.
They feel like it's a must. And it was immediately as they started shooting. Avari quick, Yuz,
Poyo
Sharkman
could
playing for a little
literally
bit of piece control. That's when I
turn
was
up
looking at it, but
and
you said
start
it just in
being
time that they are
like,
doubling back. And now they're
he
really
has
kind of
been
just
the
putting
last
it
couple of months.
on the line
They're just
here.
gonna
They're not
run away with
necessarily
this shit.
rotating out, but they're putting themselves in a position
that's
to
I'm not
no
gonna lie.
matter who wins this
I'm
actual
sorry
fight,
to
they're
my
gonna have to rotate into
my guy
Moneymaker and
Clicks.
Fnine.
I want Peter Bot to win at
Yeah,
this
it's gonna end up
point.
playing out.
What
Both
I
sides,
heard
of
and
course,
seen yesterday, dude, that
already
shit
digging
genuinely
into
pissed
their
me the fuck
heels.
off.
Sharkman gets control of the mending machine.
Rapid.
Here. Remember, this will allow them to get those med kits
Yeah,
as well,
dude,
but
dude,
some
Rapid
important
actually,
impacts
I
from the
seen the
low-ground
fucking
team,
clip.
Quick and
Rapid
Vari.
actually tabbed the fuck out.
But Nine and Moneymaker are like, all right,
I'll
we
literally
came
go
back,
find the
they're still
fucking
duking
clip.
it out.
No,
Let's get outta here.
I seen
They
the
end up waiting
last game
just outside the
before
storm line
Clicks
here.
died. He literally like fully closed the game.
Regardless of who wins this one, they are surely going to be in for
And
a
I was
treat.
like, dude, yeah, no.
Yeah, for a
And
situation
then I'm
like
hearing,
this, both of these teams
fucking-
need some sort of
he's not gonna
mathematician by
stream
their
right
side
now.
just to count up the numbers, how much damage they're taking, and find a way to do the quick maths, because honestly, this is looking like almost a no-win scenario with how many shots they're actually trading off, how many materials they're actually using, how much gold they're actually spending. So the longer and longer this one goes, it's not only that third-party team, because you see in the mini-map, Moneymaker Fnine still lurking around, but it's everything that you're using in this situation, all the resources that it's costing you, to where even if you do get both of the eliminations, not just one, it's still not
All
gonna
I
put
type
you
in
a
Rapid,
good
and it
spot.
says
It's
Rapid
almost,
selling
like
clicks.
I said, a no-win scenario forming right before our very eyes.
Yeah, I think Moneymaker Fnine are actually leaving out so that they can heal without giving away any audio sound effects or something like that, because there has to be a reason they're
Yeah,
doubling back
I
and
haven't
forth
even
as they try
changed
to
my
find
stuff
a
yet.
clean entry in to lurk up on the team. Now they're coming in from the top down. Avari and Quick, though. Look at this, down to their last med kit here.
Yeah, no, did
Start
you hear what I
breaking their way
said,
through the
Dragon?
builds.
Fucking
This is
Clicks'
gonna
teammate
expose them
straight
to the
tabbed
outside.
out. And
Nine and
then,
Moneymaker now have to
nah,
see
I'm
if
just
they
gonna
can
be
actually
completely
download
real and
what's
agree
happening
with
here.
Clicks. Yesterday
This
was a
extra bit of
shitty
information is gonna be
fucking
super
day
important
one.
for them. Otherwise, they'll be left holding the bag. Look, they actually
Yeah,
don't even
yes,
realize
they'll still
that
be
Quick
day
and
two.
Avari
It's
have now
just,
left
I don't know.
the draw.
Did you see if he was streaming or not?
And they're watching the whole other side. Instead of the same side that they kind of rotated on out, but you can see they found some loot on the outskirts of where they're actually at. They're able to get a couple of extra med kits, minis, bigs. Not sure what the mobility is looking like overall, but they're
Yeah,
at
no,
least in a
I
spot
don't see a
where they
Clicks
do have
up
the
there.
luxury
Yeah,
to
he's
stay a little
definitely
bit
not
longer.
streaming.
On over towards Calamari Canyon, where we jump in very quickly to see Noxie
Good.
go
He
down.
doesn't
And
need
it was
to.
no Nox. We know him and Dash have been eliminated out of this game.
Big eliminations for King and Kreese. That puts them at 3 now. That's a plus 12
My brain tweaking
points.
out.
If you start with just that, they're inside the top 10 now, jumping up to where Josh and Yamzo would have started the game here. For Acorn, for Bolts.
No,
they're off to such a
that's
hot
crazy.
start
I
in day
just
one.
fucking
The
opened up
cushion
to
is
see that.
growing. 318 points separate them from the rest, but I'm looking at that damage meter, looking like it's a bit light here, so options are going to be Oliver OG, but the problem is you have Yamzo in the distance, and remember, Peterbot and Boyo have that tower too, so a lot of potential third parties for Acorn and Bolts can be happening here.
You see what I see, right? But we're both looking at the same thing. And no, I'm not talking about Curve. He is great. We know what it is. Production even sees what I'm seeing. It's the return. The man, the myth, the legend. Higgs has been shoved away. It's the return of BATMANBUGHA. And this is something big right here because he has come so close under the name BATMANBUGHA so many times from NA West to Central. He has yet to capture that FNCS championship. And I feel like right now he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Day two, a new day for them. And why not bring a familiar name back to the mix?
Honestly, I would have loved to see him even go with Batman Higgs. Let's just merge the two, take the branding all the way. But BATMANBUGHA, what a fun username. Definitely inspired by obviously the GOAT himself. So really
no,
cool
he
to see
didn't.
Higgs having some fun
Did
here.
Higgs change his name back to fucking BATMANBUGHA?
All the good lucky charms that he can think of here.
Fucking
He is very
absolute
close to
cinema
striking
already.
NAC championship title here today.
Yeah, one point or another, sharing that first place spot.
Except
Along with
BATMANBUGHA,
Muzz
he's
and
like,
Rise
I don't
here,
got
talked about it
Clicks or
yesterday,
fucking
coming
Yamzo
together
here to
very,
tell
very
me to
late,
change my
especially
name. I'm
compared
going
some
back
of
to
the other teams that are
BATMANBUGHA.
around on the leaderboard. Had a not good day one. They needed to clutch up big in day two. They made it happen. They go through heats. It's a cakewalk for them. And then here in finals, they're playing so phenomenally
So
well.
wait a minute.
I think Rise
I don't
has
even know if I
flown
wanna-
so under the radar, you know, over the last couple of years, you know, maybe even questioning his dedication, his passion. I feel like, and
There's
I've
been
always said with
lots
the
of
right
rumors
teammate,
lately, and I
Rise
don't know if
will
it's
rise
true. I
back
don't
on
want to
up,
go
but I
and
think
ask
Muzz is that
anybody
right
from the
teammate.
actual team.
Yeah, listen, Muzz has had
But
this very consistent,
7 wasn't
successful
actually
career
7
on
before,
NA.
and it was a different
I feel like there's been
organization,
moments
I
where,
heard.
Again, he has excelled as an
And
individual, and
yeah,
pairing up along with
apparently
Rise,
we
also
was
had a very
originally
stable career.
2
These are
a.m.
two
esports,
super
and
veterans paired up with one another, and
now that I think
if
about
nothing
it,
else, I bet
that's
they just
kind of fucking cool,
complement
because
each
you
other
know who used to
very
be
well.
part
Two
of the
very
roster then?
level-headed
It was
players.
fucking
Their
Higgs.
performance here is surely showing. In a world of so much new,
Yes.
crazy talent
Absolute
as well, right?
cinema.
Like the Curves, like the
He's,
BATMANBUGHAs.
he couldn't type, he couldn't put the A
especially
in
the
there.
last year. But look at this. Being below, 120 below. We'll have to catch
Oh
up
no, he
with what's
no.
happening over there.
He
First, though, we
used
touch
to
base with Buzz and Raj,
so
who finds Boji
it's
rotating
because
through
of the
storm,
amount of
getting chased down
characters
by
that he
Sen.
has in
So,
his
a
name.
nice free
That's why he
pickup for
doesn't
them.
have
That's
the
a
A.
4-point swing going
If
their
he
way.
was a different
Yeah, it's
freaking
definitely good,
organization,
'cause
he probably
coming
could
into
fit the
today
A
with
in.
6 points difference between them in first place. Obviously, you got to figure out how many
what's-
eliminations Ritual
it's only
Cold,
what, the
Peterbot,
second?
Boy have gotten
Yeah.
throughout all this, but they're definitely climbing up as the game continues.
Because I messed up my
BATMANBUGHA's
Epic
gonna go
username
down. Curve
when I
going against
changed
Cold,
it.
and Ritual Cold is just going to shut them both down.
Oh, there goes
back to
fucking
back.
BATMANBUGHA.
Here in game one, along with Curve. They have
Ah,
the most
it's good to hear
distance traveled over the
BATMANBUGHA instead of
entire
Higgs
tournament
again.
so far, and Cold and Ritual immediately shut it down.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say it. It's just a really tough
Sorry
fight,
to-
right? Like, who wants to fight
I was about to
Cole
say Higgs.
when
Sorry to
they're
BATMANBUGHA,
not below
but
the surge,
you're not
right?
the
Like,
all.
Cole just
Look
gets
who
to
it
wait
is.
there,
Just
get the
who I was about to
pre-fire
talk
off.
about. The
We saw him
king's
do
on
it.
top of the
While
fucking
that was
world right
happening, by
now.
the way, F9
It's
did find
Peterbot and
Sharkman with
Poyo
an
up there.
elimination. So something has finally
I
concluded
see
for
Rapid
Moneymaker
and
for now. You can see
Clicks
them
down in the
to
corner.
bottom right. Meanwhile, way up top.
Oh,
clearly,
and there they go.
Poyo
They're
and
gonna go
Peterbot,
key
the first
someone.
names on the rotate here.
Oh
A
shit.
shockwave gets off that high ground.
Oh, I thought that was
This
a
is
player
working out
next to it.
pretty
No, that's
perfectly
just.
for them right now.
Yeah, especially
Whew.
compared to some of the games
I'm
we
about
were
to
seeing
tweak that
yesterday.
already. Thought it was gonna be a show.
But
Oh,
Veno
there
has
goes
gone
Veno.
down to Veer. Agers literally on a sliver of HP, and it's active surge. He only has a couple of seconds. He can't take a single tick. Veer is buying
Nope,
time
you're
right
dead.
now, and Agers and Veno
Damn.
have gone down. So as it stands, Monster, 5th place, 6th place have both been eliminated.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, but if you're everyone else who's, of course, racing for consistency, you're happy
First place,
to see
Pete.
these spots
Second
start
place,
to
I
loosen
think
up.
it was
Because what you
Acorn and
don't want is for
Bolts.
them to
And
hold the
then,
grips
no, they were
on
fourth
the
place. It was
leaderboard,
Ritual
right,
and
continue to
Cold.
gap away.
Then
This really does open up opportunity
Muzz
for other
and
players. Meanwhile, Clicks
Rise.
and Rapid getting
Uncle Rise.
active here in the mid game, finding themselves a nice little elimination. Well, a lot of notable names I'm still seeing alive here. Yamzo, Josh, King, Craze, Bolts, Acorn, a lot of teams situated pretty strongly now.
Yeah, I just got to see
Uh-oh.
this update here for Acorn and Bolts.
Yep, it's
263
gonna be
above.
exactly what
I know it
the
wasn't too long
people
ago in
were
the same
saying.
game. We saw them kind
First
of
place
below
and
the damage
second
threshold.
place. Pete,
But Acorn
Poyo,
always
and
peeking for those
Ritual and Cold, they're
opportunities.
gonna
I think
go
it was
at
Kelly
it
that
all
said it
fucking
throughout the
tournament
day
long.
Yesterday, even though they're 4th place on the leaderboard,
With the
they were
placements,
just
at
unable
least.
to really make a lot of these games count as a duo. They really made them count as a solo, but we know what the difference in numbers makes, especially if you're a team like this that knows how to play for that high ground. You just can't do it alone most times.
Yeah, look at this. Somehow, Moneymaker and F9 are 120 above when they only got that singular elimination that we saw in the feed there. Just shows you the importance of also not taking damage in your journey. Meanwhile, Cold and Ritual, though, just doing big things here. It's really funny that in the highlights, you know, when Kelly did the breakdown for this team, she mentioned that they get these eliminations. They do not greed for the resources, though, but they also don't desperately find themselves needing it every single time. Even here and now, they are max material coming into this big moving zone.
Yeah, and I think it's something that Ritual just deserves a lot of credit on, you know, just being able
Jimmy!
to kind of go through trios, now back to duos, and be the IGL, and somebody they can kind of lean hard on, especially in these tough situations where you don't necessarily know at all times where you're going to get your surge, where they did go down, I think Vivid said 46th place to start the game, and they're still looking as strong as ever. See Victor V and Queasy not straying away from their strategy. They tried it yesterday. They did it in heats, going for high ground
they
majority
got
of the time,
Storm
but they're
Surge.
88 below the damage
You're on
threshold.
height, start
There's a lot
getting
of
some
opportunity
tags,
up here
bro.
for them to go ahead and strike down
Stop
on anybody
building and get
shockwaving
some
on, but they
tags.
have to be quick because it's active surge.
Not them.
Yeah, this is
Leave
super
those guys
important for them
alone.
right now. I also didn't see many heals, so
Oh,
they've already
Jesus.
healed through
Oh,
the majority
fuck.
of the last couple of surge
Oh,
ticks. And now
fuck.
they're forced to jump on a team, and it's Peterbot and Boyo who are on the
Oh,
other side.
ow!
Peterbot hits a monster shot, so this
That's why you don't go
Queasy
fucking
on the
jump
line
on
where
Peter
placement
and Boyo,
points were
baby.
being issued out. I almost wish they would have gotten active a little bit sooner, especially when you saw 7 players standing between you and the surge turning off. It's just a long ways. But
They
look at
already
this.
said,
This is looking
be
like
prepared,
a
it's gonna be a
situation for
fucking
Peterbot
movie
and Boyo.
today.
The
Nah,
only team that
I
has
didn't think
arguably gone
first
for
game
height
of the day
every
was
game
gonna
that
be
they
a
possibly
movie.
could has now lost that resistance, or better yet, beat them on the high ground here.
Yeah, that
Yep,
high
they're not
ground
falling,
counter
they're
is
good.
definitely going to reach 10 minutes after this game, but Clicks and Rapid falling under the radar so far in this game. I think that's a blessing for them, not taking too much focus from everybody. We saw Rapid's first elimination kind of getting them going. Now we're getting into the placement points, top 22. It's not much as of now, but we know teams will start to drop like flies, and those placement points will start to
hell yeah.
fly in as they rotate toward the front side of the zone. They're waiting for it to open up on the right side, which gives them a little less pressure to deal with.
Names I'm seeing here, Golden and Ozone on the backside of zone, Ritual, Cold here, 5 eliminations now, working the mid-ground lane. They're getting targeted, though, by a few different teams here. They will have to sort of soldier their way through all these old builds. Peterbot Boyo still maintaining control of the high ground. I'm seeing glimpses of Shadow and Virgo as well, still standing
Yeah,
there,
now
trying
see,
to make a comeback
this is
for themselves.
the thing
But
about
take
me
a
and
look at
Dragon
this.
right here. I feel like
Cold
if we get
dropping all
into
of his
this
material
moment
here for
of the
Ritual.
game,
Although he's gonna
I'm
try
no
to
longer
stick
the
this pick up,
IGL,
it's gonna
and
cost
he's
him
gonna
a
be
bit.
doing that. He's gonna lead the
They
game.
gotta
If he
run. They
makes
gotta
it, ooh, barely, but they're in.
Just because I know damn well
beeline
his
it there,
tarping
just
skills are
10
better than
HP
mine.
for Cold, but surviving is surviving. Saw Muzz and Rise in the backside of zone, so it doesn't look like it's smooth sailing for Peterbot and Pollo just yet. Fanai is gonna go down. Moneymaker still finds an Elim. He gets the Elim onto Acorn though, separating him and Bolts once again. But Moneymaker, it's your chance to make
Ritual
your name
went
true.
down.
Make
Peter's
that money,
down
but
too.
He goes down. Peterbot and Pollo are gonna
Pollo.
fall from grace as well, and it's
No,
Shadow
they're
and
both
Virgo
dead.
the ones that take it all.
Yeah, it looks like Muzz and Rice might have
No.
attempted it as well. You
Oh,
saw them
Pollo's
falling
still
there
alive.
too, so
Let's go.
A scrappy battle up top. Peterbot, Pollo
I was
end
about
up
to
paying
say,
the price.
I
Pollo
heard
now
them say
left
P
by
and
himself,
Pollo.
but in the end, Shadow and
It's
Virgo
definitely
will
stressful.
remain victorious with the high ground. Meanwhile, Cold still trying to pull off a solo clutch here for himself now. He's at 10 points earned this game already. Meanwhile, Virgo and Shadow holding things down on the high ground. Oliver OG, Belly Boss think they're
still
gonna
alive.
come up and
Cold
contest
needs to
the
die
best here,
if P
but
and
no,
Pollo want to go
it's Pollo
right
who
back to
still
game
wants to have
one
a piece of
or
this fight.
first
I
place.
saw him take so much damage. I'm like, what duo is next to go to the high ground? And it's Pollo by himself. That's something that he loves to do. Go for the high ground as a
I'm
solo.
not seeing
and
a
let
Cold at
everybody
all.
else down below deal with that mess. But as of now, with
That's-
Shadow and
that's
Virgo,
actually
they're
good.
gonna stand tall. Clicks and Rapid get a
More
second
placement points
elimination
Pollo
in this game,
gets,
and
he
timed
goes right back
perfectly
up
because
the
they
first then.
desperately needed those materials to continue looking strong here.
It's a very big game right now for Clicks and Rapid. Almost
You got
in
a
top
healthy
10.
duo, though,
Pollo
and
still
their names
has to
is
be taken
Clicks
out
and
here.
Rapid.
He's working his way through the low ground now, jumping
Oh,
down,
God.
just trying to stay
Don't
out of
stay
the
in
line
that
of sight of the
storm.
opponents. Doesn't even have time to pop his heels.
He
If
just
could,
hugged
would,
the
but
storm.
He's more desperate
He
trying
is.
to avoid the
He's
storm
literally
here.
kissing the storm. What are you doing?
Just weaving
This
it
is
in
literally
and out
the
of
king
these
of
builds.
NA.
What are we watching? It's like the game is
What
moving in
the
slow motion
fuck?
for him, and now Pollo clicks one-on-one. Pollo goes down.
No
That's Ozone who
fucking
steals
way.
away that
It's
elimination.
Clicks
Now
by himself
everybody is
now.
setting up towards height.
Come on,
Shadow is
Clicks.
gone. Virgo is down to
Show
a
us
sliver
what
of
was
HP,
going
doesn't
on
even
in the
make it back
scrims.
in, and out of
Oh my
nowhere,
God,
it's
Scrapper,
Dozier
what's up,
and
brother?
Ishu that are stealing away the momentum here.
Watching
And don't forget, Dozier and
FNCS.
Ishu had a very, very tough day one, losing their off spawn.
I don't
Finally,
care.
though, when they
As
get
long
to
as
get
you're
let
not like,
loose, they
you
are
know,
running things
Skyler
off of
that
so
comes in
hard.
here and
Iamzo
just
in the low
goes
ground, but take a
full
look at this.
tism off
Just
the
a little
bat.
update. 8 eliminations for Josh and Iamzo here as they are cooking things up down low, and now they've actually secured just enough material to do something big here.
Oh
There's literally
shit.
one placement outside of the Globo's bubble. You gotta imagine they're inside of it now and looking to head even further up that leaderboard. Our final 2v2. Dozier's gonna get shut down first. Iamzo and Josh win game number 1. 11 eliminations to start the day
Yeah.
off hot.
A huge, huge moment for them right there to be battling from the low ground to turn things around and then secure the win when it matters most. And honestly, with how fired up they look there, Zeke, that was the way you execute.
MDF, I am shocked after that game
That's
result.
crazy.
I feel like there was so many different ways that game could have ended. For a while, I was like, oh, Peterbot, Pollo, they're up on the high ground. But then Shadow Virgo pushed in. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. What's going on? And then Dozier and Ishu go. I'm like, oh, my gosh. And then Josh and Iamzo from the low ground. 11 elimination victory royale on the hardest day of the competition to kick off game number 7. Kelly, oh my gosh, momentum.
Dude, that's
is
the
going-
thing. That's the thing about Noah.
Listen, I think we need to give a big thank you to Reet and Cooper for winning the Wonky Land off spawn first to 10, because I think that might be a key to the success of Josh and Iamzo right now. We've seen them have major success at Wonky Land, but what they're doing right now in the early and mid game, and Vivid, you broke it down perfectly, and then being able
I'll
to
tell
convert
you
that
this,
into
Jimmy.
these
Kelly's
perfect
better
end
than that
games,
one girl from
absolutely
EU.
incredible. And I do have to feel like just because of how vertical that height is, there are so many layers and not too many people actually on that low ground except for Iamzo and Josh. So when these players had to kind of drop down, when they got a little scared, they were able to just clean it up so easily because they were the only ones there, and they were able to just pick up so much loot because of that.
You know, we were kind of watching the game. Obviously, me, Zeke, and Kelly, and we were kind of talking about it, whatever. And Zeke was like, "Man, it kind of seems like everybody's."
Did you
like,
not
sleeping,
have
you
a
know what I mean?
parachute?
Everybody needs to, like,
Oh,
wake up a little
I was
bit
about to say,
here.
did you not
I can
have
tell you
one?
right now, Josh looks like he is very clearly awake because he was moving just absolutely phenomenally in that end
I've
game.
been there.
But I also want to go ahead and mention, you gotta imagine, we constantly talk about the differences between day 1 and day 2 when it comes down to these types of competitions. Josh and Yamso came into this weekend kind of expecting to go wonky land, and then of course they kind of like lost the rights to actually land there, and then they kind of came into it and they were like, oh, we're going to be contested by, you know, Seek and Taki over here at the split to the left of Clicks and Rapid, but now they're going to be uncontested. So now that they're kind of coming into day number 2, you got to imagine last night they probably prepared around the fact that they are now uncon, and immediately that preparation, I would imagine, is starting to pay off with a game 1 victory royale.
Crazy stuff. I feel like I gotta go watch Faxity's reaction to that result. Man, a massive shock and a massive W for them. How does that impact the leaderboard? We'll find out after this short break. We'll see you in just a moment.
Nah, that's diabolical. Why is he also sending me a voice clip? Oh my god, you guys are crazy, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, no. I think you need to just be like me, dude, and just take a couple of days from people, you know? Like, generally from our friends, like, sometimes it's good to take a couple of days. I'll be real. Alright. I'm sorry, brother. That's, yeah. I kind of wanted to be like, I kind of wanted to give you the, you know, flat out answer of, yeah, that's just how it is, but honestly, I think that's where I'm stuck with what I'm saying is, yeah, that's kind of how it is, man, and I'm sorry that happened to you, brother.
Oh man, game number 1 was as chaotic as I had hoped it to be, and if you missed it, Josh and Yamso got themselves an 11 elimination victory royale in the first game of the day. We do have 5 more games to go. Nobody freak out.
That's gonna be crazy
but as we
tonight.
turn attention to the leaderboard, this is a massive W for them. They have jumped up so many places, and now they find themselves in the top 5. That, Kelly, is why we say one game can really change everything.
I love to see it. Out of all of the teams that we had play in Major 1, there's only a handful that stuck together, and Josh and Yamso is one of the only ones that didn't get a global championship qualification and still remain together. And you can see why that's so important, the synergy, the understanding. But I'm going to be a little bit honest. I like to write notes while I'm watching these games, and around Zone 2 I wrote Yamso with great loot. And then that's the rest that I have.
Oh, that's
we weren't
crazy.
really able to watch them until the final moments because so much was going on in those end games. And obviously, I know a lot of people were looking to Peterbot and Poyo, who were able to take high ground really early. And then, of course, it came down to that solo from Polo. We thought we were going to maybe see another Summit Land performance, but it did go So a little bit
I'm
less
I'm
like
just
that.
gonna sit here
However,
and tell you
Vivid,
this
you
now,
called it out
brother.
during the break
For
that
now
Peterbot
on,
and Ritual are just one
honestly,
point
don't
away from
even
each other
try
still after that last game.
playing
Incredible
with
that we're kind
him
of
because
remaining
it'll
very,
just
very
get to a
close
point where he
towards the
just
top
tries to
of the
start rage
leaderboard.
baiting you.
And
That's
kind of taking a look
kind
at
of what
that
he
leaderboard
does.
when we were looking at it. Actually, I'll bring that up in just a moment as we do see Peterbot play. It looked like this is actually going to be a good game for them.
Oh yeah, I
because
know.
they
He
had
just
the high
told
ground.
he just
But
sent
the
me
thing
a
is, Peterbot
voice
just
note saying
quickly
that.
caught off guard.
And I was like,
And
bruh,
won't
this is
lie,
diabolical.
got a
Not
little
both of you
chaotic
talking
this
to
game.
me
I
at
mean,
the
we
same
saw
time.
obviously Peter Polio up there. Queasy and Victor V were kind of fighting them for it at one point. Shadow and Virgo went for it at one point. We saw Oliver OG sending it up there as well. So Pyregon was a little bit crazy. But talking about this leaderboard right now, obviously we came into the day, and I just want to talk about the top 5 kind of coming into today and how they placed in game number 7 here, because it has opened up the door a lot. So Pete and Polio, that kind of came in today. They were first place. They got 9th that game. Rich One Cold, they got 15th that game. Muzz, 16th. Acorn and Bolts, 17th. And then Higgs and Kurt,
Oh my
they got
God, it just keeps being
36th.
a
So
1 point
all of our
lead,
teams
dude.
that came into today in the top 5 on the leaderboard barely broke into the top 10 at all. I mean, Pete and Polio were the only ones who actually do that, and it was just on the back foot of Polio's solo clutch. And so the door has been open for all of our other teams to kind of catch up. And, you know, we take a look at it here for Ritual and Cold. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Cold was gonna pick up 10 eliminations. That's what I was hoping for. You blink and he might miss it.
He definitely doesn't want to do that.
So shambles on the backside of the zone because Ritual was actually forced
Hold up, this is where I step in now. Hold up.
to go ahead for a res onto Cold at one point.
I mean, when you see Cold practically get a 1v2 onto Higgs and Curve, I can totally understand why you thought they were going to be walking away with a 10 elimination game there. But unfortunately, there's just only so much you can predict, especially with Ritual and Cold, who kind of like to box up a little bit and wait for everyone to rotate in front of them to get those eliminations. Eventually, if you're not kind of super focused, lasered in on all the players rotating in front of you, you're not going to pay attention behind you. And if you just get caught out by a really big team, they're just going to get those eliminations quickly. But it's Cold and Ritual. If anyone's going to be able to bounce back, and I don't know how much bouncing back they're going to do because of how high up they are, it's going to be this duo.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see that top 4 didn't shift at all, right? Peterbot, Polio, Ritual, Cold.
Crazy.
But they are still trying to make up those points. Again, you know, I'm trying. It's like I want to be critical, right? Because this is day number 2.
Telling you this right now, when it comes to game 11, game 12, I'm not looking at that damn leaderboard.
Trouble, especially because it's just the first game. Like there is
Unless it's shown on here, obviously, but
come into, see how the lobbies
and no,
kind of
Scrapper, you're
take
fine,
in
brother.
or adjustments they've made.
You know
and
I'm
then,
that open
you know,
here.
take it
I've
from
always
there.
told you that.
I mean, without a doubt, our top 4, we're taking a look at them. Acorn and Bold still kind of maintained to their
Kicked
4th
out
place
for
as well. With that
inactivity.
being said, Acorn and Bold
Bullshit.
are on 348. And you remember how I was kind of mentioning with all of our kind of top 5 teams doing a little bit poorly this game in comparison to how they were doing yesterday. You know, Josh and Yamza are kind of the best example.
I just wiggle my camera around and then have to look at my stream just to make sure it's all lined up right.
Points. Now sitting on 327 points, so that game alone was around 100 points for them. And they were behind like 100 plus points for Acorn and Bolts yesterday, but now they are only 21 points behind, sitting in 5th place. So yeah, these top 4 teams kind of sitting up there. They've got a little lead, but it has gone down tremendously.
Okay,
through
first
game number 7.
place.
I honestly, Zeke, I mean, this is just game number 1 of day number 2. We have 5 more games to go.
Fuck yeah.
And honestly, the fact that we had so many of our bigger teams kind of fall down early, I love that. I want everyone in the top 10 to just be so close. I
Dude,
don't want to know
first
who's
and
going to win, who's
second
going
place
to go
is
to globals
legit
until the
1
final
point
game.
difference. It's so
That was
fucking
their plan. They're
crazy.
like, hey guys,
That's how it
just
ended
let's
yesterday
everybody just
too.
chill out, just feel their game. That's actually not what happened. That's not what happened at all. We'll have to see though how things shake out. 5
I want
games
chicken wings.
left to go.
Where's my chicken wings?
With that being said, it is that time once again.
No,
The game is ready for us. So casters, be you.
Yeah, I'm a bad chicken.
Yeah, so this one's going to be an interesting day as it does continue because 1 point is difference. And if you look at the stats, there's 1 elim better for Peterbot and Polio over Cold and Ritual, but they have just a little bit more consistency. Both teams having trouble with Surge at certain points in the game. This one is probably one of the best FNCSs in a while.
Yeah, really tough to go ahead and crack.
Is it the
case
good
that is
vibes?
Cold and Ritual so consistent, lurking in the distance, and we don't really follow their early
Oh,
game stories
I'm
because
sorry,
they
y'all.
come
Guess
up
what?
out of
Yeah,
nowhere,
you
but
guys all
sounds
lost.
like
That's
Game
my
8 is
shit
ready.
now.
Let's
I
do it.
won.
You know, it's not only the gap for first place that I'm looking at. As I go down the leaderboard, I try to count the teams that already have global spots secured, the ones who don't. Even that bubble for the global championship spot is just so close. Like Kelly said, I want to see this one go down to the very last game with
and then you have almost a
the
fucking
way
partner
this
push
leaderboard
numbers.
is headed, it surely will do just that. But there was already a couple upsets from that last game, right? You have the Higgs and Curve dropping early. You have the Aegis and Veno falling prematurely as well. So a lot happening there.
Jimmy gets the shirt.
They seem to have just figured things out off the drop. A monstrous first game to kick things off, that second place giving them the momentum, and now that confidence comes surging in here as they drop their competition out the gate with no problems.
Like, I know we have big plans for the day, Brothers Moneymaker Infinite. We have big plans, right?
I like
and
it.
One thing I learned over my time on this year,
me and
on this
you could
earth,
literally
is
have
in
a
order to be
compilation
the
of us
best,
just
you
raging.
have to beat the best. And Fine and Moneymaker right now are definitely ready for a handfall, and it works! It works! Down goes Peter Bond. Now Pollo is left by himself with Moneymaker and Fernand looking for him.
This is crazy.
Oh
They
no,
had
Peter
managed to
Bot already went
successfully
down.
take down the second place team as well earlier in the competition in day one, and now they're targeting our number one,
fuck yeah.
Peter Bot and Pollo. Pollo's by himself. We've already given Pollo so much credit as far as what he is capable of as an individual player, but even with all that star fighting power, is it going to be enough to hold back Fernand and Moneymaker? Well, look at things from Peter Bot's perspective. He gets hit with a major surprise.
There's literally nothing he could. As soon as he took the porta potty teleporter, he was just done. They coned him off. They boxed it. There was no builds able to be placed. Even if somehow Peter Bot
hell yeah.
down, it's still a 2v1. So Moneymaker Fernand still affecting the lobby all around, and it's almost a must, right? Because you kind of close out the day yesterday. 49th place for the most part. 18th place to start the day with 2 eliminations. So they need something to get back on track. And taking down Pete, that could be just it.
What's crazy about it too is like they just slowly influence all the teams' overall tournaments, right? Like these little things that they're doing is really having ripple effects, I think, across the entire competition. And that's why you have even people like Muzz, Rise, Acorn, Bolts still having this creeper like way up the leaderboards right now. All in all, I mean, I'm impressed, right? I'm really genuinely impressed with what Moneymaker and Fernand have done on this region.
Yeah, I blame Veno and Queasy. Remember the Invitational? They're the ones who started it off. Peter Bot popularized it, and now I feel like everybody is incorporating it into the game plan. Rightfully so. I know it was only a 1 point difference, but if you're one of those teams that are a little bit further down the leaderboard, the only way to stop such a consistent team is maybe to take matters into your own hands.
Rainbow, what's up?
BATMANBUGHA and Curve, aka Higgs and Curve this time around, just lurking off their mountain a little bit towards that team down below, which was Paper and
So
Zen.
honestly,
Again, just
I'm on
trying to
the
get some early
click
game surge.
side
They have
of
some of the most
VH
distance traveled on the
group.
map throughout the entirety of this tournament.
So
Surge
I'm not
is
gonna
a
lie, if I
primary
do
factor of
become
their
a
game plan.
pro, or like a
I just wanna
big
say,
name
whoever's
pro,
editing, you know, Moneymaker,
a lot of
Fernand's
people are gonna
videos
look
for
at
the
me like I'm
post-tournament,
clicks,
they're gonna have
and
the best
I'm gonna just
post-tournament
say
you
here
can
and now,
find
I'm not
any team out
clicks.
there.
I'm bat
Win
chicken.
or lose, doesn't matter. They're gonna have the best highlights for sure.
Okay, slow and steady for Clicks and Rapping over on this side. Uncontested for the most part outside of that left building. And which I think kind of puts a little bit of a speed bump in their path as we kind of take a quick look at King and Craze. Vert just gets lurked on. Literally, this is just lurk after lurk so far in this game. Just key way to get eliminations.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, you know, Clicks and Rapid coming into the tournament, they practiced a lot with that cube, able to kind of bounce them far to get eliminations. With Josh and Iamzo landing there, they don't necessarily have that same comfortability to use that as a part of their strategy.
Yeah, they've almost forgone that as a part of the strat. And again, that's just because you don't want to really cross their paths, right? Or leave yourself exposed.
that just shows how much
rotate.
this can ruin someone's
Acorn
tournament.
both
Someone
still face a
landing on
little
your
bit of resistance from
fucking
Curly
POI
Charlie,
and
but
taking
also
half
forced
of
to
it,
disengage,
using
give up the
something
high
that you
ground
use.
position that they probably
Yeah,
wanna
nah,
set up for.
cooked. That's
Muzz
why
and
Clicks and
Rise on
Rapid
the
are
other
losing.
side. Back to
They got their
their
freaking
trusty
diamond
and
thing
true
taken
strat.
from them, so now they can't
Haven't
even
really
use it
changed
to
much, right? This team
freaking
has
launch on
almost
players and
consistently
whatnot.
played these towers, and it's just worked out for them.
Yeah, you can kind of see double ARs. Typically, they kind of switch that for a pistol if they can later on in the game, or something that kind of shoots just a little bit quicker,
Peterbot
just in case
ended
they
the
get
day
those
off
box-to-box
with
scenarios. But
yeah,
this is what
literally
they're doing
leading by 1
almost
point.
every single game, like you're saying. They're just accumulating as much surge as possible before they're forced to move out by the zone. But
He's
even
like,
then, they
"Oh,
let all
this is
these
why
other
I'm
teams
the
that are
best."
further back from them rotate first, and they use that as a way to just continue to get damage. As you jump on board, Pollo here for a moment, still wandering around as a solo. You gotta imagine he has enough gold, but where the zone is going plays a huge role in if he's able to safely get the reboot back or not.
Yeah, definitely, as Webster has rotated into this drop. Again, Boyo
Dude,
is
you're
still
making me
one
jealous.
of the deadliest, right? If he just catches this lurk play and it works successfully, he can very much confidently take down whatever's left of any duo.
Pollo's about to do a 1v2.
He's kind of lurking around here. We still see
Unless
Fernand
he's
staying
just
in the
actually
distance
trying
there.
to...
They're not looking to give away a free reboot to
I don't think
Peterbot
he's
by
actually
any
trying to. I
means.
think he's trying to get a damn
Gotta respect
reboot.
that tenacity, right? That consistency.
Yeah,
here
they've
from
been
them.
chilling here the whole
They've
time.
almost even taken their strategy,
Peterbot
like,
died
yeah,
off
We're
spawn.
the kings of the drop. Let's go ahead and build our search tower here as well. I can respect that.
Continued action all around.
Dude,
though. Aoxy,
I
Jojo
miss...
Fishy, trying to
Oh,
make up
you
for that
you
last
know what I
game.
missed. I literally was... You were the
Kinda
one
see
that
the
I
first
told
drop
you.
is
I
gonna
just missed the
happen.
whole
Jojo Fish
setup
is gonna quickly
on
get
it.
cleaned up. Not a lot of damage onto Veno and Aegis, so far this being a true win, Surge included, especially now that they have Aoxy on the back foot, 2v1, Veno trying to spray from up above. Again, those Spire rifles, the amount of time you could just continuously spray, it's just very so much a nuisance, especially for somebody that is a solo, as Veno and Aegis finally attack from both sides, but it's not gonna work. Veno's gonna get dropped first. Aoxy actually does get the cleanup before falling, so some damage to slow down the role that Aegis and Veno have been on.
The vice president
In
has
addition,
entered
you
your
see
chat.
Victor V and Queasy as well. I wonder what they're thinking as they're hearing these shots go off here, as close as they were. But Boyo, Webster encrypted. We talked about that lurk play from Boyo here. He's setting up the 2v1s. He's saying, screw the lurk. I'm here to take this fight. He's doing it very much confidently. As this is happening, though, I'm looking at other teams kind of point their arrows
He did not
in
get
this
a reboot
direction.
off.
So
He is...
there are other people interested
this
in
is
what
about to
might
be
be
bad.
happening here.
Yeah, outside
Pollo's
of
about to
Pollo,
be
you're right,
in the
5
middle of a
teams
1v4.
directly in Sinister Strip, a 6 on the outside, as CDZ and Nut come in this direction. They are lurking right behind, so they have no clue. Another team is this close. Literally just one
Pollo,
box
you
away.
gotta get the
Pollo's
fuck out of
being
there, dude.
persistent here. He knows, like, I need damage.
Get
I need a
out
certain
of there.
amount of loot, especially since I'm inside of the zone. If they see a solo trying to shockwave away, you know players will tend to chase after that for the eliminations here. But Webster encrypted, doing a good job of holding their ground here, not giving up any inches to Pollo, or at least not just yet, because that shot's certainly going to connect.
Yeah, I think what's more important is that they're slowly
best, but
backing
I'm
him down, and
decent.
he's getting closer and closer to CDC and Nut, who are just outside. So
I'm not no
Williams
Peterbot
likely, I
or
was gonna
Clicks
say,
level,
probably
but
gonna
I definitely
disengage
can play
here soon. He's
tournaments.
gonna do enough damage, look to back
Shit,
out,
the
or
Simpsons
CDC
season
and Nut
was
are
my
gonna catch a
best
glimpse of
for
what's
sure. I
happening.
was
They're
getting
gonna say, "Wait a
fucking
second,
top
he's by
30s and top
himself and
60s
capitalize on the
the whole
elimination."
entire season.
Yeah, you can kind of see Pollo realizing using so many materials here. He's going to disengage from the backside of Sinister Strip. But exactly what we were talking about. Spotted out as a solo. They put so much damage. A sliver of HP. That's all that's left. Nut and CDZ get slowed down for a short moment.
Yeah,
The
no,
third
literally,
party
I've
is coming
already
to
started
port in
thinking
this
about switching
direction,
over to
and they're
keyboard
still
and
gonna
mouse.
solidify the
Fucking
elimination nonetheless,
Stace
but now
just
they're
told
the next
me
target here at
to
this
do
south
it.
side of
I
Sinister.
think Toes was
Well,
telling
Pollo
me to
and
do it
Peterbot
too.
fall in
The only reason I
40th
have it is just
place
because
there,
my
so
brother told
Pollo's
me
effort
it's
was
hard to get used to
amazing, but
keyboard and
not
mouse.
good enough to push him through the impossible task, honestly, considering how many teams got to his drop there. Josh Nyamzo on the other side playing much more safe here, very passively holding down this metal fortress. That's going to leave Ritual and Cold here with an exceptional amount of runway to go now. And think about it, they've been so consistent, right? Basically matching bar for bar on average elims and placement points.
Not true that. That's
This
the
is their
only
chance to not only
advantage
take
I would
first,
have
but
on
hopefully start to
keyboard
build
and
a
mouse
little bit
is
of a cushion.
my
They still gotta worry about
reaction
Buzz,
time, I
Rise,
guess.
Acorn, and Bolts. Yamzo and Josh, who just won that last game, they flew up the leaderboard into 5th place overall.
Shit, yeah.
outside of
Let
that
me
Globals
get
bubble
a
to
let me get a
inside
mouse
for
and start
sure. And they
macroing
have the
like all
same
these damn pro.
strategy.
No, I'm just playing.
You know, as a lot of teams that do land at that spot, that kind of half sunken. They immediately rotate
Keith, what's
over
going on,
towards
brother?
this mending
There's
machine. It's where they're
there's
getting
a
lot of
player
their
who
metal.
just recently,
Obviously,
well,
with the
not
gold, that's how
recently,
they're
within the last
replenishing
year,
their
who
loadout
switched
for
over
the
to
actual
keyboard and
heals.
mouse.
So Josh Niamzo just sticking to what isn't broken.
I want Clicks
thing
to
think
win,
about
but
for
I
Virgo
got
and
Peter and
Shadow
Boyle
is
to
that
win.
Although they had a slow day 1, they are picking things up with a strong pace here in day number
After
2.
what happened to fucking
That big 7th place that
Clicks
they managed
yesterday,
to pull
nah.
off has effectively
teammates
put them
selling
in
him.
the bubble, knocking on the door for a qualification spot. Again, not that they necessarily need it, but again, if they get to push other teams out, things start to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah, more and more eliminations that they get. Even King and Creed here, if they're able to catch fire, they're inside of that bubble. They're going to create that roll down effect. But even with them creating that roll down effect, every elimination they get on somebody outside of the bubble, they're essentially, you know, hurting their chances. They're siphoning points away from teams that do need it.
Quote
So again,
unquote,
even
the
if they
new
got their
Peter
global
and Boyle,
championship
which
spot secured, there's
I
so
don't
much
see
for
why
them,
they are.
not only to play for, but impact here in this lobby as we jump on board 2nd place. I say that
Second
with knowing
place
like
right
just
here.
one placement point, one elimination will bounce them right into first. 306 above the damage threshold. It's not necessarily a mountain of damage that they're
Oh,
gonna
Ritual's going
beat
for
everybody
something.
else, but they're definitely setting their path forward.
I like how they do this as well. Ritual goes first. Cold kind of looks out to see, okay, is anyone going to take shots at you? Is that team going to take this? And almost using it as bait to find tags on the way. And again, F9 and Moneymaker kind of take up
Rise
Peter
and
Boyle's
Muzz.
strategy too. I'm thinking
You know,
that their
I thought
prep
about
is in,
landing at
honestly, the
this
lurk, but
area
then,
a
okay,
lot,
if we take down the team we are lurking
but
on, what do they normally
the
do?
fact
As they
that
just
you have a
adopt
chance
the
of getting
strategy.
like
They almost become
big
the
contested,
team,
yeah, I'm good.
basically. It's a very interesting way to play the game.
I like
would
to make
follow
end
those same
games.
strategies too, especially if I got that elimination onto Peterbot. Especially with both of them going down, but I did see this in the feed. Acorn dropped, Void dropped. It was a trade 1-for-1, but with no eliminations, the revive is going to come back through. And so for Acorn and Bolts, they just got to reset here in this situation. But be careful because Veno and Ager's doing it again. This is literally the same strategy for the most part that Veno used to come back from a 100-point deficit to win Major 1.
Oh, what a tough spot to be in though. Agers, as he opens up fire, Acorn edits the window and finds him there. And now they're looking to finish the deed here. This is a really big elimination. This is actually a potential pace-changing elim for them right now. Veno falls here, and now this is going to be 2 back-to-back games where they get taken out early.
Oh
You
yeah.
kind of see him just toying with the idea. Do
Dude,
I go for the
Mr.
revive?
Scrapper,
I
I'm
gotta
not
try to
gonna
heal
lie,
up.
dude. I'm
Acorn
kind
Bolts are
of
staring me down,
upset
so
that
Ager's
that
not
game
gonna
got
be
taken
rescued,
off of
at
Game
least not
Pass.
here and now. Veno needs a heroic effort before going
That-
down. Acorn and Bolts.
Oh,
This
we
could be
never
the
told
game.
you.
We were talking
Oh,
about it. It
dude, I
happened
thought we
again
told
in
you
that
because you were
last game.
playing
Did they
with
stay
us.
alive?
No,
As
it
they
was
do, but I might have just cursed up
probably
Hobby and a
SpongeBob
menace out
and
of nowhere, probably hearing the noise.
Skylar,
They wanna
honestly,
join
that
in
was
on the
playing
fun.
with us then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
someone else
we
does as
tried.
well. Look, there's a
We were
first
doing
team
the
coming in
freaking turtle
pretty
game,
aggressively.
and it
They
got
need
taken
the
off of Game
extra
Pass.
damage
Mikey
here,
told
Hobby
us,
and
so
Diminish.
we all had
They're gonna
to
look disengage
uninstall it.
instead. Not wanting to fight against the best here.
There we go. Now the headache is
just
gone.
getting it down.
I knew it would
literally
just
going
take
from
like
one
30
fight
minutes for
to
that
another by getting those
medicine to kick
eliminations
in.
onto Veno and Agers, and since they already had the mending machine locked down, they're not necessarily too worried about the heals they're going to bring with them in the next stage in the game. They just have to be on their timing because it is a 2-tick. It is going into a 5-tick. As you jump on board Easy and Victor V, they're below the damage
Real.
threshold. And Hobby and Minister underneath that bridge, also below that damage threshold.
I love that we get this updated kind of
I'm
Queasy
sorry,
Victor
but
V
if
fight
there's
too,
one
because
team
we
that
have
I'm
seen them
big
have
hating on, it's this
trouble
one right here.
game
I
after
don't like
game. Even if
Queasy.
they make it to the end game, they have been so
This
desperately
motherfucker thinks
below
he's
the
on
damage
some
threshold.
Veno
Look at
type
Victor
shit,
Cook here.
saying some,
See,
oh, I'm gonna go
drops a
run
minute
over to
against
NA
another
and show
team
you
that
guys how
absolutely
easy it
needed
is.
those eliminations and those points there.
You got this chance right here to try to win it,
just couldn't have
to
gone
prove a
better
point,
for them
but
right here, and they get to pick up the loot
nah,
to
bruh.
go. So a nice way to kind of give them a foot in the door, but the problems
I
are
see
not
him
done
doing
yet.
better in globals
Nah,
just because
especially
it'll
since
probably
you're
be
only
out on
180 above
EU.
the damage threshold. And I'm not gonna say this is a max pull. You can see in the mini map there are teams that do have it harder.
Actually, I need
but
to see what
you see
that
the shockwaves
where that's
coming
at.
out, kind of leaves you open. A little bit of a risky rotation, but most of this path so far has been clear. Maybe 1-2 teams in their path overall. So for Queasy and Victor V, they just got blessed with a smooth rotation. They have to watch out when they do get there. Acorn Bolts, Muzz Rise, Bugha Braids, even Golden Ozone trying to take that same path.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say Queasy is just moving as well. Very smooth rotate there to get him straight ahead. And now he's shockwaving up for high ground. You already see them building up and over. Meanwhile, Ritual, Cold, comfortably solidified the lead now with that elimination there, putting them in first place here. 4 consistency points. How far can they push this opportunity? This is a rare opportunity.
Globals
Peter
is
Botten
next
fall
month.
to a lurk strategy.
At
Right? Not
Belgium?
because they made any
Oh,
mistake,
shit.
but because they were caught off guard. A very rare circumstance for something
Crowd's
like Peter
about to be
Botten.
crazy there.
Yeah, exactly, because they're the ones who usually pull out those tricks from underneath their sleeve. But you talked about taking this strategy, something that we saw literally Peter Botten do in the last game. Overstay at Sinister Strip, and because Moneymaker and Fnayan did, it is going to pull back, so they got to have the biggest blessing here in this game, along with Muzz and Rise. Their strategy to overstay on that mountain just outside of Calamari Canyon, working out tenfold, almost 500 damage above the threshold. They do have an item slot that is empty, so maybe they use some medkits to get here, but so far, they got to be looking good as Rapid and Clicks continue to heat up here in this tournament. Day 2, they find that elimination on the Encrypted.
I mean, listen, I don't want to put a jinx out there, so I'm not going to say what I'm really thinking about Clicks and Rapid right now, but so far, so good. I will leave it at that. Looking to the high ground, you see Moneymaker for 9. Again, pulling the zone here. Clicks and Rapid on the ultimate low ground now. Well above the surge threshold. They have that comfort. They have max material. And now we are moving into deep stages of the moving zones.
They're only roughly 34 or so points behind that first global qualification spot, that 6th place in terms of teams that do get to qualify. So they're not too far off. So they don't even necessarily need a miracle run today. They just need to do good enough, or maybe hope for the downfall of others. But either way, they still got to play their game out, just like BATMANBUGHA and Curve. Disaster struck in that last game, went down relatively early, lost their top spot on the leaderboard inside of the top 5. But look how they're quickly bouncing back. Their mental game
Still can't get over that he changed his name back.
Listen, Curver has already expressed himself saying that he has found the confidence after becoming a champion of that first season alongside Veno, and then doing what he did inside the Heats. It's really changed him as a player. At the end, though, it's going to be a matter of can they perform. I'm looking at Queasy find Calixi in the feed there as well. Noxy Dozier still getting active too. Moneymaker and For9 have so much height over the other teams here, but this is going opposite side, so I was going to say there's no way they're going to build across. Oh yeah, they are going to actually look to fully connect here. It's one way to play the high ground. Meanwhile, Muzz and Rise just doing exactly what they do best, not really forcing the issue, sticking to the low ground here. They get rewarded.
Yeah, and it's not just, you know, Ritual and Cold that have something to gain with Peter Botten going down. Rise and Muzz can very well overtake them on the leaderboard as well. A few teams can rightfully do that, but as Moneymaker and Fnayan still looking good up top, you have to watch out. Threats is there. You got BATMANBUGHA and Curve there. You got Cold still lurking around, and even Clicks finding another elimination onto Noxy. You know, if the opportunity comes their way, high ground, they will try and take it.
When they have 8 shockwaves, right? You surely have to be thinking about it now. All it takes is for you to continue to
Toes, is it just me, or is your side just all fucking up?
I see that, though. They get hit to low ground. Meanwhile, back onto Higgs and Curve here. How are things looking for them? Not too bad, but out of extra heal, so let's see what they can do, what little they have to work with. Little layer change here. Meanwhile, no one is contesting high ground. Not even Queasy, not even Victor V. They don't have heals. You can really see the problem starting to set and take form here in the end game, but the placement points are finally starting to rack up here now as teams are falling here. Ritual Cold. running things on the low ground here. This is Acorn and
Best
Volt on the
quote
outside of the wall.
ever.
Very important elimination is starting to line itself up here.
I can't
This is
even,
something they do
bro.
best for the most part. They dominate that mid and low ground layers. Up until then, they
Oh,
get struck down.
shit.
A flank comes
My
in,
boy
but high
Aviv's
ground
still
gets
alive. Go
overthrown
Aviv!
as well. Rise and Muzz, and they're not even the ones that fought Moneymaker and F9.
Oh, they got- I got chopped.
Backside of
You're
zone. They don't
dead.
catch it in time, and they go down. All that effort to just
Who's
slip
still
through their
all alive?
fingers,
Who's
and now
still
Muzz and
all
Rise are the
alive?
ones with their
I
heads
see
in the
Clicks, I
clouds.
see
Very
Rapid.
smart, and Muzz and Rise
I
have
see
been
Muzz
the
and
only
Rise.
team we've seen game after
Aviv
game
is still down there on
extremely
low
sneaky
ground. Threats
with
coming
looking
in,
to
but guess
play
what?
late in this storm for
Muzz
a
sees your
retake,
ass.
or in this instance
He's gonna
for the
get
chop.
you.
It's playing off so well.
Boogah's still
back-to-back
alive.
Booga's
I mean,
got
Batman
no curve, 5
Booga,
material count
aka
left here.
motherfucking
Let's
Big
see if he can play
Higgs.
the way
Still
that his
alive.
name was made. But here, we jump over
Clicks
Rapid,
and
Cole.
Rapid don't look like they
Also
got
run out
any
material.
heals. Oh, there you are, brother.
True to his name, too, popping off here in the end game.
He literally turned and burned him
God.
down. 5 different players in this
Say a
game.
lot
feeling the
of stuff
pressure,
on.
what it's like
I
to
was
be
watching
a
the
solo, one less
screen
with
from your
Batman
side,
Bugha
and it
going
looked
down.
like everything
Victor
was just
V
starting to
eliminated
freeze
as well.
up.
Braids is gonna fall. Bugha just trying to hang on to the edge of the zone, make it to the front,
Oh,
and reassess
bruh.
the situation. He knows with only 1 build left, being a solo is a nightmare of a scenario, but he finds the elimination onto Aviv. Gets tagged from above. The Siphon keeping him alive, but without any materials.
Bugha's
It's never
down.
for long.
He plays it well. In the end, though, Muzz and Rise
Clicks
are
is still
raining
alive.
down Terra here. 9 eliminations now, working
got
their way towards
Mr.
another
Uncle
10
Raz,
bomb
you got
here, but
fucking
it's Clicks and
Big
Rapid
Muzz.
healthy on the low ground. They
Oh
have
my
absorbed all
God.
the Siphon
Who's gonna
material.
win it?
Now, here comes the final
Clicks
fight.
and Rapid versus Muzz and
Wait,
Rise.
is there a Shockwave out for the heal play? Okay, so he's gonna leave Rise to fight this one off by himself here. Rapid and Clicks look to go for the 2v1, but Muzz might have made a small mistake. He comes back in, and Clicks and Rapid actually have control of height.
Come on,
Yeah,
Clicks,
the
you need
tables have
this.
definitely turned, but it's the material count for both of the players that are weak. They're shockwaving up, they're taking the extra angle. The Mythic Warforged, it's just burning through those materials. Shockwaving from both of them. Rising Clicks trade shots, but Rapid's gonna get dropped. Clicks makes up for
Come
it
on,
with a
Clicks.
down onto
It's
Rise.
you against the
1v1.
world.
No builds, first shot
You,
gonna land, but
it's
he needs
the,
Siphon. It comes
oh,
just in time,
dude,
but
I was about to
it's
say
still gonna
X
shut
set
it
member
down.
versus
11
X set member.
eliminations and possibly a new first place team.
God damn,
Fight
big
as
fucking
well.
Clicks making
we
that
know we
happen
love
too.
to
Like,
see you do
damn.
what you do, but Muzz, we enjoy
Good shit,
just
Muzz.
as much there. Zeke, game
Fuck it.
number
Oh,
8.
oh,
What a
oh,
round.
oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Sorry, passed out there.
Peter
What
bot.
happened? That's crazy. Whoa.
Pete,
You know what's
what's going
you know what's
on?
really crazy about that? We
I'm
just
getting-
saw
I'm
the
not,
last
I'm not
game,
scared,
an
but I'm a
11
little
elimination
scared,
victory
but
Royale to start the day.
Muzz
and
and
then
Rise
were like, oh, you guys like
back in
that.
first.
You guys like that action? Sweet, watch this.
I didn't even go see
my
where
gosh,
that
to
put
think
Clicks
this
and
all
Rapid.
kind of started, Kelly,
Clicks
because
and
of a
Rapid
chop,
made
because
it back
of
into the
Moneymaker
top
and
10. Let's
F9 on
fucking
the high
go.
ground suddenly get chopped, and
Are they gonna
Moneymaker
pull
look
a
up and go,
Peter foil
"We should
from
just go there."
yesterday?
And listen, we'll talk about Moneymaker and F9 after this break.
That was-
But yes, Muzz and Rise being able to identify that F9 is going down, taking that high ground,
Oh,
and then being able
that's
to
what
control
I'm
it. But we heard it
saying,
from our casters
Keith,
there.
bro.
There was a
He
moment where it
almost
looked like
had
maybe they were
it.
going to go for the heal off. Maybe it was just a misplay of the shockwave grenade, but able
I
to
have
recover.
to
And
actually,
then it coming down
like,
to a
I
1v1.
actually need to know
We got
is Clicks
X-Set
actually
versus
streaming?
X-Set,
I don't-
and wait to set
I don't
our
think he is.
expectations. Absolutely incredible, Vivid.
Muzz and Rise are our first team here in Major number 2 Grand Finals to pick up a second victory
Nope.
royale. And listen, it was done very, very clean. Actually, it was pretty similar to how
Yes,
they got their
sir.
first victory royale as well. Kind of height control, and then Muzz kind of left down to this 1v1
Paper,
situation where he just takes
I
it
can't even English
nice
myself.
and
Take
slow and easy, make sure he doesn't
Ripski
take
off the
any
Penchi.
damage.
Yes,
Unfortunately, Clicks
sir.
could not find the angle necessarily. That's just because Muzz was playing it so well. And listen, Zeke, I know
Ooh.
that you're probably
I
gonna
can't mess with
stream
Sativa.
here
Sativa gives
very
me headaches, I'm
shortly.
not gonna lie.
I'm looking over at the leaderboard, and I want everybody at home to kind of realize that very, very shortly when we come back to the break, look at the leaderboard. Might wanna
I used
cover
to be
your
like
ears,
that,
'cause it's
man.
gonna get
I swear.
crazy, but Muzz and Rise, man, just played it so well. And what's crazy about this, take a look at their eliminations, kind of going into 8 zone. Actually only had a single one kind of entering this end game, but they started to rain in, of course.
Another
and
big
once again, we talked
fucking
about at the start of
quote
the
by
show,
Scrapper.
this early game where they have this plateau, they have this high ground, and it allows them kind of in this center area to rotate regardless of where they are, getting themselves into a prime position before we get into these moving zones. And that is what is allowing them to just kind of be efficient, survive these mid to late games, and then being able to steal height with tons of mats, tons of heals, and of course a great loadout with their ammo and everything. I love to see it. They have come into this tournament with a game plan, and they have just been executing it so perfectly as the tournament has gone on. 2 games for two victory royales, but Zeke, I think these guys can make it 3.
I mean, the way that they are playing right now, this is their tournament to lose, right? Like, they are going on a spree
Damn,
right
that was
now.
an easy shot.
Yeah, 468 points there. Not a big deal. I wonder where Muzz will be on the leaderboard after this break. No idea where he could be. I don't.
She's like, I know. She literally. Yes. Listen, bro, I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but there was this, you know, somebody in my 5th grade who dated almost the whole entire class. Now, I'm not pointing fingers, but it could be the president that is in the party right now. It was the president. It definitely was the fucking president. I remember it. I remember it still to this day, and I was like, bro, I can't believe I did that. Damn, that's crazy. She does. She just has a whole different fucking life from them. Right, just has no idea. Just has no idea though. What am I supposed to say? My whole class I miss you. No, I'm good. I can't say that, bro. Half of them are already fucking married and have fucking kids, bro. I'm good. No. I can't even remember what I ate for lunch yesterday. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
You were asked if you were real,
I had
Scrapper?
a crazy dream that Muzz
You should have
and,
been like, nah,
Rise
I'm.
were
You
at a
should have been like,
victory
nah, I'm
royale,
a robot.
He 1v1 the CEO, and he won, and he had 468 points, and he was in first place. What a crazy dream to have. There's no way that the standings would reflect that, right? That's not real life.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of
yeah,
crazy if that happened, Kelly.
he did a little milf slaying in his day already.
468 points, 66 points ahead of Ritual and Cold. And also, Acorn and Bolts is jumping up. Peterbot and Pollo drop down. And of course, we know that Moneymaker and Fnatic now have a giant target on their back. But Vivid, how can you put a target on a moving target? Because
Now
they're just
that's
dropping
a
everywhere.
top
So
10 right
much
there.
is going on. But of course, we do have to look at what happened to Peterbot and Pollo in this game.
Yeah, Moneymaker and Fnatic trying to make something happen. We've kind of seen
fuck,
this.
dude.
Again, they were kind of
Been
expected
there.
to be landing somewhere completely different on day number 1. They decided to go ahead and opt to just kind of, you know, land wherever they want to. Moneymaker and Fnatic kind of playing anti-strat here against Peterbot and Polyo, just kind of waiting for Peterbot to go ahead and take that porta potty and into the loving arms of Moneymaker and Fnatic. That being said, listen, you can see for the first time in forever, I feel like, since we've kind of, you know, jumped into the competition yesterday, Moneymaker and Fnatic have actually left the top 10. They are now 12th place with 270 points. So the strategy right now is currently not working for those guys. Obviously, though, for Muzz and Rise, working very, very well for them because all of our top teams, man, are
what I'm
struggling
getting
to
at,
kind of do well.
the
Second place,
leaderboards
Ritual and Cold
show
hold on to
what
that
your
second place,
epic
but they're kind of
username
used
is,
to
not
having
the
just a
username you
1 point
use on
disparity between them in
whatever's,
first place, and
you know,
now
fucking
it's
system you're using type shit.
66
So
points because game
if
number
I'm
7,
in there,
they got
dude,
15,
yeah,
and in
it's
that
gonna
game
say
game
7
number
bat
8, they got
chicken.
16. So Ritual and Cold are struggling to kind of play as consistently as they did yesterday.
I just put that to
you can just
realization
see
right
between
there.
their loadout, comparing what we saw at end games from today and yesterday, they just don't have that many mats.
Nah,
They don't
because
have
I
that many
guarantee
heals
you
to
go
into
look
this
at
endgame.
freaking,
And what they relied on yesterday to get these easy, quick
Higgs'
refreshes
actual,
just aren't
like,
working out in their favor.
thing.
You can see them
I mean,
pushing so hard
honestly, he
onto
probably
Acorn,
completely
trying to
changed
get that
everything
elimination
back
quickly,
to
but
Batman
unfortunately,
Buka,
it even
if I'm
takes
gonna be
just
real.
a few extra seconds to get that elim, especially
I
in the
wouldn't doubt
endgame
it,
when
dude. Like,
everyone is so close
the
to each
only
other,
reason
you just have
he
that
went
back
by
open and
Xset
allows other
Higgs
people to
is
get
because
eliminations
Clicks told
onto
him
you.
to
But of
change his
course,
name because
just
it
looking at
sounded
this leaderboard right now,
childish.
we can see
And I
that
was
a
like,
lot of our
that's
global
diabolical,
qualifying
bro.
teams are slowly starting to
But
climb
you're
up
over
into
here
that
with
top
Xset
6
Clicks
spot.
1x
We
when
see
you
Kingling,
know
we see
damn
Shadow
well
now in
that's a
7th and 8th.
fucking
If they're able
whack
to
ass
break into the top
championship,
6,
bro.
that
You
allows
won
these
it
qualifying
against
spots to
pros
drop
and
down. And look
amateurs.
who's in 9th place right now. Clicks
Content
and
creators.
Rabbit, the team that we thought potentially after day number 1 might have fallen off, might have not had an opportunity to really recover. But of course,
Yeah,
we get
there
this
was
game
right
right
probably
now,
not
game
even
number
an
9,
actual
where Clicks,
handful
the
that has
CEO
actually touched the
himself,
game.
is showing up everyone, and it was so close to the final moment of a 1v1 where Clicks could have come out on top, but
No,
second place
Peterbot,
is
he's
still
one of
pretty
he's
dang
the top of the top.
This is exactly what Clicks and Rap
Arguably still one of the top
I mean,
of the
obviously
top.
the second place with 5 eliminations here
He's
in game number 8 is going to be
everybody
highlights
says
so far
he's the
of day number
LeBron
2
of
for them,
Fortnite, but I
game number
like
7
to
was
say
also
he's the
pretty good.
Michael
8th place
Jordan
with 2
because he has
eliminations,
6
so they've seemingly
championships.
figured something out. They just
And
have to kind of
Peterbot
keep
also,
it
like, they
rolling
both have
here.
6 championships
And, yeah,
each
you mentioned it.
type
Clicks
shit.
and Rapid are in 9th place. I did also see Aegis and Veno. They're in 10th place, and you know, with Kingling and Craze and Shadow.
Yeah,
and Bird
you
kind of
are
jumping into the top
right
10,
though,
yeah, those
Keith. He
global
does have
qualifying
that
spots right now, the
pickaxe. He
threshold is
does.
currently
Clicks does
10th
have
place, so
the freaking
everybody in their
champion
top 10 would be
pickaxe
going
though.
to globals right now as it currently stands, but there is
But
still
he's about.
4 games left to
Oh,
play.
I don't
If
want to
game
say
number
it. I
7
hope
and
he does
game
not
number 8
lose
has
that
taught me
pickaxe. Or
anything, it's
that
this
pickaxe might
leaderboard
go
is
over the
not
fucking
done
Peter
changing
bot,
at all.
bro.
So
I'm
all
not
of our
gonna
teams
fucking
still
lie.
play well.
I'm fucking
Yeah,
scared,
man, now
dude.
the
This
competition
shit's
is
a
getting
fucking movie
closer
already.
and closer, right? I mean, it's really only Muzz and Rise that have that lead. Everyone
I
else
haven't had a
is
Muha in a
very
long
close.
time.
From 2nd to like 7th place, you can even argue 8th place as well. Not, you know, this could continue to go any which way, and it's all off the backs of what you called out earlier, Vivid. If a team has these, you know, kind of rough games where they place like 16th or further out, everyone else is going to take that opportunity to climb that leaderboard because we're all fighting for one of 6 spots going to the global championships. Oh, I'm getting super excited. We're ready though. Game number 9 is here. We got to jump right back into action. I'm going to find my seat on the bus to cheer on Muzz and Rise. I mean to watch Fortnite. Let's go, casters.
And
Zeke's losing it, and
what
we're
was that?
only halfway through. Well, after this game, of course, but Jacob, it is heating up here.
No, it definitely is. I thought the one was
What?
exciting, but
Probably.
Muzz and Rise getting their 2nd victory royale, and it's been since 2024 was one of the last times we seen Rise at the top of the leaderboard. They were so close in that major after day 1. It
He's in
fizzled
4th
away,
place.
but this could be the
They can
moment.
definitely
I
win.
feel like this is a resurgence.
I'll tell you
of
the
Muzz and
difference
Rise.
right now. Hold up,
Yeah, definitely, and listen, the
468
way that
to
they're playing
375.
right now,
that's
it is
not.
slow
That's
and
100
steady,
point
and then out of nowhere,
difference. Not even.
explosive
It,
when they decide to go for high ground. This execution's looking perfect.
We all
So
forget
far,
to
we
think
haven't seen them actually have this amount
Pollo's
of pressure,
prime
though, playing
now.
when you're in the race to the finish line, right? So for months,
It's
it's
not
been
that
a while
good.
since he's had
Yeah,
this on
we
his
forget to
shoulders.
think that
Yeah, and
thinking
then
is
you
not
also take
thinking
into the
sometimes.
fact that honestly, every single time there's a new team in first place, there's some
Oh,
sort of
there goes the
shenanigans
bus.
that does go down. The next game is ready. Let's see if those same things will continue here.
I don't know what to
You're
tell
not
you
wrong,
there,
Jacob.
Dragon. Like,
whenever we have a team in first place on NA, something always
Strawberries,
happens. A
I
team
guess.
always decides.
Fucking Toast said, "Take your ass back to sleep."
They want to take this championship home, and that's what they end up doing. But right now, you know, that's not really their bigger concern. I think their other concern is, can I just be
Never mind.
consistent enough
He canceled
to kind
that.
of
He
make
said
my
we're
way
not allowed to
through
go to
the
sleep
end
until
game?
we win
For
a
Dozier,
championship.
though, they've managed to kind of tighten up their drop
Oh,
against
dude,
Skittles and
that'd be
won the first
diabolical.
2 games
Imagine
here,
never
but
going
he's
to
just gonna
sleep
be the
again,
first
man.
casualty of this engagement. Dozier tries to disengage. Can he get far enough? Yes, he can. He's actually
Type
lucky
shit.
he just had SMGs. So his tournament's
Fucking
not
dies
over
to
yet. Meanwhile,
not
some
going
of the
to
beat there,
sleep.
Shadow and Virgo seem
Cause
to have
of
been
death.
contested as well. So there's a lot happening here.
Yeah, this is kind of, you know, game 3 of day 2, game 9 overall. So we're not necessarily on the halfway point
Probably.
of day 2 just yet, but you can see that teams really kind of starting to change things up. Moneymaker, Fanayan, they go back on over towards the split 0-point drop where Oliver OG and Paper and Zen are battling it out. They let the fight start and they crash the party yet again.
Now you
a strategy
might
as far as the early
be
game goes that has been working
right
near
and wrong
flawlessly. It's about
with
executing
I'm
in the
saying
end
wrong
game.
on
X-Pac is
the
trying to stay alive, but he does
not the
have the
tournament
sliders, and he's trying
part.
to
Yeah,
slide his way
obviously
to
I don't think
safety, but
nobody's died for
eventually
a
they're gonna
tournament,
cut off
but
each
the
and
game
every
in general, I
path,
don't think
especially more
nobody
so when
actually
you run
died
out
yet.
of builds, but he right now
Like, that'd be
is
diabolical,
moving right
dude.
now, Monster.
If you're dying for a
Yeah,
game.
definitely moving. As Moneymaker
I mean,
and Fanayan
shit,
tried
I'm dying for
super
GTA
hard to
6
go ahead
right
and get
now,
those
but
eliminations. In the end, they do succeed.
that's all right.
You know what's crazy too? I know Vivid kind of said, "Hey, like it's not really working for them," but is it? Like I don't know. I think the strategy is sort of working because when you look at them in their survival time, the last 2 games, 20 minutes and 19 minutes respectively. So they were deep into the end game, and something at that point went south. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see if Fanayan and Moneymaker will pull another big end game.
Nah,
and
that's
steal away a global
diabolical.
championship spot.
I bet you
Especially
it was
since
a
the leaderboard
freaking like
is that close.
high-class modder
You know,
that
not
did it,
only
man.
you having a good performance in one of these games,
'Cause, like,
but
I'll be
something else
honest,
we've seen
dude.
today already,
You wipe
you know,
my
missing out on some
account
crucial
clean,
placement points. I think
yeah,
Azik
I'll
was
be
saying,
pissed
top
off
15,
and
top
shit,
16 or worse.
because
Some of
I'm
these
not
games
gonna
leave a lot
lie,
of
my
points on the
account
board.
looks
This
like
King and Craze, we see him outside
my
Calamar
friend
Canyon, trying to take
Scrapper. You
advantage of
could
H2
say
and
this.
Flex.
You could say
Good
my
damage
account
is
almost
there.
looks like
Craze
Mikey's,
gets tagged up
right?
himself. That's gonna slow the
Stack
roll
wise.
just a little bit, but King is making sure to keep a bird's eye view on them.
If any reason
team
mine
play
is
up.
higher
King
is
and
because
Craze,
I have
you
a
know,
couple
there's
more
no pressure on this
businesses.
team
That
for
is the
them.
only
It's
reason
just
I would
pop
say
off,
that.
play well,
Now,
and prepare for globals.
now
They
here's the
already have
difference.
that positioning
Mikey has
there
played the
amongst the
yeah
greats, and
GTA.
This is just a battle for, of course.
Fucking here, the
leaderboards
difference
in
on that
history.
is Mikey has
Grades Q
played
for VLEX,
since
much
online has
different
pretty much
story
came
on
out.
hand here.
I've played for the
They
last
have been
like
playing
2 or
a
3
very
years.
strong Day 2, so one of the few teams that have actually adjusted
When
their
I first got a
strategy,
hold of
sort of
GTA
found their
Online,
footing
I
there.
said,
The
"Fuck
last
it,
game
we
pulling that
grinded."
3rd place there. And just that alone kind of puts them at least off to a better start here today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they
I'd
got
probably
tagged
agree.
up or maybe heard the noise from Cade and Seal on the other side, but they're going to go ahead and
Dude.
choose to disengage. Rightfully so. When you're running out of builds in a prolonged fight like that, having that third
Yeah,
party
no,
shoot your
that is
direction
true.
probably the
Like,
first thing to
I'm not
happen.
even gonna
Back
lie.
over to Latte, though. Even with Agers
Fucking
going
Scrapper,
down,
you were there
Veno
with us for the
is gonna
last heist.
hold
No,
his
you
ground.
wasn't. You
Back-to-back
left right before we did
eliminations
it.
yet
Never mind.
again. Veno and
So,
Agers, they wanna not
you
only
remember
qualify
me
for the
saying
global
that
championship, but
the
they
final
wanna give themselves
heist
a
cost
fighting chance
it cost
for the
like
actual
3
win.
point
I think this
something
works better
just to
for Victor V
get
and Queasy
the
as well,
room
right?
for
'Cause
it
the
in
few
the
times that
mansion.
Veno and Agers don't
Now,
take this fight, they rotate
that's
out
not worth it
towards
to me
Victor
because
V
I only
and
made
Queasy,
fucking
and that's where we
1.9 off
find
of
them
the
having
heist.
third parties, lurk plays, and things over there. So at least right now, them kind of
Exactly.
taking their time here, winning the fight, they'll be more likely to linger around their drop and cap out.
And if
their
you don't have the
wins.
mansion, you got to spend
Something
like
went
10, 12,
horribly wrong
15
here for
mil.
Acorn, though. I'm not too sure what exactly would have happened.
That's just difficult. All the heists are
My only
fucking
guess
nerfed
is
now, so you
whoever
can't
that
even
is, Chimp and 20 nearby,
can't do nothing.
maybe found the elimination. They are hiding in a bush. Either way, Bugha and Braids in the distance.
Yeah.
So Bolts needs to start figuring out where he's going to go, how he's going to get Acorn back in the game. Luckily for him, though, the zone is kind of pulling off these shorts, so we'll see teams from Golden Grove and further south on the map start to rotate on out, so that could be his small window of opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's see it here. Boyo Peterbot from their draw spot. You can see they're not sticking around for too much longer than they also have to. They've gone chase the team down, got a nice little set of eliminations, and back they come to the Sinister Strip. If the last game told us anything, is that teams will gladly rotate in here, so we've already known now that Peterbot and Boyo have a lot to look out for and can't let their guard down.
I feel like nobody should feel safe in this game at this point in time. How many lurks have went
Oh, I
around
don't
today,
even know what you're talking about.
yesterday, especially if you were able to rod view it. As Moneymaker for Nyan end up in a tough situation. Yamzo and Josh right now is trying to push
yeah,
back.
I was gonna
Moneymaker's
say the
gonna
only
be first
reason
right
we
drop,
ever
and
did
Yamzo
survival
gets both
stuff
of those
was
eliminations.
because
So even though
I
Josh
had
has
a
been
little
playing
bit of
phenomenal
interest in
today,
it, and
Yamzo
then
has been
fucking
the
Scrapper would
consistent
want to do it.
heartbeat for this duo, getting them out of tough situations, clutching up as a solo, and I think that is allowing for Josh to feel as confident as he has here today.
Well, you know what? That's a big elimination. F9 and Moneymaker falling early, they were one of the few teams that were basically tied on the bubble for one of the consistency spots between the 10 to 12 position teams. The gap down from there is about 40 points. So now that one of those few teams have fallen, this leaves a little
Then
bit of
again,
runway
if
for
Spider-Man
someone to
was on
take
Xbox,
away
you'd be
a
happy
consistency
too.
spot from a different team.
I'm gonna dash Noxy, Victor V. Queez,
Me too, though,
Angel,
because I couldn't
Batman
even
Joe,
play it on
even
PlayStation. It
Dozier,
kicked me
Bishu,
on the
still
first
plenty of
mission.
opportunities.
Literally
Since
in the
leaderboard
opening.
does go down, just need to be able to not only have one big game, but close out the day strong. This game here and 3 more to close it out. And you're kind of seeing everybody begin to rotate in, rapid clicks. Again, you've seen like a little resurgence from them here in day number 2. And I think part of that is focusing on getting that storm surge. We saw their struggles yesterday where they were on the line below that damage threshold, and it kind of forces your hands. Now they just have a whole different freedom.
Yeah, most definitely. Muzz and Rise have the most Spire rifle damage of all teams with 4,776.
Whoa, Rise
I
only
think
has
it's
a
really
Spire rifle. Where's the
fitting of
shotgun,
this
bro?
duo
You don't
as
gotta.
well.
Whoa,
Like we
whoa,
talked
whoa!
about
Look at the
their
edit
history,
course
their
he's
tenure.
doing.
These
Look at
players
the
date
edits.
way back to their
Uncle
early
Rise still got
spring
it.
Q snipe days, right? These
Oh,
are the
there's a
guys that
shotgun.
were a part of the innovative strategies of Surge
Oh,
Towers.
look who's
They're
in the
used to
background.
playing high ground and going
Oh,
for
shit.
for your primary means
Peter and
against
Boyle
Surge,
know
so
who's in
it
first
makes
place, and they're about to go
sense
fucking
they would be
grief them.
dominating in that way here. But Jacob, what is this action here? You have Liam and Jace on the edge of Storm taking a fight up against Zeke.
And Taki down below. Probably just trying to get some early surge. You can kind of see relatively on E when it comes to those materials, so trying to replenish everything they're using and losing in these moments here. But for
Now,
Liam J, Seek Taki,
hypothetically
the longer this one
speaking,
takes, the harder and
if
harder
this
it is
goes
to be
back,
able to pick yourself up
Fortnite
and dust
goes back
yourself
to
off
trios.
and turn it into a phenomenal game.
I'm not saying
Still
anything,
1 tick per
but
second
Keith,
inside of the
you
zone.
may have to come back
And
to
that's where you kinda
Fortnite so
see on
that me,
Taki
you,
at
and
the bare
Dragon
minimum,
can be
90
trios.
left on the Chug Jug. That's the only real HP he's going to be able to get back.
That is probably the only reason I would actually like to play
pretty much.
trios.
The last
I'm sorry I cannot play it
squeeze
with
there. Well, Liam and Jace,
a
they've kind of had
new
enough here in
learner,
the Storm. They have a long
I guess,
rotate as
to the
well. You
game.
saw the first zone closing somewhere around that Sinister Strip territory of the map, so quite a fair bit to travel here.
Shit. I wouldn't have to do anything if I had Dragon and Keith as a trio with me.
You can kind of see even with Liam and Jace trying to disengage.
I'd pretty much be
They
getting
realize
carried.
they're
That's the
stuck in
sad
builds.
part.
Everything's kind of farmed, so they're just kind of leaving themselves exposed just like that. Liam getting tagged up again. Seek and Taki just trying to take the last couple of opportunities there. Since they did end up in a fight, they did take damage.
Well,
trying to ease up on that pressure. Higgs and Curve, aka BATMANBUGHA and Curve on the north side of Lifty Lodge. So we saw
I don't
as you were
even
talking
play
about the
zero
bottom
build
of the
that
zone
much
over
unless,
towards
you
Sinister
know,
Strip,
it's
the north side over
Toes
towards Lifty
forcing
Lodge.
me.
And
No, I'm
since you
not
see
saying
at
forcing.
kind of the bottom
Unless,
left
you know,
of
it's
the
me and
map,
Toes
you can
going
see
to
it's kind of
dominate Blitz because
circling
we
in that
get
direction.
pissed
So
off
we
real
are
quick at
pulling
fucking
west
BR.
as well. We're going to see where the zone goes in roughly 10 or less seconds.
So
And
fucking
so hopefully
fast.
for Higgs and Curve, this could be the game that gets them right back on track from yesterday.
Yeah, they're not out the race. They're not out of the conversation. Yeah, they might have had a little bit of a difficult, right, first game,
see,
second game to kind of start stuff off, but that
that's
last
the
round, they
difference
fought
with
their
me.
way to the end. Meanwhile, Crazy and
When
Kingling just continue
I
to take
have
that
a lobby
confidence
full
here
of
to a
people
whole
that I
different
know
level,
that play zero
slowing down
build,
HQ
I'm
there,
just
the
gonna
big
play
elimination.
zero build. Like,
Meanwhile,
there's
oh,
no
again,
point
no
of trying to
insight.
fight,
So he's
being
having to
like,
fight
oh
this
yeah,
round.
let's
He's
play
at, like,
builds, and then
2v1
I
right
go
now.
in, and then every
Already he's got
lobby it's
himself
gonna be a
elimination, and he's got
1v4
HP lead.
because almost
Yep, Siphon,
half the
since he has no
teams in
extra
that lobby
HP, is
probably are
important.
actual
As we kind of
players.
switched on over, I did see Acorn for a second, but he did go down again. So Bolt's getting the reboot off. Clixie and Aiden trying to take advantage of at least one of those two players. But little did they know it was Acorn and Bolts right now feeling confident. Push that player off. He has full control over the mending machine, and so it should be another chance here in this game.
I played the
Acorn
basic
back in.
controls. I've been thinking about
Going to the
switching my
standings here just to see where
edit button
Clixie
or
and
my
Aiden are
edit and
standing.
build
They
button.
definitely have had a bit of a rougher day the last few games. They've made it a bit further than some of the other positions, but all in all, still trying to find their groove. Meanwhile, Curly, Tyler push off Virgo and Shadow here. Virgo and Shadow off to the races.
Oh,
Trying to get
you're
positioned
gonna run
safely.
into somebody you're
They're one of
not
the few
gonna
teams
like,
inside of the top
pal.
10 that are holding a global championship spot, so
Virgo
they're
and
kind
Shadow
of the
battle run
spoilers,
into
of
the
course, in the mix
Kings.
here. If they end up
Oh
taking down
shit, it's
anyone
Peter and
who's
Poyo.
fighting for their chance.
They know too.
And typically with a lot of like these lurks and these plays, it's kind of those global championship spots that are already secured. That is playing a role from some of these teams getting uncontested, getting a little bit of
Yeah,
freedom
no, see, that's the
in
thing
the
about
game plan
Peter
that
and Poyo. They
most others won't be able to
technically
fill.
don't
Peter
have
Poyo's
to be
gonna let them
playing
rotate past, but Shadow and
F
Virgo
and CS
unknowingly
Major
rotate
2.
directly into
It's
King
just
and
for the
Crazy. Literally
cash.
in a matter of seconds, you blink, you missed it.
And the
Shadow and
championship,
Virgo actually
obviously.
take down King and Craze.
This is excellent for everyone else. This
Yeah,
is excellent.
because
You have a team that's
I
already
mean,
qualified,
that's
taking
kind
out another
of,
team that's
yeah,
already
it's
qualified.
important
So,
to play
you
it,
know,
obviously.
No harm, no foul to
But
everyone else who is, of course, battling
the
for a
other
chance to global
reason
champs,
to
but
actually be
Shadow and
playing this
Virgo
is to
really
qualify
flexing their
for the
strength here.
global championship. And any teams that doesn't qualify, then you
can see
have,
as
I
you kind
think,
of look at the leaderboard, specifically
I think
going
the rest
into
of this
game,
month to
there's
try to
Muzz
qualify.
with that 66-point gap, and then it's a 10-point, then it's 15, then it's 40. So
Nah, you
some
left
places
and
at the
just
top
came
leaderboard
back.
relatively close. Others have a little bit more of a gap. And King and Craze was one of those teams that had that.
You're
little
on a
bit of
newer
gap
Xbox
over
though, aren't
Shadow
you?
and Virgo. So that's 8th place taking on 7th
I don't
place
get it.
throughout the course of this game. As Ritual and Cold had a chance to take first. They
I
had
don't
it throughout
understand.
the course of that game.
I
but
really don't
back-to-back
understand them.
15th, 16th place finish. Kind of slowed down a little bit. Not fully fizzled out. So hopefully they can reignite that flame.
Yeah, definitely. Well, they're off to some hot rotates here, nice and early.
I hate that game.
Before teams
Sorry, I had
kind
to
of
say
get
it.
situated here, utilizing that natural terrain here to keep a low profile and cut straight across. Meanwhile, the high ground of Muzz and Rise, they're playing deep in the storm here. They still have a
Yeah,
launch
Rainbow.
pad to work with.
That's my goal is to win a championship.
Plenty of shockwaves, of course, as well. All these extra heals.
Was
here, too.
diabolical.
You're seeing a major difference, though. You know, at this point in time in that last game, because the zone pulled in their direction, what were they, like 400, 500 above the damage threshold? But since the zone is pushing everybody out, and because they still have to loot up in their early game, they missed a huge window of opportunity, and that's why you're seeing them not as high up on the threshold, but almost 200 damage. It's got to have a little bit of feeling and confidence here. They're just waiting what seems like the last possible second to make their rotate out. So that way, when they do start to make their journey on over, they have that shockwave effect.
Every time I loaded into the game, I always muted my freaking or disabled my in-game chat because for some reason, even being in Discord calls or whatever, it still showed that I was talking in game chat, and I was like, that's weird.
Trying to look for any teams to late rotate out from the edges of the zone. See the shockwave here.
I mean,
straight to the new zone.
Honestly, I'll go out there and say some pretty stupid shit right now, and then just get myself banned off rivals because I don't give a fuck about it.
Everybody's at, especially the ones close around him. Contract Darzi, they can be below.
But that's not what I'm gonna do because I don't care. Like, it's done, it's gone, it's uninstalled. I don't gotta worry about it anymore. This is what I'm worried about: winning a damn championship.
You almost want to think to your head, oh, I can one-hop this, one shockwave, that's all it takes. But sometimes you want to do exactly what Yamzo and Josh are doing and kind of leapfrog your way there. Minimize the amount of open trajectory that you're doing with those shockwaves, so that way it minimizes the amount of opportunities that you're giving teams to take shots in your direction.
Definitely, as this is all going
Yeah,
down, though,
we
you
know.
see the feed starting
You
to line
go
up here.
over
Other
and
teams that are likely having
not
that
even
surge
over and
warning
beyond
forced into
sometimes,
fights.
but
And I'm talking
if you
about
need to, it
Victor
will.
potentially, as we saw him catch 2 elims already. Meanwhile, Ritual and Cold again taking full-on advantage of that early rotate. They were the first team to position up here, and they've managed to put a lot of pressure on different duos. I'm actually surprised they're even playing the edit this way with
that's
how exposed they
diabolical.
are to these other teams with high ground. And you see right there, the full burn from Curve and Veno take down Queasy as they try to rotate through.
And they're actually going to be able to pick up that loot on the Queasy. Cold and Ritual, though, not necessarily getting distracted with anything that's going on their right side. They're just trying to kind of put the zone in a little bit of a funnel and focus on that funnel. That way they don't tunnel vision too hard. And they're just continuously distracting. Victor V in the distance will fall shortly after Queasy as well. So they're kind of
All right, brother. I appreciate
in
the
the
raid.
last 3 games of the day to try to make their dash towards the top side of the leaderboard. Muzz and Rise, winners of that last game, the team with a 66-point gap. You saw them continuously climb up the Storm Surge threshold with only 13 players needing to go down. It might not necessarily be a worry for them for the rest of this game.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't be. But right now, looking at the
we're
zone,
actually good
everyone's
on
already
this
making
side.
that rotate here, so this is going right back and up. Out of the frosted
Yeah, no,
flats
this
into
is
some
definitely
weird
the
terrain,
big goal,
some
though. We
interesting
definitely want to win a
territory to come, but look
championship.
who's there early. You have Cooper already playing some high ground. That's the first that we've seen from them. Meanwhile, Clicks and Rapid sticking to that low ground that worked so well for them last game. Only down to 2
I think
shockwaves,
if
so
me and Dragon actually
to
lock
start
the fuck
preserving
in,
here.
we can actually do it.
Curve and BATMANBUGHA have a tough rotate though. Lost one on the move here. This is
Booga's down, BATMANBUGHA down. That's
For
crazy.
a team like Curve and Higgs, they actually need this qualification, and for them to start slowing down now, finding a little bit of friction here on their overall points. This
I
is gonna
just
be tough if
I
Curve
just
can't
got
pull some
me
placements.
a
Yeah, especially
team
since when
right
I'm
there,
talking
but
about
yeah,
that
no.
gap
The
earlier
only
on
reason
within
I
the
haven't
top 10,
done
it's a
anything
Peter
yet
Boyle
is
with a
because
little bit of that gap, 42 points
I
going into this
didn't
game.
have
so
a.
they gotta figure out
Yeah,
a way to
you're
close
right.
it.
I
Even
didn't
though
like
Peter
for the
Boyle not
longest
necessarily
time.
the
I kept
competition
sitting there
for
saying I
global
need a
spots,
duo.
they're the direct competition for the top side of the leaderboard. Shadow going to go down to Tyler. Peter BATMANBUGHA this game, unlike many of the other games so far, not necessarily peeking for the high ground, or at least not early. Ritual and Cole
Right.
pick up a couple of eliminations themselves. It's still an all-out battle for that first place spot.
That's a devastating elimination, by the way, onto Dash and Noxy, who are on the bubble for qualification, getting themselves in through consistency.
Unfortunately
now that's going to be a
not.
major setback.
You know,
They
that
only
would be
earned
pretty
a
cool,
couple of
dude.
points here for placement as we're
Imagine
inside the
that's what
top
I
20
could.
now.
No, I don't even
Still
know if I
seeing
told
Veno
you about
standing
that. That's
there in
kind
the
of what I want to
distance.
do with this is make it into
Agers
an
as
org
well
to a point
accompanying
where
him,
I
so
can
that's
have
really
a
strong.
actual
But
build
for Peter
team
BATMANBUGHA, you saw
and a
them almost
fucking zero
every
build
game that they've
team
managed
type
to
shit.
comfortably make their way towards, and they have fought for the high ground
Because
for the most
yes,
part.
there's
They
not a
are
lot of
no
fucking
strangers to, of
zero
course,
build
battling
cups
for
or
a
whatever,
Colts and
but
Acorn. Talk about coming back
know how
here
many
and finding
people
their way
would be
back in the competition.
wanna
That's a key elimination.
actually
Yeah, we're still
have a
waiting for that
name
big
for the
Colts
zero
and
build
Acorn
tourney
game
or cup
together as a
or
duo
whatever
as they
type
catch
shit.
Skittles
Actually, no,
shockwaving
there's
out
one
in
team
midair,
that is
and that's
actually
something
a
we've
zero
seen
build
Bolts
thing,
do
and it's
so
called
much,
Zen.
the mid-air eliminations. It's kind of like the guy that you count on.
I'm
to really
pretty
make
sure
these
they're
plays
mainly
matter. Reed and
based
Cooper,
around
they
zero
connect
build.
from one place to another, trying to hold their position up above. Clicks and Rapid down below, get aggressed on through the side. They quickly answer that one, backtrack in their steps, but it's only going to last for so long. There's so much pressure coming around from all around the lobby. It's one team
Clicks
into
and
the next,
Rapid
and then
still
the next,
alive.
so
Here
they
we
have to be
go.
on their toes.
Rapid making the smart call there to get off the layer as well. For a second, I was like, oh no, you're leaving Clicks
Ritual
behind.
and Cold still
But
alive.
luckily, they managed to connect
Where's the
back
goats
together.
at?
Curve,
Are they-
though, we put the pressure on him. You can see he's still holding it down here as a solo, earning more and more points. How many times can we trust in Curve to clutch
They
up
gone.
here in the tournament? Either way, though, it's
Oh,
working
there's
right now.
Poyo.
Big
I
pressure
seen
coming
him.
in, shots raining down. Ritual also playing this one out by itself. This is important for Ritual as well if they want to race for first.
Where's Pete?
Yeah, it's no time to let your foot up off the gas by any means, but
Oh,
it's also hard
okay,
for
they're
any
grouped
team to
up
look
together.
up and
Oh,
shockwave.
shit.
Peter BATMANBUGHA take
Oh,
down
shit.
Muzz. Rise is still alive here, and Rise's solo clutch opportunity
I'm sorry,
is huge.
brother, but
Top top 10 is where you at least get half of the placement points for Rise. That should bare minimum be the goal, but Rapid gets the
we're
get
here in
back. Boy, it was
Discord.
down.
We're
Peter Bot
here
left by
watching
himself.
motherfucking
Clicks and Rapid
FNCS,
find their
brother.
first elimination of the game, and it's on Peter Bot and Poy.
I'm about to message him too.
This is getting really interesting.
See, motherfucking Cameron tried wanting to duo up with me, and I was like, nah, you wouldn't take it seriously with me. Think it would be all jokes when I'm actually serious about this shit.
Rise though taking a toe-to-toe fight with Clicks and Rapid here, looking for a little.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Dragon got to the point where he's fucking serious about it. Because he's been doing fucking multiple hour fucking grind sessions on this game, and I've been like, dude,
that's a big elimination.
That's what I need to hear and need to see.
Siphon, the 140 on the Chug Jug, solo on solo action. Rise is making sure nobody has a chance to.
If my duo is gonna be on here grinding when I'm not on, that's fucking, that's just fucking awesome, dude.
Which means Bolts just got tagged up time and time again.
I do the literal same thing when he's not on. I'm trying to practice either by myself or with anybody that's on. Like shit, I'll try to beg SpongeBob to get on sometimes, even though he's not Dragon. But shit, SpongeBob has potential, dude.
Usually comes out ahead, and this time it's Veno, it's Agers. The storyline for this team here, for Veno in particular, who's trying to go back to back on NAC now. This is how you make up points here.
Yep, he did it in Major 1, trying to do it here again, but another phenomenal clutch so far from Clicks, getting those points. That last one, second place, got them inside of the bubble. This one right here is keeping them in the bubble, but Bugha Braves will also still need a big game.
Tournaments as long as you can fucking try to run rank with me. That's all I need. Whenever Dragon's not on, or shit, or even when Dragon's on, you could even run with us. We try to get a full rank squad sometimes. The only our ranked squad, quote unquote, is literally just me, him, and SpongeBob as of right now. But we haven't even played a ranked match with SpongeBob yet because of all the ranks being so fucking far apart. Big motherfucking Agers, big Veno out here. They getting game. I don't even know what game we're in anymore.
10th place on the overall leaderboard. Even with these roll down spots,
I think we're in game 8,
no feeling of
game 9 or game 8.
At all. So they came in, they swung for the fences, and a victory royale means they hit the home run. Rising up the leaderboard, they go, Zeke.
Guys, listen, guys. My little hummingbird heart cannot take this much excitement, okay? We need to calm down. Kelly, have we had 3 games in a row of victory royales with 11 eliminations?
First of all, Vivid, he says we, like you and I are on the same level as him. But yes, absolutely incredible. And maybe I'm a little biased to see Reed Cooper on height. But regardless, we have been waiting for this part of Veno and AG to
yeah, the leaderboard is pretty much the same right now.
Yesterday they proved themselves, but it's been a little bit of a slow start for them for day 2.
Muzz and Rise are starting to run away with it a little bit.
From this really smart height take. They see a team on height, controlling it for a little bit. They wait for someone to try and steal it from them, and then that's when they go on the steal themselves. Beautiful play from them.
Yeah,
oh shit!
Played it super well. You can see we're gonna actually jump into when they started to go ahead and apply the pressure to the high ground. You can see Cooper and Reed, they're just very, very low, and this is on the back foot of Acorn and Bolt as a duo, kind of sending it up to the high ground.
Honestly,
so Agers and Veno kind of heard the shots that were going on up above them. We're like, hey, listen, we got to go ahead and get in on the action. So it was pretty easy for the taking after they kind of realized that, and then it was all about picking up this couple of stragglers down on the low ground to go ahead and secure a bulk of their eliminations there. But this was kind of set up throughout the entirety of the end game for Veno and Agers,
regardless. I don't fucking care,
they were playing that second height level, even though it was like 5 or 6 boxes kind of below the high ground. They were kind of playing for it. They were waiting to hear something kind of going above them. As soon as it happened,
so awesome, dude. I know, right?
For the taking. So yeah, like MDF kind of called it out. Agers and Veno kind of bring themselves back into the
I only like one of his songs. That's it.
Oh man, one game.
I don't like. I don't really fuck with him. I'm gonna keep it real, but like one of his songs is.
Remember,
I don't even remember the song. That's it. That's funny part.
Going to the global championships. I'm gonna pass out. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the standings. See you shortly.
Cause that's what they do nowadays. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm not smart. Wanna watch? Oh shit, actually there's a little build area in here. You could go figure out your stuff too. Did you get the new Spider-Man skin, dude? Did you get it? Did you get a motherfucking Spider-Man skin, dude? Oh shit. Oh, dude. Oh my god. How did you watch it? Oh, dude. Fucking hell yeah, dude. Boom. Boom. He ain't even loaded in yet. You know what? Hold on, man. Fuck it, dude. And it didn't even change. Imagine that. This game is fucking broken there, bud. Never mind. Dude, I think Muzz and Rise might win it, dude. That'd be pretty fucking crazy.
We've been treated to some cinema. It's only the first 3 games.
Nah,
We have
literally, though.
3
It's
more
the first
games
3.
to go, and already the action has been incredible. We wanted to take a moment here. Let's check out the players in focus. Powered by Milk. Let's just look at some stats real fast, okay? This is what we like to do. Just kind of look in, see how things are unfolding.
26 eliminations from
Wow.
Veno. Damage
You know,
dealt
I'm not surprised. We
7,427
just
by
watched Veno
cold.
and get themselves an
AR
11
damage
elimination. Victory
4905
Royale. Kelly, now
Polio.
Veno leads
Builds
in
place.
eliminations.
I don't know why
I mean,
that's
he
a
led
fucking
in
stat,
eliminations
but
when we were
okay.
looking at Major 1 as well. So to see him on the top of
solo
this is not
clutch
too much of a
points,
surprise.
96
Same
from
thing
Polio.
goes for Cold. We've just seen how devastating he can be in these early, mid, and late game fights. And then Polio, of course, with that mythic AR in his
Bring
hand.
it back, Polio.
To
We
see
gotta
this,
bring it back,
honestly, Veno,
baby.
This just seems like we could have just kind of created this randomly, been like, oh, this is a prediction that we're going to have for what's going to happen during grand finals. And to just see all of these top players up here represented is, you know, that's NAC.
Polio, though, 96 solo clutch points. Peterbot and Polio combined as a duo in total have
How we all doing
116
in
solo
chat?
clutch points. So
How's
Polio
everybody's day
has kind
going?
of been the one kind of keep things alive and keep the ball rolling for the duo.
Appreciate
Of course, Peterbot was
everybody
kind of
for
given the
coming
opportunity
through
in
for
just
day
that
2.
last game, but unfortunately everything was kind of up against them there. But yeah, all of our players kind of
Why
playing
can't you
well. I
load
know that
in?
Veno, we showed it right there. He is top in the eliminations right now, but he's actually been going back and forth with Rise. I think Rise is actually
Should
in
be.
second place,
Everybody
just
can normally
right
join.
behind it with 25, whereas Veno
Is
has
this
26. So
ready
things
up?
are close on that
What
elimination
does it
leaderboard,
say?
but Zeke, they're also close on the standings.
They really are. I mean, I don't feel like I need to talk about Muzz and Rise being in first place. Not
Oh,
a
if it's
big
loading
deal.
it,
Wanted
then
to
let it
highlight
load.
here, Acorn and Bolts moving up the guys. I like these games have been
Alright,
so.
hold up. I'll come back. Game hasn't started yet, so I can come back and get you then. That's a little weird, though. Normally, you can just join right in. Oh my god. And he's got the freaking... Oh my god, he's got the Black Air Forces on, too. Fucking W, dude. Fucking W, dude. Fucking W. I thought about getting the skin too, but I said no.
We thought they were going to do, and then continue to make them climb up the leaderboard for day 2. I will say though, there was a moment here when they went to go steal height, but it looked like they weren't together. Both in Acorn and kind of different layers when they went for something so imperative as stealing height.
Your left
you really
hand looks
need
a
them to be
little
able to just be box
broken
to box,
there, bud.
synergizing together, and I feel like they fell just a little bit short here, and that's why they weren't able
But
to convert this
yeah,
height
you
steal
can figure out
into a
your
successful
settings,
victory
I guess, in
royale.
here
But
real quick, and
I say
then
that, I'm being a little
fucking
judgmental.
go
They're in
in there
second
and
place. They're still climbing
mess
the
around with
leaderboard,
your
Vivid.
build shit.
Yeah, still keeping things
One of the
going here.
freaking
Now, there's
colors.
something kind of happening on page
Actually,
2
I got
here
2
on
minutes. I
Telus
can
standings.
go to
Let's go ahead and
red.
take a look at it. Now, I don't
Red
wanna
team,
freak
back
out
chicken
or anything
team.
like that. I want to make a
I'll do
big
it for
deal
you.
out of it, but Bugha and Brazy, go ahead and freak out for me, man. Go ahead and freak out. I mean, this has been a crazy day 2 so far. Let me go ahead and set the scene for everybody at home.
I think that
After
would
day
be
1,
good
Bugha
to
and
do,
Brazy had
E-Rock.
86 points. They were in 28th place. They
I still
climbed
have
all the way up
to
in these first 3 games on day number 2 to 12th
my
place.
stuff up still, but I don't have the money for it right now to do any of it.
4th place and 4th place.
And
They
I don't
got
have the
4th place
time
in
to
every
get
single
everything
one of
on
the games
Twitch,
here
or
on
not
day
Twitch,
number
on
2.
Discord, all
Listen, I'd be
freaking
lying
situated
if I was
for
to say
when
that
I
I'm
do
not
change my
excited to see
name.
how well Bugha and Braids are doing.
Or
A
add the
little bit of a
7 in
shock
front of
for our
it.
players to come into day number 1 having not
But yeah, I
necessarily
think
the
you should
best
definitely change your
performance, but then
Epic
to
name.
see them clearly
Should
reviewing,
be your Twitch
voting,
name.
making sure that they are changing whatever fell short in day number 1, and clearly that has worked out. And it's not just
That'd
working
probably
out
make
for
it a lot
games number
easier,
7, 8,
honestly,
and 9, but you can
for
see that
people
they're
when
able
they
to grab
go to
more and more
add you or
eliminations
whatever.
for these games. So not only have they made improvements from day 1 to day 2, but they're also making
No, I'm
improvements
talking to chat.
throughout the games in the day.
Guys, 3 games left to go. If I'm not mistaken, currently, if we ended the tournament here, if we're looking at a top 8 right now, Vivid.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, if we just stop the tournament, you need to be top 8 to move on to the Global Championships. And we still have 3 more games to go, Viv. I don't know how much crazier this is going to get with 3 more games.
Yeah, 344 points is currently that threshold. I mean, we kind of just talked about him. So Bugha and Braids, we did see him there on 286. So where it's kind of like this big fall off, this big drop in points just from like 8th place down to that 12th place spot. So still a lot of work to do for any of our teams that are kind of not here on this top 10 page. But if you're playing as consistently as teams like Bugha and Braids are right now, you got to start to think whether or not they can do it. But Clicks and Rapid, they're currently in that 8th place spot. They got to hold on, Kelly.
Go up
to
to
say, are
the
you not
little
gonna
board
mention
thing
eighth
where it
place? Are you
says
not gonna
box
mention the
fight
teams
and
that
then
qualify
view
for
it,
global
click the
championships?
emote again.
Trying to just
Clicks
lay
and
low.
Rapid. I know. We don't want to say it. We don't want to bring it into fruition because then if you put it out into the universe, maybe the universe fights back. Listen, very excited for how our top 8 is looking right now, and that might shift. We might have some of our players. We can see how close Golden Ozone, Shadow Virgo, King Ali, and Craze. They're all
How
on
long
that
do we
outside of the
got?
edge.
We got,
So
like,
much can still change in these
We
final
got a
3
couple of
games.
seconds. I can
That's
go
right,
then
Kelly.
real
This
quick.
is
Chat, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run
point
to the
of
bathroom real quick
competition.
before
3
game 9
games
starts.
left to make your mark and hopefully fight for one of those 6 spots, the Global Championships. Find your seats on the battle bus. It's game time.
Thank you
Saw
so
them
much.
after.
And one thing that I did notice, Monster, is the fact that Muzz and Rise, 514 points, one more good game, they secure a global championship spot.
Yeah, definitely. They're getting very, very close. They've already gapped the competition. And I was looking, they're just reporting in that 58 points separate Bugha to the qual spot. But if that were to happen, then we're kicking out Clicks or Josh or Yamzo or Higgs. Like, how do we choose one of these teams? You just can't. In the end, it's going to come down to who deserves it most. But let's get on this battle bus one more time.
Teams outside of the bubble, teams inside of the bubble. Both of them have teams that are for the global championship already secured. So even though there's teams still fighting for their spots, there's still disruptors in the mix. And right now, when you kind of look at it, 344 points, Clicks and Rapid, they are that line for the global championship. And they were mentioning Bugha and Braids, roughly 60 points away, which is definitely doable in these next 3 games.
Yeah, most definitely. It's getting down to the wire here. I'm just thinking about how far ahead Muzz and Rise are. And how badly do other teams want this, right? Muzz and Rise have never had this, again, this amount of pressure, this amount of tension as we are going into the final 3 rounds. Veno Agers are on this.
Oh, fucking right.
What
What'd I miss? Probably
this
nothing
comeback
so
for
far.
themselves. And look at this, Jacob. It seems like they have the
A
draw
couple
to
of off
themselves
spawns,
for the time
probably.
being. You have
Oh, this
contract.
is
I don't know
game
what
10?
they're doing. But for the most part, they got the main POI to themselves.
Oops.
Yeah, which I want to see, honestly, is it actually a blessing or a curse? Because a lot of those fights, they were getting
Alright,
a good
so
amount of
there's
damage. Even when they
this
disengaged,
game
they
and
were
2
getting
games
a good amount
after,
of damage
so
to kind of set them on course for the rest of their game. So let's see how it continues to play out, especially on this side with Moneymaker and Fanayan. 52 points so far on the day, and this is 12th and 13th place essentially here at Golden Grove. And the biggest difference maker, does Bugha and Braids even have an idea?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jacob, I don't know how I feel about Moneymaker and for 9 trying to contest Bugha and Braids, but I like the idea. If you want the ball spot, why not take out your immediate competition? We were curious if whether or not Contrap and company we're gonna try to fight here. Look,
same spot that
this.
I've always been at.
He's left by himself.
Chilling in
Peter
front of the
Butt
little
and
bush.
Boyo have rotated towards them. Boyo finding Muzz here. This is
what?
going to be a very interesting turn of events right now.
On one side it is Veno and Agers basically kind of
You can't run up
by
and
the
click
ropes on
view.
one side. Bugha and Braids still have to be careful here.
It should say
Not
press
sure where
X.
Moneymaker and Fanayan did actually end up at, but I don't see him on the
What the
minimap
hell?
towards the south. So my biggest guess, probably somewhere still close by.
If
I was
it's
gonna say try to take advantage of
highlighted, if the box is
situation, but Golden
highlighted
Grove is
white,
just one
then
of those
yeah,
spots
it's
where you
already
don't
clicked.
necessarily see a lot of lurking unless a fight is already breaking out.
Well, let's see how it's going to end up playing out here. Rise as a solo. I love this. I actually really love this. This is sort of their normal strategy. Is like, yo, let's go make the big surge tower. You know, normally someone's hiding in the bush when they're by themselves. But he's like, nah, let me just get back to the true and trusty surge tag farming. Now, if Peter Butt and Boyo are really smart and they end up hunting for him and see the tower, they could determine if this is worth a solo push.
I know in the beginning you kind of mentioned, not sure what necessarily going to have. Contrap and Darzi were going Golden Grove
Damn.
for the majority of this tournament. They switched it up. I asked the question of where Veno and Agers are going to get their early game damage from, and they instantly
What's
answered.
up, little cuzzo?
But you're seeing a lot of these early game fights, and the reason why it's breaking out is typically we would wait until game 12, game 11, where teams try to make, you know, those big risky plays to try to rise up the leaderboard. But I feel like more and more, especially watching EU before this, they realize sometimes waiting till game 12 is just simply too late.
Yep. Well, here we have it. We're now looking at Kings and Craze, who pushed across onto Cirque and Cynics for a second there. On the other side, you have F9, Moneymaker, setting up once again another ambush play. We've seen them actually successfully take out QK and Mirage.
Real.
This time we're doing it from a completely different angle. This is just madness. When they go back and watch this, they're going to be so confused as to how this team has managed to outlurk them everywhere.
I feel like sometimes their lurking is just literally in plain sight. Unfortunate for QK. Just thinks it's all uncontested. He gets taken down. Big shot from F9 as well onto Mirops. Gets him weak.
Damn.
And eventually leads to the elimination. So basically 400 damage right there. While F9 maybe took 64.
Straight. Damn.
Big,
That's all I gotta
big
say to that.
eliminations there. The 9 and
There they
Moneymaker
go.
just keeping us even more
There
entertained
they
than we
are.
should be. Because it's already
It's
grand
the
finals weekend. The
motherfucking
game
big
sells
shitter
themselves, and then you
himself.
just
Oh,
have these
don't fall
wild
damage.
plays happening left and right. Meanwhile, Clicks and Rapid. Pressure was on for Clicks and Rapid to perform, to try to find their way up towards the top. They managed to do just that. And look at this. I actually really like this setup right here. Start thinking about what Clicks and Rapid have to deal with. Well, it's their immediate competition. It's Bugha, it's Braids, it's Moneymaker for 9. You could take them out. The gap between you and everyone else is 100 points. That's a whole game buffer, which means they could be 2 decent games away from a shoe-in qual spot.
Man, I just like the way they're pinpointing some of the players. They're not necessarily going after global qualified teams, like you're saying. The ones that are in the same hunt as they are. And they're turning the script right now, potentially on a moneymaker and Fnayan, but they go off towards the right, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because now
Oh,
they're
you fucking
separated.
missed,
Not
dude. You
necessarily
missed
a
the
big amount of
pump.
damage onto Fnayan, especially with moneymaker shockwaving back up, trying to return back into the same box. This fight, Monster, has so many different implications going on into the rest of the day. Somebody will fall below and behind the curve, and you could see Clicks immediately still getting
Clicks
aggressive. He's
rapid,
fighting for a little bit of
Rise
control because he doesn't want to let
versus
this
Peter
opportunity
and
slip through
Pollo,
his fingers.
I'd
And on the
imagine.
other side, Peterbot and Pollo, they're continuously trying to hunt down the first place team of Muzz and Rise.
Tournament implications
They
after
want
tournament
them, dude. They
implications.
want.
Peterbot,
Yep.
Pollo hunting
This is
down
what I was
Rise. They've
talking about.
already gotten
This is
Muzz.
what Peterbot does, guys. He
Now
hunts
to
down
9
first
builds,
place if he's
barely
losing.
anything
He
else
wants
to work
it.
with. No shockwaves to disengage as Peterbot and Pollo are looking for him. Meanwhile, Rapid and Clicks just trying to fight
He has
their immediate
this
tournament
3
competition.
games basically
here
to
and
do
now.
it, so he's gonna fucking do it.
These are 2 different teams, 2 different things on the line, but one singular goal, and that is success.
Just trippy situation.
Bro,
for
they're all
Rise.
in a
Probably
Discord
hasn't
call
had
right
his
now.
hands
I
sweat
guarantee
this
fucking
much in
see they
quite
are.
a long time.
These
He can't
3
even
are fucking
disengage
all
because
best
it'll
friends.
give
There's
away
no
too much
way.
audio. Pollo and Peterbot may not necessarily know exactly where he's at, but he knows he's in that mess of a building somewhere. So as long as they stay persistent in trying to find him, they will figure out where he's at. Getting the elimination might be a different story because we do have a second team also in the distance.
Is
What
that
are the
you?
odds they just break the
Peter and Pollo
entire
are
base
just
of
sitting
this
there
build?
like, Uncle
drop
Fries,
everything,
where
because
you
that is
at?
how
Come here.
committed Peterbot and Pollo are looking at the given time here. Then you have Dash and Noxie down low. Again, another bubble team that is looking for a qual spot. But Peterbot and Pollo are fighting for first right now. If they can take that Muzz and Rise, that runway starts to open up for them. Otherwise, they could just be letting this plane take off. See it though. No, Rise gets spotted out. What they thought
You're
was
fucking
true is,
donezo,
and that means
bud.
Rise is
You're
here. They
fucking
find
donezo,
Muzz
bud.
and Rise.
Peterbot and
2 quick
Pollo, this is
eliminations
what they
now.
do. Hunt down
And
first
what
fucking
are
place. We're gonna
Peterbot
go
and
and try
Pollo
find
going to
second.
do with this
Find second
opportunity
now.
is the only opening question now.
Yeah, right there was the biggest obstacle to overcome. Muzz
Wait,
and
who
Rise
is
over
second,
second
isn't
place.
it?
Monster had a
Acorn and Bolts?
58
Yeah, oh
point lead.
my.
Over Peterbot and Pollo, a 93-point lead. So just them going down here simply just isn't enough to overthrow a team like Muzz and Rise, especially considering, you know, everybody down below them on the leaderboard has had instances, not only today, but throughout the weekend, that mistakes can and will happen at certain points in time.
really,
So
dude.
other teams still need
What
to
is
have
he
that
doing?
solid performance
You
here, just like
getting in
Acorn
trouble,
Bolts. They
cuzzo?
have picked up the tempo here. They have been playing
Better not
phenomenally
be.
well as a full duo as opposed to separate solo clutches. So again, this one, when it comes to the NA FNCS, has to be so exciting no matter who you're a fan of.
Or exhausting if you see your favorite teams get so close and they get pulled back into the water. That's what we're seeing with Muzz and Rise, who have now been parked on ice with their 60-point lead. A 60-point lead for y'all watching at home. If you've never really watched how close a tournament competition might
What
be,
time
you
was
might
it at
feel like you're
yesterday?
so far ahead, 514 points versus everyone else in the 400 range. But that is only a good game. A good game separates them. But with 3 games left, this and 2 more, it's going to be a super close competition now moving forwards.
Oh, you said today, not.
Reed and Cooper
Oh,
trying to
3
set
to
up the
5?
rotation in the backside
Oh yeah,
of
no, I was
Wonky Land.
passed out then.
They almost looked to cut back inside, but that's the same thing that kind of catches them out of position. Veno Ager's doing a good amount of damage on Reed, not necessarily taking too much damage back as they continue to rotate
Yeah,
out. And this
passed
is the thing,
out
little
right
victories,
before
Veno
the
and Agers, a little bit of
tournament
damage
started
here, a little
again
bit of
because
damage
my
there,
head was hurting,
continuously
and then I
stay above
took
the damage
some
threshold, but they still have to
medicine
be careful.
before
Aiden
the
and Clixie on
shit
the
start,
outskirts
cause
of
yeah,
Wonky Land as well can disrupt
it was
everything they
just
have
worse.
going
I
on.
thought me taking a little nappy poo was gonna help it.
Yamzo and Josh.
After
They're
this, I'm
not
gonna
trying to do
eat,
anything risky here, playing
freaking
this
take a shower, and then
massive base. Yamzo at the
got the
bottom side to see if
motherfucking
anyone
session tonight.
ends up coming up and out.
Hell
Just try to look
to
for
the
fish
fuck
for some
yeah.
tags. And in the end, they are slowly creeping their way up.
By the
staying
way, if you're not
relatively
voting
consistent and honestly starting
Bat
to pull
Chicken for
ahead.
president,
Get closer as they get
the
closer
fuck
and
are you
closer to the
doing
top
with your
5.
life? Vote Bat Chicken for president.
Yeah, not
Press the
necessarily
button.
safe yet. They're inside of the bubble for that global
I'm gonna press my
championship spot.
button.
But again,
Oh,
37 points
Mr.
is all team
Scrapper.
like golden. I would say
Is
golden
that
and ozone,
so?
but they already have it secured. So they actually have a decent gap over the competition. Outside of Clicks and Rapid, the next team they do have to
I
worry
was
about
clicked the
is
wrong
Bugha and
button. All I
Brace.
seen was
See, the zone
president.
continues to pull towards the southeastern part of the map, over towards the Shaken Sanctuary. So again, coming into today, Curve and Higgs had the most distance traveled on the map by far, and I think that's going to continue to be the case here, all the way from Lifty Lodge. And you can see there's one of the few teams that cannot play into that heal-off win condition because of the amount of storm they actually tanking.
Yeah, unless you get an incredible elim along the way, which refreshes you, it's so
what a
unlikely
spike,
they're able to
dude.
do
I
that
just
towards the
hit
end game.
700
Well,
ping.
what was working for Breeds and Bugha seemed to continue to be going that way. They still have a little bit of
It's
damage
just
over the
going
storage
crazy
line that
right
they
now.
need.
I'm at
And then,
1,000
of
ping.
course,
What
they're
the
sitting
fuck,
on a
dude?
multitude of extra heals here with the
Now I'm
vending
back down to
machine in sight.
50.
And the zone's
60,
kind of on their side, so this is a
100,
pretty
170,
favorable
200.
game 10 for them.
And you can kind
What
of
is
see
going
why
on, dude?
we're getting 4th place after 4th place after 4th place to start the day today. And honestly, this is something that we've seen Bugha do, even qualifying for the last global championship.
Wait a
It came
minute,
down to
is
the
it
last
a-
game, but it was consistent.
This is gonna be a click zone.
That really kind of helped pull him through as Clicks Rapid trying to get another elimination here. It's 20 caught out
Let's
by
fucking go, dude.
himself. Chimp already out. So even though that's their second elimination
Oh
of the game, it's
yeah,
8 points,
Mr.
straight eliminations alone.
Scrapper.
Yeah, I was really curious as to why they would have taken that fight, but clearly they had a massive advantage. Clicks and Rapid had plenty of damage going into that. It's not like they needed any surge or had surge issues. That just surely sets them up even further away from having those problems. And then they pulled a zone, so now they're sitting on zone, max material, extra heals to work with. This is actually very good for Clicks and Rapid. Game 10 seems to be put in the bag.
Not only them, but Liam and Jace, Acorn Bolts, maybe Madden and Chance as well. And kind of they're on the edge of the zone, so they're going to be able to look towards the side and continue to kind of hurt anybody's chances as they make their way in. Rich hold
Poyo,
hold, not too
Peter,
far away from Peterbot and
Nuh-uh.
Poyo. Not only in game, but on the
They're
leaderboard
right
as
next
well.
to
Third and
third
fourth
place,
staring
dude.
each other down before Webster and Cryptid make their appearance, gain the attention just a little bit. Any damage is better than no damage. Keep progressing in this game, but it's a far
This
pull for
is
everybody
about to be
involved.
die up fucking
How
Balakar,
incredible would
dude.
it be if Peterbot
Oh,
clash against
fuck.
second and third on the standings, you know? Either way, though, we won't get to see that here. Now we get to see Kayan be the first to fall here as they get the big elimination and a refresh there. That's Siphon, that's extra material, and plenty more to take for the road here. He thought twice about the chug, hoping that it was going to be full. Instead, they're going to use it.
Just see how they rotate on out, because everybody else already quick to the punch to go ahead and rotate to a better position. Veno and Agers as well. Kind of built their base on the line and kind of using that point of view as their advantage. Already getting some good damage onto one. Now looking over at Okus and Zonda, getting damage onto them as well. And the zone is hurting right now. 2 tick per, and it's going to quickly move into 05. So they are literally on a less than 10-second clock to try to make their way in. And even when they finally do, they're still in the line of sight of Veno and Agers.
Good pressure coming out from them. Even now, Agers, Veno thinking about chopping down those builds there. I'm just going to go ahead and break the foundation out. There's no way this team dips back into the storm there either, so there they see the reinforce. Just continuing to give them something to think about.
Oh.
No, wait, Veno went into the storm with the side angle. Veno is the lurkiest player on the NA region at the moment. I don't care what anyone says. He just plays outside the box. This is why he's so successful.
This is why he's contending right now. He's a Major 1 champion coming back from a 100-point deficit. Bolts does go down, though. And you can see throughout the course of these last couple of zones, it's been Storm Surge that's been ailing Peterbot and Poyo again, eventually leading to Poyo's downfall. Even though they're above the damage threshold, you can see that the position that it put them in. Multiple teams from the backside of zone were shooting at to Poyo. Now they're putting their focus onto Peterbot, just trying not to let ease up on any of this pressure. And if you look at the loadout, one shockwave, one smoke, Mini's left in the tank, so he's really down to almost nothing.
I was just saying, how ironic that Poyo just gives Bolts a bit of his own medicine. The man who normally destroys players as he likes to fly by. gets taken out, but in the end, Boyo doesn't get to celebrate in the victory. Peter Brout by himself. You've already saw the stats time and time again, showcasing how Boyo has been the one leading with solo clutch points, but Peter has now had his second opportunity here to show us that he can do it as well. First, though, has to kind of handle the fight here. Takes down Encrypted. It's going to be a very welcomed Siphon. There goes the first. Can he get the second? It's Acorn in the storm here.
Yep.
Acorn was able to get one of them as well. Siphon finally turning off, but keeping him relatively healthy. Peterbot's gonna go down. The Mythic War forced again from Acorn. They made an effort. They took down Muzz and Rise, but eventually they fall, so all they did was open up the door for everybody else. Bugha, Active Surge, Braid's already down 148 below the damage threat. And by the time he's done healing here, he'll have no extra shields or HP to regain.
Well, if you're Muzz and you're Rise, you're thinking with Acorn in bolts, or really just Acorn standing right now, if they fall early, this is perfect. That means the lead remains pretty heavily. It's not what we thought we were going to see, but it's what seems to be unfolding now. Bugha trying to fight Victor V and Queasy there on the rotate. That's going to be a tough fight. 22 below, though. Great tags there to keep him alive, but no. The update comes through. He still has more to worry about, and he's already out of heals.
Yeah, just when it looked like he was going to get above that damage threshold, we move from the 6th to the 7th zone. He falls back down below. He is still landing shot after shot, and the blessing is it's not Active Surge just yet. One tick will take him down. He's only 36 below, but again, the active lobby is tossing, turning that threshold all around. This is his last moment right here. 44 above. He sees Queasy in his line of sights, and even he's running out of builds.
He thought about it. He almost caught Queasy there with the lurk play, and he's 44 above somehow, but no, he gets spotted out. It's by visuals there in the distance, and finally we see Queasy and Victor V make an end game healthily, and just like that, they're the ones on top, so look out for that from them. Meanwhile, Curve and BATMANBUGHA trying to make the comeback now from the low ground. They've had some difficult kind of stoppages happen, making it far into the games, but this seems to be the best we've seen them shaped up. Although BATMANBUGHA, actually, now that I look at it, he's only down to 4 builds. So, Jacob, they're going to be crashing in soon.
Yeah, they're going to need an elimination. No matter how they find it, they just know they need it. It's Cold and Ritual. They find at least one. A whole nother team. Multiple teams just trying to go ahead and burn through those materials. Get inside of the box. Victor V Queasy again on that high ground. Going into this game, Monster, 245 points for Victor V and Queasy. They need 100 points, a gap to close throughout these next 2 games. And being on high ground, this could be the position to do it in.
It's kind of crazy, though. Cole just fell when they had the chance to actually overtake first place in this game. Now they have to clutch up. You see Acorn earning points, by the way, still making the most of the opportunity he's been gifted. And then you have the Yamzo, Josh, slowly, surely earning Elim after Elim. They're now at 4 in a top 19 and counting.
Still anybody's game as they're trying to control that whole low ground. You can kind of see it going up that hill just a little bit. It's not a large mountain, but it definitely requires just a little bit of planning. That's why you see proactivity coming from some of those duos, quickly shockwaving up to that elevation, not necessarily to the front side of the zone, but Ritual here, you talk about a chance to take first place here along with Acorn. Reed still battling for a top 10 spot. Veno is trying to keep themselves attacked inside of the top 10. There is just so much going on in this end game.
Yeah, Reed and Cooper coming into this, we're in 17th place as well, but look at Veno go. He actually shuts that dream down and takes down Reed. Meanwhile, high ground, visuals. He already took down Bugha. Now they're trying to dethrone Queasy and Victor V. This is Queasy and Victor V's chance to get back in the running here for a qualification spot.
That's visuals and threats trying to go ahead and make that play, take the high ground. It's one of the best ways to go ahead and jump up that leaderboard is put yourself in the driver's seat. Veno still lurking back. Decent amount of materials, which is building and opening up, giving himself some extra space. Queasy is down, but it's not without a fight. Victor V will not be denied. He gets back-to-back eliminations here. A huge 8-point jump by him, by himself, and he remains on top of the throne.
And that's how you get yourself into the top 10 as well. Meanwhile, look at all the solos still standing here. Victor finds another one as he takes down Josh, and then Ritual just trying to rat his way through the builds. Meanwhile, Veno looks up to high ground. He recognizes just a single player. He finds a shot. Victor's on 1 HP. Veno looks for him, loses up, but in the end, he gets the placement, and the damage goes through. And now it's all up to Veno, but Veno's out of material. He sees Ozone, and this is looking like a solo clash up here.
Yeah, big chunk of fall damage, but sometimes there's no other option. Down below, Sharkman and Yuz out of nowhere, getting that knock onto Fanayan. Revenge for earlier on in the tournament, but Moneymaker left by himself. Shockwaving up. This is all solos left alive here. Top 4 situation. Moneymaker goes up and over that one into the house to try to buy himself time to get these heals off. Our final 4, and Sharkman is one of them.
Incredible effort, by the way, from Moneymaker to make it this far. But what more can you ask for from him? Sharkman and Yuz are trying to do it. Sharkman is the healthiest. Moneymaker takes down Ozone there for the Siphon. Gives him a little bit of builds to work with. He's got a shield as well. This can still go either way.
Moneymaker needs this to stay in contention. It's a huge pick-me-up game, but Sharkman with a little bit of advantage. 150 on the Chug, and it's not going to matter. Moneymaker and Fanayan from EU, they invest everything for one of those global championship spots, and with a win monster, they are getting closer and closer.
And they did that off the new drop spot. They landed near Bugha to try to just see what their competition was looking like. And they managed to pull a win from a completely new drop spot here. Zeke, game number 10 continues to keep us on our toes.
Oh, MDF, it keeps changing. Our top teams keep getting eliminated. This is going to be so close going into that final game. Wow. Massive props, Moneymaker as a solo. In a game full of solos in the final few moments. What's super interesting is we actually had a game earlier where they kind of like almost had the opportunity to get a victory royale. They ended up getting a second. Now to come back to get the victory royale. Like our caster said, they invested so much to come here, right? To try and make it through 2 globals through NA to see what this playground had to offer. Kelly, a victory royale in finals is still a victory royale. Sorry, EU, our apologies, sir.
I mean, what a whiplash of performances we are seeing from Moneymaker and Fanayan. As soon as I feel like they have fallen off and NA is going to come out on top, that is when they shine the brightest. Literally, the last game that they played, they got 42nd place with 2 eliminations, going down really early. But they've changed up their game plan. They changed up where they're landing and instead went for more of this passive low ground play style, allowing them to kind of just make sure that they were alive, making sure where everyone else was. And then when it came down to the 1v1, Moneymaker, absolutely incredible play here to just patiently wait for Sharkman to make a misplay, this little edit into the elimination, and that is why they're going to be walking away with a victory royale.
Yep, well played from Moneymaker to go ahead and clutch that one up. I thought Sharkman had that one without a doubt, and you can kind of see the points that they were picking up there. Going to be crossing that 360 point mark. So obviously the big question will be for Moneymaker and Fanayan, who in day number 1 were consistently kind of in those qualification spots. Have they kind of returned back to that feat? I can't wait to see.
More on that because it's time to take a look at the leaderboard after this break. When we return, 2 games left to go. Get ready for that, fam. Get ready. I just got off the phone with 11-2K. I called him. I said, hey, man, listen, I know you saw it. Benign and Moneymaker got themselves a victory out in game number 10. How do you feel about that? He just laughed at me for several minutes. I eventually had to hang up because we had to come back onto the broadcast. So shout out to 11, I guess.
Sounds like 11.
Levin's probably like, dude, what? Moneymaker and Benign get themselves a victory out in game number 10. What's crazy, as we bring up this leaderboard, if you take a look at this, Vivid, can you maybe talk us through current placements right now? Because we see Moneymaker and Fanine move up 3 placements into the top 10, but what's qualification, Vivid?
Yeah, so obviously we got a couple of our teams that are already qualified for the globals. I mean, we got Acorn Bolts up there, we got Peter and Polio up there, Golden and Ozone have kind of entered the top 10, Kingling and Craze have entered the top 10. So yeah, right now, global qualification is 10th place, 363 points after Moneymaker and Fanine went ahead and picked up that victory royale. Now, I will give everybody at home a little bit of a sneak peek into 11th place is 356 points. That's actually Clicks and Rapid. So yeah, very, very close down there for the qualification spot. I mean, some of our teams now that kind of have to bounce back after that game. Obviously, Muzz and Rise kind of going down early and picking up 0 points gave the opportunity for Ritual and Cold to kind of close that gap once again. I mean, how many times have these guys kind of entered into the 2nd place spot? I need to find out whether or not Ritual and Cold have actually been in 1st place at any point during this grand finals, even though they've been behind 1st place like 2 times by a single point, and now they are only behind by just 16 points. That being said, though, Kelly, listen, I would love for Ritual and Cold to go ahead and win this thing, but they've got to earn it because so far today, they are just not playing like they were yesterday. I mean, their best game today was that one that just happened. They got 7th place with 3 eliminations, but outside of that, they haven't even broken into the top 10. So they've really got to find it here in the last 2 games.
It makes you wonder if it's necessarily what they're doing wrong or more so what everyone's doing differently from game number 1. Maybe they VOD reviewed. Maybe they actually looked towards Ritual and Cold to see what they were doing successfully. And we saw in that game, I believe it was actually Ritual that came down to a solo around zone 9. Unfortunately, he had no heals, so inevitably he was going to go down. But for the fact that they were able to solidify themselves in day number 1 so confidently is part of the reason why they are still in 2nd place. I mean, heck, they didn't do that well in that game, and they went up a placement spot, and that just goes to show how volatile our top leaderboard is. I mean, Peterbot and Pollo literally landed on Muzz and Rise and even got the eliminations down, I believe, onto Muzz there, and even they themselves went down on our leaderboard. So even with these plays, these minds going into these games, kind of trying to change things just a little bit, if you don't make the right play, everything is just going to go fall to shambles right now. We can just see how much our leaderboard is changing, Zeke. Anything can happen.
Just look at the left side of the screen, right? Look at the 1s going up, down. We've got a couple 2s moving up, 3s moving up, right? Like Kelly pointed out, we're now kind of like splitting hairs, right? Like a single decision could make or break a duo. We are 2 games left to go. And just think about the performances we saw out of just that last game. I'm thinking about like Veno, the solo clutch. He is moving on another level. Remember, he already won. He is your technical reigning champion from last major. And he comes in and he's pulling off stuff like solo clutches in the 11th hour of the tournament, fighting for these spots. I mean, Vivid, this is some prime Fortnite.
My gosh, you say how Aegis went down so fast right there. That was like blinking, you might have missed it. But yeah, Veno still kind of made this happen. But take a look at where he currently is on these highlights. I mean, he's like top 20 and he's forced to go ahead and break it down as a solo. His final placement in this game, he was able to pick up 5th place and 7 eliminations. So this was a big swing for them. And I gotta mention it, Kelly, because obviously Aegis and Veno have come into this weekend very, very well prepared, kind of adapting to their situation that's happening all spawn. But even in game number 10 here, they are still finding ways to adapt and play just a little bit better. Because we saw in the early game, they actually left Latte pretty early on. They didn't actually take that fight at the POI itself, but instead kind of rotated out and picked off one of the teams that's kind of looting in the surrounding area. So they're still making plays happen that are different time and time again.
And for Veno to kind of identify that Victor V was a little weak there, being able to kind of go on the low ground, but also identify the high ground is weak and then steal it for himself when it kind of came down to just all solos in that moment. A very smart play for him, and that's part of the reason why he was able to get so many placement points on that. But of course, we gotta talk about them. I mean, Iamzo and Josh right now, and I really do need to speak on Josh because this kid is just playing out of his mind right now.
So
and
true.
Iamzo, you gotta feel like on his side of just playing commanding, making sure the IGL in these mid and late games is working so well for them. But when it comes to the eliminations, Josh is the one that's just leading the pack right now.
Yeah, been playing so well are these guys. Again, kind of the biggest talking point for them was given the opportunity to be uncontested this weekend after, I think they were contested for the first 2 games of the tournament, but after which they have been uncontested. So 8 games to kind of work with in terms of being uncontested, and it's netting them this 6th place. You know, game number 10, they kind of bounced back after games 8 and 9 weren't so good. On the 9th place and 8 eliminations, they were able to go ahead and pick up here. But yeah, Josh Iamzo currently sitting in 6th place, and we've already mentioned it, Zeke, right? Top 10 as it currently stands is that global championship qualification spot. So sitting in 6th place with about a 60-point lead over 10th place. They just got to go ahead and stay consistent in these last 2 games.
Oh, man, but that's the problem, right, Vivid? Is there is 2 games left to go. We've seen crazy lurk plays. We've seen players decide to land up on different spots. We've seen Peter BATMANBUGHA decide I'm going to land Sinister and then immediately find Muzz and Rise. Anything can happen with 2 games left to go. And we can't forget solo clutch performances can impact these standings. Oh my gosh, guys. Fortnite fam, I'm getting word. I want to keep talking, but there is still so much more Fortnite to see with 2 games left to go. Let's start preparing ourselves for this competition. Casters, over to you.
Thank you, Zeke. Yeah, this is one of the most unpredictable NA championship runs we have ever seen here, Jacob.
Yeah, typically in a lobby like this, you have one team maybe lurking around, Peter BATMANBUGHA doing it, but now you have Peter BATMANBUGHA, you have Veno Agers, you have Moneymaker and For9, everybody pulling out every single trick. They're like magicians pulling a rabbit out of a hat. At the end of this day, I'm not sure who I think can actually hoist that trophy.
Yeah, and even with Muzz and Rise falling there, they maintain their lead. But more importantly, you have a lot of teams in the running now. So let's see how it plays out here for game number 11.
Two games left and a stacked leaderboard. Hopefully everybody at home is enjoying this as much as we are. And you can kind of see right now the bus path all the way towards the north for the most part, east to west. So a lot of those teams on the south side of the map might have a slower time getting to their drop.
Majors, Veno completely uncontested now. They've managed to push back not only Chance's team there, but Contrap's team as well, who landed just a little too close for their liking as they ended up keying them. I'm thinking Veno and Agers, though, are going to have a lot to think about now, right? That early damage, those big points they were earning and kind of solidifying early on. What strategy do they have when they have the drop open for themselves?
Yeah, especially with no ability to get early Storm Surge, you're going to have to lurk for it. But Moneymaker, by himself, Dozier and Ishu actually disengage out of that fight. I'm not sure if they know Moneymaker's a solo. No, they didn't get the memo. Moneymaker by himself getting that first down onto Ishu. For9 definitely closing the distance now, realizing they at least got what they came for. That's going to be the first of what could be many eliminations here.
Tough spot for Dozier and Ishu to be in, especially after finally starting to get a couple of points put on the leaderboards. Now, For9 and Moneymaker continue to do what they do best, and that is just float around the map and earn points. Think about this. They're slowly inching their way deeper and deeper into the tournament standings, further solidifying a potential qualification spot. Right now, the qual gap between them is about 3 different teams because there's a lot of qualified teams in between them. And it gets to basically Clix' duo and Victor V. But that's about 40 points. So if Vic and Queasy have another massive game like they had before, they'll jump up into the conversation. But if not, you'll have teams like Clix possibly overjump into the standings as well.
And typically throughout the course of a tournament, you know what I'm saying, that's 12 games. Maybe you can have 3 bad games, 4 if you're lucky. Well, at this stage of the game, there's no more time for bad games. You have to go ahead and execute every opportunity here, and that's what Veno Agers are doing. Nobody's contesting their drop, so they're immediately in back-to-back games going on the hunt. Contrap, Darcy were that team in the last game, and for a moment there, it was looking like Aoxy and JoJo fishy.
Like this from CDZ. Playing defense right now, but Peter BATMANBUGHA are on the hunt here, trying to earn themselves some early points, but more importantly, that extra damage that they've had seemingly trouble with, right? Like, for the most part, we haven't really seen them too far in ahead on the damage threshold. They've kind of
Fucking righty, we're back.
as mid game goes, and their comfort with the first storm surge warnings.
My bad, brother.
So
I
these are
was
some
eating
really
dinner.
great key eliminations here.
Yeah, especially for them to close the gap, and it's quite
What?
a gap for them to close. If they want first place, that is around 73 points for them to overcome. With that elimination,
Turn on
is
my
definitely going to be
TV.
under 70, but still a
What?
long journey for them with 2 games left to do it. And it does look like now that they already got those eliminations on Dozier and Ishu, you already know Kyan and his duo just kind of lurking around up above. They may not know exactly where they're positioned, which exact box, which side of it, but they know they are around, and they don't want to let that opportunity because they have a looting advantage over Moneymaker and Fnayan.
It's funny how they just feel very comfortable and content with waiting things out regardless of the situation. Probably one of the more patient duos we've seen this weekend. Clix and Rapid sticking to the true and trusty strategy. But we saw them get those diminishing returns before, right? Trying to do those fast rotates to fight the teams nearby, and since then, they haven't really tried to flex that strategy again.
Dude, I feel like that's what
Curious
I've
how
been
this
doing
one's gonna
lately.
play out
is
because they
sleeping on my
will
shoulder
need
rock.
to try to maintain that consistency, that pacing that they have set for themselves here today as they kind of fought their way back into the race. Meanwhile, Muzz and Rise probably on much more high alert here, right, Jacob?
Jelly!
Yeah, they definitely have to be. They're still the team to be in first place. Just because the gap closed doesn't mean, you know, anybody else is going to try to make a run for it. You know, Josh, Niamzo, Higgs, and Curve, who are a little bit further down that leaderboard and need them to have a relatively close to 0-point game if they want to take that first place spot. But we know just the implications, and when a leaderboard that is actually this stacked, sometimes you don't want to take the risk because you want to go ahead and qualify to globals.
Well, now we have Cold and Ritual really close to Acorn and Bolts, in between Iamzo and Josh, right next to Muzz and Rise. What is this dangerous
That's a good question.
triage unfolding here? This is kind of interesting, to say the least.
Still relatively early, so you know a lot of these teams will continue to rotate.
Only because
throughout
I
the
know
course
you'll
of the
enjoy
game.
it.
But now that they're positioned here,
go play
rotating out
Rivals,
well,
brother.
won't come without its own risk, whether you're shockwading from distance or just trying to get the effect and run out. Acorn Bolts are there, but Muzz and Rise will definitely have that bird's eye view to see everything. Is BATMANBUGHA and Higgs, aka I should say Higgs and Curve,
The game
coming
just
off
fucking
early
hurts
from
my
Lifty.
brain, I'm not
Most of
even
the
gonna
games that
lie.
we've seen throughout the weekend, they've stayed up there at Lifty Lodge. They have the extra med kits, they have the gold, they have the mending machine, but this is one of the first games that we've actually at least seen on stream that they are rotating early outside of where they normally do.
Yeah, I was looking at their positioning here, and I was thinking the same thing
About
to myself.
that.
Like, wait, this looks a lot different than any other positioning we've seen from them this early into the game. Seems like it's working out well. They've targeted Dash.
Exactly.
Dash and Noxy,
About
who,
that.
by the way, if it wasn't for them falling early 2 games ago, they would be inside the top 10. They were starting to get really, really close. They're one of the few teams that are on the bubble as well. Can't count out anyone. It's we're one good game away from.
Yeah, no, I felt
really
it. What
propelling
I felt.
teams
I feel
into
you,
the race
brother.
once again. Josh Yam's on the other side though, just north of Sinister Strip.
You know, even
Well,
though they're actually
chat,
playing
I guess the only
pretty
thing I
good,
gotta do
decently
after
consistent.
stream
You know,
now
they
is just
they
take
have
a
a
shower.
victory royale with 11
I already ate.
eliminations. But outside of that, they haven't really had any phenomenal pop-off performances. Something, you know, you could tell your parents about after a good day. You know, 9th place, 14th, 28th, 15th, and then obviously that first place. I think the thing that's kind of keeping them in contention is their ability to get eliminations. And some of these teams are, you know, going to rely on consistent placements, picking up eliminations as they naturally come throughout the course of the
Oh,
game.
hit
And
the
others,
bend here.
especially with the leaderboard this close, are going to make some attempts here to try to get 1 elimination here, 2 eliminations
Yeah,
there, and try to
I
add up
already
those
hit
points
it.
over time.
Go,
Right, the Elims
go,
are
Mr.
definitely
Scrapper,
consistent,
go,
but
go,
we call that
go,
the placement
Mr.
points
Scrapper,
far
go.
and few between. We'll just have to see them tighten that up here in these final 2 rounds to really remain in for their spot to globals. Meanwhile, all of these very, very legitimate teams that could be your next champions are just sitting still, kind of waiting this one out. This is where the tension starts to build in the mid game. Meanwhile, Veno and Agers, no strangers to the storm, of course. This time uncontested though, right? So we haven't seen the warning just yet. We haven't really seen what kind of pressures they're gonna have to deal with now that they're uncontested, but that's a completely different scenario than we've had from them all weekend long.
Gotta be careful if rotating through those porters. The amount of times I've seen people get sidelined, surprised, especially since you don't know what's lying on the other end. Clicks and Rapid, we join in them versus Curly and Tyler. It's gonna be a moment for Clicks and Rapid. It's relatively safely for the most part. Try to go ahead and maximize their surge. Not too many teams close by looking in the distance just yet. But as soon as they gain that attention, that's when the risk factor will definitely increase. But you can see Rapid, this tempo is slowing down, trying to pick through the cone, getting information, but it's Peterbot and Poyo just looking all around. They're probably the highest elevated on the map as of now, so they definitely have that bird's eye view.
Yeah, they can see all the action taking place all around them. Meanwhile, Veno, though, you said you gotta be careful taking these porta potties. There was a team on the other side, go figure, just waiting to see what was gonna go down. And that's unfortunate.
I would really expect, you know, Veno to kind of assess the risk factor in a situation like that. That's a mistake I don't necessarily see someone of his caliber make very often. As you jump on board, Peterbot Poyo, that 1 elimination, building the confidence here for this game. We know we saw Peterbot land a couple tags in the distance onto that Clicks Rapid fight
Mr.
against
Scrapper.
Curly and Tyler. So again, it's just all progression, but it's also the same reason why they did go down in 28th place. They had 5 eliminations, and you'd think they'd be well above Surge, but it's just taking too much
Hell
damage
yeah,
in
and I'm
some
over
of those
here
fights.
making
They were kind of
millions.
down below the damage threshold and eventually put into a bad spot.
Aoxy, Jojo, Fishy recognizing the danger. They double back to Latte Landing, probably to check the reboot van. Definitely hit the mending machine on the way there. And they have all the information of who and where
Sorry, I had a
Agers
Tesla moment.
is. And Agers
Oh, yeah,
has to
dude.
be thinking, man, just can't get enough of this team. There's been a few times where they got the best of Aoxy and Jojo, but I'm trying to think to myself, what's in it for Aoxy and Jojo right now? They've gotten the damage, they got the initial elim. Yeah, they're just a long way from the qual spot, so they're gonna need a really big game. We'll see if this is worth waiting around for. Agers clearly thinks it's definitely not worth the risk taking the fight, so he's already gone.
Yeah, especially since kind of the unpredictable factor of a team like Aoxy
I want to
and
watch
Jojo
the new
Fishy,
Spider-Man
can
movie
expect them
so
to
bad,
rotate
dude.
on out.
You
So
don't
don't
even
expect them to be there in
understand.
the first place. My biggest hint was maybe they saw Veno
I
go
keep,
down the feed.
dude,
knowing
no,
that they're
because the fucked up
uncontested,
part is
safest
about
place for
this
them to
day and
venture back
age,
to.
dude, is
Either
you
way,
have so
Moneymaker
many
for
assholes
9,
just
2
fucking
eliminations off
posting
that
like
off spawn. You can see they're trying
spoilers
to
and
qualify
shit
for the
already
first
on the
land since
internet, and I'm just like,
2023
bruh.
Global Championship, another duo competition. So we're always talking about like longevity between
I'd like
a
to
lot of
watch the
teams
movie
and
first
whether
type
it's
shit.
trios or duos. I almost got to imagine this has to be one of the longer standing duos that we do have in Fortnite.
Yeah, most definitely. And you got to respect a team that even if they have a rough year, they
Play
dug
some
it out.
quick matches,
you know what I'm
beat
saying,
some
get
ass
back to
with
the grind
Spider-Man, he
and
said.
make drastic moves like moving to NA to take a qual spot away. And they're so close right now. So definitely commendable, respectable, and they're putting up the numbers. They've never looked better.
Just a quick peek. Muzz and Rise, a very good zone for them. This is very familiar, reminiscent of some of those zones earlier on. Even the Victory Royale that they did have, it's all working one way or another in that same factor. Havoc, Cat Awesomer on the side. You can kind of see they're both playing for that mending machine. That Moneymaker and Fnine kind of have a little bit more
Right.
priority over. So you almost got to wait for them to
Warrior.
rotate on out. unless you're ready to take that risk. But even
Yeah,
if
no,
they do,
I,
it's not
I've
just these two
seen
teams
the
here.
I've
You
seen
see
the
towards the
pictures
south about
and
3
whatnot
teams
for
there
the
around
new
Calamari trying to
Spider-Man
make their
suit,
way in.
dude,
And then one
and I
more
was
towards
like,
the north.
dude,
That's Skittles and Kai in there
beautiful.
towards the north side of the map. A team that they've already fought once towards the Chop Shop in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, for a second there, I was seeing how low their health was getting, but they're just really trying to maximize their time right now in the storm.
That's what I was gonna say too. It
Already
looks like
started
a
moving.
combination
Lot
of
teams
all
lurking
3
nearby, have a
Spider-Man's
beef there.
fucking
Another duo
suits.
in
So
the
like,
distance.
that shit just makes it
We get to
look
get
10
another
times
look at
better.
Vixen Rapid, who I believe we saw taking a bit of a scrappy fight, but didn't really go anywhere for them. Not really too much of a favorite of their material counts right there. Click's definitely looking a little light. The damage looking not too hot either. They put themselves in a pretty tough spot here at the bottom of the river. This could be a focal point for all the teams nearby.
Yeah, especially since those teams on the other side, they're a little bit more elevated. Marap's over there in the distance, Javi and Minished as well. And even though they're above the damage threshold here in this zone, if they don't get a single shot to connect, they will fall below in the next zone. So they got to be proactive. Acorn and Bolt's in that same type of pressure cooker, but they're 118 above. You know, they're looking for more and more of these opportunities. On the flip side, though, Agers does get Veno back, but you can see it was just a sacrifice. He's not going to return the favor. Rightfully so, he can't. This is going to go from a 2-tick zone to a 5-tick zone, and he is 200 below the damage threshold.
Already, so Agers got the pickup. Veno's now left to play by himself. You said it, they're way off the damage threshold needed.
You're right there.
What's
You
the
tell
play
me
here?
you
You
can't.
have a couple of teams in a distance. Aoxy was just taken out by Cooper and Reed, so JoJo's solo there. So you can
Oh, yeah,
tell
you
it's the
don't wanna-
same sort
nope.
of teams, right? Clashing back and forth
And you're
here.
getting hit by Surge. Yeah, no, never mind. I understand why you didn't hit the reboot.
This is a tough spot to be in right now.
Yeah, the main thing right now isn't necessarily that there's not too many targets because you see them right in front. It's the shockwave, the lack of it that I'm really worried about. He's trying to make a last dash, but he doesn't get it. Like you're saying, the storm surge,
Damn.
all of it working against Veno and Agers in this game.
Storm Surge.
5-tick came through. The damage.
Can we get a
started
hashtag
such a
fuck
rough spot
Storm
to be in.
Surge in the chat? Holy
Clicks
shit.
Rapid though find Tyler there with a massive elimination. Think about that. They were 80 damage above in position in one of the worst spots you could be in on that beach, but they moved quickly and find themselves now very much in the race here. Veno and Agers is down and out though. That's gonna put them
Scrapper
in
said, can
just
we
a
get
small,
a Scrapper
maybe
needs an assist
potentially
in the chat?
questionable situation for the consistency qual spot. They do have quite the lead though, right? Like as far as where they're at right now, 465 is a good spot to be in, but we have seen stranger things happen.
Yeah, roughly at the beginning edge, around 12 placement
And
lead.
Oreo,
Obviously,
what?
4
Ice cream?
eliminations, so definitely could go out the window at a moment's notice, especially the way these games have been going. Ritual and Cold, 300 plus damage above the threshold. Again, another one of these teams, they position themselves on the edge. We've seen this do this already today so far, and they just look back and they just try to put shots on all these teams that are just in shambles, just trying to make their way in. There goes another elimination. You said this yourself. That's the thing that makes this team so dangerous, is they don't greed for any of that loot. They just take what they can get and just keep it moving.
Now I want to start getting these updates with the likes of Peterbot and Boyo. How are they looking for this end game? Things are starting to line up for them, but they're only 70 above. This is going to be a big, big problem, and they know it too. Remember, things turn off around the 40-player mark, so several teams have to fall from here till then. Victor V and Queasy, we've kind of forgotten about them as things sort of got quiet. We started putting our focus in other places, right? The teams that are in for the win, and then you have them slowly inching their way up. Muzz and Rise are alive and kicking
First
right now.
title
No point
since
though,
chapter
Jacob,
2,
so they haven't
dude.
quite started to take off just yet, but we know it's the end game where they strike best.
Especially since they're free and clear. They got their early game plan down packed. They got themselves a cushion for Surge.
Dude, it's
12
chapter
players need to go
7
down.
now.
Even Ritual and Cold again, sticking to the backside of the zone. Just landing a massive amount of damage and eventually getting the knock onto Curve. He does land on the other side, so Higgs does have one opportunity to try and get that revive. They're over 500 damage above the threshold. You can see they have more than enough heals to get Curve up to tip-top shape, so they have definitely dodged one right there.
That's a crazy dodge, by the way, because they're only in 7th place. Remember, the qual is 8 and below. Such a close spot to be in, but the pickup is good, so we can't come out just yet. Meanwhile, Buzz gets the worst type of lobby focus you can hope for. It's from the high ground teams and the low. I was going to say, I'm not sure elevating is going to work here, but it does at the end.
Really
he makes
broken.
the right decision. And now Surge is active, and he's actually below. This is so rough.
They're still looking off in their direction, probably seeing him peek, make a window, trying to get through. 7 seconds, 25 damage. 1 tick is all he could take, and right now it almost seems like he's admitting defeat, almost trying to not give up any of those points, and they actually go on over to Bugha and Braids that get the last shot, leading to that elimination. Javi and Aminish. We saw it was Victor V and Queasy at one point. They're all the way on the low ground towards the other side of the zone, so as it now, it's Javi and Aminish that are looking to take the high ground.
It's Clicks versus Higgs.
Still alive. Peterbot, Boyo still standing.
was.
Cold
Holy
and
shit.
Ritual still in this
That's
game
the
as well.
moment that I
And the
will call
problem is
Batman
now
Bugha
that
by
Buzz and Rise to
Higgs at
Sleep
that
will
moment.
surely
Like, holy
change
shit.
hands here. Taking a look at
He and
Peterbot,
Poyo
Boyo's
still
situation,
alive.
taking a look at
Cold and
Ritual's
Ritual still
situation. They're
alive.
about to shockwave their way into the new zone. They're already making rotates. High ground looking very much solidified. You saw as people were looking up, wasn't looking too good, but as we
plug my
jump
computer
around,
in.
Cold actually falls stands at HQ.
Yeah, with first place down, second place
Cold
down,
is
to be
down.
solo. That's where the point
He
gap
and
starts
Poyo
to
over here
open
trying to
up.
make
From
some
second to
plays,
third place, it's 20
trying
points, and
to
it
get
continues to
the
kind of spread
dub.
even more down below that on the leaderboard for Javi and Diminished. It's not necessarily global. It's
Clicks and
bragging
Rapid are
rights,
still
it's
alive
money,
as well.
It's a chance to make a
Hell
comeback
yeah,
on
hell
the
yeah.
ages, just
For
like Ritual
sure,
here.
Higgs and Curve are
16
still alive.
points down to start this game, and now he's feeling the pressure all around the lobby. Gets stuck in the tree for a short second. He's risking too much exposure there, trying to use that shockwave to fly over instead of through.
Yeah, definitely
I
like
think
this right
Bugha
here.
might
But they
be
have to
alive.
change layers. They have to play for a refresh. This is why they're forcing their way in. Boyo finds one. Someone's on his
Aw.
heels. It's actually Virgo. But he eases up the pressure, and Boyo gets away with being able to stay alive for a second.
Yes.
And talk about teams that need to change layers. Ritual jumps down as well. You can see him just scrambling here as he's already lost Cold. Trying to work his way through. Barely any mats here. Just a couple heals. He's going to have to go ahead and do what he can with this. But so many different teams in this end game here. This is going to start to condense the points up at the top.
Yeah, with this being the last 2 games, all these little moments matter. Every point really does make the difference, especially for Acorn and Bolt. 3rd place going into this game. They have a shot at first, just like any other. Peterbot and Poyo are trying to play for the high ground. They get overthrown once, but they replay it, return back up. Javi and Diminished are now on the back foot. Poyo is just running wild, but the spray is coming in from all directions. Finally, Peterbot shows up, alleviates that pressure, leads to the downfall of Diminished, but Poyo's
God.
also on the low ground as well.
He didn't see Javi. Javi was actually lurking in the storm there, but he misses the important shot, and he delivers the loot for Peterbot and Poyo. But now the low ground team start to take focus to them.
P and
Acorn
Poyo are
both
starting
see
to
what's
go
going on
stupid,
here.
or trying to go
Ozone
stupid
and
now.
Golden as well are lurking
Pork dump with
nearby,
thank you for the
and
lurk
there's a lot of
refresh.
teams here looking to set themselves up for a new high ground take. Bolt, Acorn trying to get their feet back into race here. They're at 4 eliminations, and still, look at them peeking for high ground.
You even got everything going down.
Clicks
for
is out
and
here
Rapid.
fragging
Global
out.
Spots, first place
Oh.
spots, top 5.
I see
There's
him in
so
the
much
feed.
up for grabs here in
He's
this
out here
game
getting
alone.
eliminations
And
too.
now Acorn and Bolts have the high ground. Peterbot all by himself, still trying
Poyo's
to find
already
his elimination.
dead.
He needs it on the
He's
crate
about
to
to
stay alive.
die.
And the siphon is just seconds too late. Peterbot will fall. We got Clicks and Rapid still up. Acorn and Bolts still
Where's
up.
Clicks
Liam
and Rapid?
Chase
There
as
they
well.
are.
Everybody else kind of
There they
full and intact
are.
with their teammate by their side.
The biggest mistake might be letting Clicks and Rapid actually
Come
get a
on,
little bit
boys,
of HP.
bring
Curve
it
here has a
home.
solo down below ground will become the siphon for 1. But no, Batmanbugha is still in the game. He's moving. He's
No!
He knocks
No
Clicks
fucking
there,
way!
but Rapid gets the finish. Now, here comes the switch out for the meds, for the heals.
Higgs
It's the
went-
only thing
Higgs
that he
died,
actually can do here to try to stay in the game.
but
Liam's still alive
managed
below
to
ground. Acorn
take
bolts
down
up top.
Clicks
It's all gonna
with
come
him.
down to actually how
Rapid still
plays this
alive,
out
solo
next.
clutching
Yeah, he's
for
gonna be
them
the
though.
disruptor. If he attacks
Holy
low, high
fucking
ground's
what
gonna
the
drop.
hell.
If he goes up, low ground's gonna try to make a play. There goes the first down. Bolts actually takes down Liam. Back
Bolts is
back
going
from
insane.
Bolts right
Come
now,
on,
trying to
Rapid.
save it, but Rapid
Bring it
is still healing
home.
up outside of the zone. It is gonna be a 1v1, but as soon as that med kit stops, it is over.
Damn.
Bolts and Acorn, game 11, when it matters most, come out with a victory royale.
And not only that,
Damn,
they're
that was a
definitely jumping their way
fucking
towards
moment,
that
dude.
first place
Higgs
spot.
took
Talk
Clicks
about
out.
taking advantage and staying consistent there. Zeke, game 11 is now over.
Fortnite fam, I need you to just track with me here for a moment. We're watching this game, and we're all just like, this is the craziest game we've ever seen. And then Vivid quietly, under his breath, just goes, Acorn Bolt's gonna win this game. Watch. I was like, what did he say? Like, there's no way. Vivid's being Vivid again. They win the game! They win the game! Acorn and Bolts get a victory royale in a situation, man. In a situation where Muzz and Rise were eliminated early. Viv, we're about to go into this last game. And this is gonna be the closest race I think we've ever seen.
Acorn and Bullets, listen, we kind of mentioned it coming into the day. Yes, they have been playing
Mind
so consistent.
mind control
The
does
one
the
thing
spider.
that they were missing on the leaderboard was a victory royale. And in game 11, they finally go ahead and secure their win. And you gotta imagine with how close the contention has
Acorn
been in
and
the top
Bolts
Acorn
are
and
in
Bolts
first
constantly finding
place.
themselves up there.
Ritual and
Finally
Cold
getting this
second,
win,
Muzz and
finally getting
Rise
the
third,
surgence
Pete and
of
Poyo
points is
fifth or
going to
fourth,
probably
Higgs
surge
Curve
them up
fifth,
into first place.
Aegis
And yeah, sure
Veno
enough, Kelly, we are going
sixth,
to be
Josh
set up
Yamso
for
or
a
seventh,
game 12
King
and
Craves
a
eighth,
masterclass, but it was just
Golden
perfection from Acorn
and
Bolts. I mean,
Ozone
high
are
grab
ninth,
for what
Clicks
feels
and
like the
Rapid
first
are
time out of these
10th.
guys.
We watched
Holy
all
shit.
day yesterday and then pretty much all day today where we would see Acorn and Bolts make it to the end game time and time again. But once we got down to the final 5 or 6 teams, they were usually a solo and then eventually they would go down. But this was the game of duos. We had 4 duos alive in the final moments, which I think is the most
This
we've had as far as
is
duos in a final end
the
game
game
go. And of course, that is when
where
Acorn and Bolts
it
shine the
all
best, being able to control high ground.
matters.
And yes, it did eventually come down to a 1v1, but Bolts is able
If
to pull
you
that
want
out
to
on top
win,
once again. Big shout
you
out
give
to
it
Acorn
your
and Bolts.
fucking
Better
all.
late than never for the victory royale.
Guys,
How many damn
I've
points
just
is
looked at
Pete
the-
and Poyo
Yeah, of course.
behind?
I've just looked at the leaderboard.
571,
You are
509.
not
What's
going
that
to
like?
believe this. Let's go ahead, bring up those leaderboards.
50,
After this break, I'm so
60
sorry.
something
I know,
points.
I know. Listen, we gotta go to this break. It's fine. You need to come back though. Okay, when
Pete and Poyo
It's gonna be
go
crazy.
land
We'll
on
see you.
Acorn and
We'll
Bolts,
see you
kill
in
them
just
off
3
spawn,
minutes, okay?
go and
Just
win the
hang
game.
tight.
Boom. Peter Bot's a 7-time champion. Nah, I'm just playing. It's gay, you said. Chat, this is starting to get a little bit irritating, dude. I knew there was something poking. I seen it in the camera. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to panic a bit. How is this? The game where it all matters. The game where someone's gonna get crowned champion.
Fortnite fam,
What the
welcome
fuck?
back
What
to the
happened to my
FNCS.
overlay shit?
This is a perfect time to be watching some Fortnite, okay? We're going into the final game.
Oh, this is
Number
bad
2, okay?
chicken
We're
is.
looking, fighting for Acts of Champions. You come out in first place. Prize money if you trade places and start to move up the leaderboard.
I don't
The
know.
higher you move, the higher more
I
more
can't
money you
even
make.
give an
We're
answer.
also
It's,
looking for one of 6 spots going to the global championship. Which
that's
we
just
knew
how
going into
crazy
that
it's
was
been.
basically if you could
I
be in
don't
the
know.
top 10.
I
because we already
want
had previously
4th
qualified
place to win it.
duos in the top 10.
I think they can do it.
So right now,
And the only way I
Clicks
think they can do
and
it is
Rapid
landing on first
are
place.
holding on to the one of those essentially the 6th and final spot of placement. Kelly, and then I look at the top 4, and all of these teams could very well in this final game look to fight for the number 1 spot.
Oh, well, Zeke, if you say number 1 spot, then I'm a
see.
little biased to talk about Peterbot
571,
and Poyo. You
4,
know, they
542,
yesterday ended the
520,
day off
509.
in the first spot, and I think a lot of us were expecting for them to continue that snowball today, but a few hitches in their plan, maybe a few early eliminations. However, in this game, we finally start to see them pick things back up, start to show that they are here to win. They've already qualified. They don't need to worry about the global championships, but it is Peterbot and Poyo. If anyone is fighting for first place, if anyone is ignoring the qualification spots, ignoring the money, it is this duo right here.
The crazy thing about Peterbot and Poyo's performance so far across these 11 games, and this is going to be crazy to say, I can't believe I'm about to say it. They have yet to get a double digit elimination game. Yeah, they don't even have a single game with 10 plus eliminations.
Oh,
They're like
we're talking
for
about
that, and
we're
so
talking
far it has not
about the
happened. What better way for
bad
Peterbot and Poyo
moments
to
of
make
Peter
a
and
comeback
Poyo.
here, down an incredible amount of points to finally pull out one of those
What?
games. Keep a close eye on those guys. But for some of our other contenders towards the top of the leaderboard, like Ritual and Cold, obviously they are a lot closer to that number 1 spot as they have been throughout the entirety of this competition. I kind of called for it going into game number 11. We still have yet to see what feels like a good Ritual and Cold-esque game for them here in day number 2. I mean, their best placement has been 7th place here on day number 2. They really need to break into at least that top 5 to give Acorn and Bolt a run for their money.
We saw yesterday at the end of the day, they got 2 back-to-back second places. We know that they have this in them. And again, you're talking about, well, what a beautiful moment for Peterbot and Poyo to get the final win, but also for Cold and Ritual to finally get a victory royale. Zeke, there's too many storylines. There's too many players that we need to talk about right now. We have so many players that are on the edge of qualification that have already made it into the global championships. Kingling and Golden now being in 8th and 9th place just adds so many more question marks. And because Clicks and Rapid are in 10th, they're in the bubble, but Shadow and Virgo are on the 11th place who have already qualified. So now it's literally up to Moneymaker and F9 or Victor V and Queasy. It's literally up to EU to stop Clicks and Rapid from going to the global championships.
Right.
What is happening?
Why does it always happen like this, guys? Why does it?
I mean, NA.
That's NA, right?
NA, man. Yeah, they're just so good. But this is great for Clicks and Rapid. I mean, we kind of came into these grand finals. We kept talking about how Clicks is feeling confident. And listen, day number 1, without a doubt, was rough for these guys. But they have figured something out here in day number 2. I want everybody to kind of remember this number, 440 points. I mean, listen, Clicks and Rapid, right now, as it currently stands, they are in that global qualification range. But take a look at these standings, because if you look up just a couple of placements on the leaderboard, like let's go ahead and shoot for 5th here, right? Higgs and Curve, 47 points actually separate 10th and 5th place right now. Now, obviously, Clicks and Rapid, you know, on their mind right now is qualifying the globals, but they could really
And that's
prove
a
something
storyline
here in this grand final.
between
So I do want to go
5th
ahead and
place
mention that
and
page
10th
number 2
place.
that Kelly was kind of talking about.
Clicks
We can kind of
and
get a
Higgs.
visual on this, because 440
There
points,
was a
right? That
time,
is kind of that
ladies and gentlemen, we
qualification
all thought they were
range.
gonna
Take a look
win
at it. Kelly mentioned that
FNCS.
Shadow and Virgo already qualified
They
for
had an
globals, right? They can't
unconned,
technically knock anybody out.
nobody
Moneymaker and
contesting
F9
them
looking for that
fucking
spot.
chicken
Victor
land.
V and Queasy looking for that spot. But then we
Somehow
look
they
at
fucking
where you
got
get
10th
I mean, they're
place
so far
don't
behind.
make
Booga and
sense.
Braids, they're so far behind. I think those guys are just too far away from that 440 point
Then
threshold. So
Summit
the
Land,
question is, guys,
47th
Victor V and
place.
Queasy,
Then they
Moneymaker
split.
and F9, can they have a game that is good enough to
Now
break
here
that
we are.
440 point threshold, assuming that Clicks and Rapid are
I
just
need to
gonna
go
get 0
back and
points,
get
which
that
you can
clip of
probably
me
guarantee is not
reacting
gonna
to
happen.
frickin' Higgs taking
This is
Clicks
so
down.
crazy.
That
This is
the fact that I
absolutely
noticed
insane on
it.
NA right now. We are about to enter the final game. Fortnite fam, follow along. Like Vivid said, 440 is that, bro. Just keep thinking about that number. Time you tune into Clicks and Rapid, think about that number. Anytime you see someone like be eliminated and have to solo clutch, they're fighting for their lives. This is it. If someone goes down, they cannot get any more
Whoa,
points.
bud.
The last
Seriously?
time in major
Really?
number 2. Casters,
Actually,
over to you.
This is truly it, Monster. The last go around, the last game
That
of the
response is
day,
crazy.
and the last hope
Oh,
anybody has
there's
to
the
either
response, I
win the
guess.
tournament, qualify for the global championship, or just win a buttload of that money.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of everything as well along the way.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm looking at the qualification requirements to globals. Clicks and Rapid are holding that thin line, and then the race for top. I mean, we are surely in for a treat here soon.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm looking at Moneymaker and F9. These are the guys that have been lurking around so many different POIs. They've been getting key eliminations, keeping them in the race. With the last game of the day ready, Moneymaker and F9, what do you got?
nuh-uh.
Well, game 12 is here. What a grand finals
Not
weekend
allowed.
it has
Denied.
been. Looking at how things have played out, if you are Moneymaker and F9 and you're thinking about the commitment you have made to travel to NA, how much does qualifying to globals means to you? If it's everything you're here to do, well, you have to contest Clicks and Rapid, because if they get any further away from you, it's going to be
Don't
mathematically
say
impossible
to test Clicks
for
and
you to close
Rapid,
that
bro.
gap. So
I want
that
them
is
to
the question.
qualify to
And on the
globals
other
at
side,
least. There's
you
no
have,
way
of
they're
course, the
winning at
race
least.
for first place. Acorn and Bolts have put the biggest target on their back, as they are now at 570 and in the lead.
Nope, just a huge gap to overcome, but no, Moneymaker for Nyan. Not necessarily landed on Clicks and Rapids. Same strategy that they had in that last game over towards Golden Grove. They didn't necessarily lurk over to take the fight. They went elsewhere, kind of what they're doing now, but they have way more attention in this game that they did have in that last one. Bugha and Braids trying to push them away from Golden Grove.
Yeah, I like that play from Bugha and Braids. Obviously, there's a lot riding on the lines for them, but now Quick and Avari,
Nicotine.
you know, they've kind of had their own little bits of back and forth with F9 and Moneymaker.
I think I know which
Moneymaker
one you're
getting
talking
a little
about.
piece of their
They
own
had-
medicine
Oh,
there.
I forgot what it-
Unfortunately,
maybe-
now
I
getting
think they had
collapsed
the
on
2
between
or
the two
3
teams,
grand
and everyone
ones.
knows exactly what duo that was. Bugha Braids happy
I was
with their
told to
initial
get it,
loadout
and
and
I
the
was like, I'll
spoils
pass.
of war that they earned from this, and they're actually going to keep pushing.
I mean, we ever talk about, you know, it's just much harder, improbable for it happening, but Bugha and Braids, it's going to need a miracle.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2.
That was fucking
But maybe the 20,
garbage.
30 eliminations, one of those crash out games that we do see right now. They already have 2 eliminations here.
Hold
and a
on,
couple more
hold
teams
on,
in the
Quinn, I
distance
got
that they
you.
continue this streak on.
Well, this is really
Guarantee I
interesting.
can
If they
find a
start
picture.
off hot like that and can pick up about 6 or so eliminations, you know, we were trying to think about what would it take. You need to effectively win the game and just ball out on the lobby. It's a very difficult thing to do, but we have seen it.
Over 20 eliminations. I don't know the exact number, but I just did a little bit of quick math. Over 20 eliminations with a victory for Bugha and Braids. It's definitely possible,
bruh.
but it's not just Moneymaker and F9 that they have to take down. It's Clicks and Rapid. It's Josh Iyamzo. It's those players above them inside of that bubble that also need a spot. He actually picks up
Okay,
another
now go to
elimination
images.
onto Alongo. Braids does go
Motherfucker.
down, so they're actually going to go for a double
Where the
res
hell
on
is
either
it?
side. But again, they're just keeping the train rolling.
I
They're
know I'm
giving
not
themselves
tweaking
a
it.
chance. It might be a hard one, but they are
No,
up for
the
fight.
freaking
At the end of the day,
Geek
this is
Bar,
what
they
I can
Geek
respect.
Bar
This
has
is
carts, but
what I think the
disposable
entire
shit.
community can most definitely respect. You put it all on the line and you play for that win. Take a look at this. Peterbot, though, of course, King, whatever he can down right now, this is going to be gunning down
I
Red
see
Surf here. Very nice pickup for him.
THCX, Geek
Good set of eliminations.
THCX.
Web's
Is
already
that what you're
fought
talking
for
about?
him. And of course, the
Okay.
extra damage as well.
I was gonna say,
The new team's
I
pushing
thought
in.
it
It's
said
actually
geek
Curly's
bar on it, not
He's
fucking.
doing a good job of pushing Peterbot back, taking away those piece control, forcing him into a whole nother box, expending a lot of their materials. They expected to jump on one team, but I'm not sure how crowded they expected this to actually be, because there's another player up towards the north that's staring down.
I'm just
maybe
a
even trying to
Fortnite
get
player
damage.
that
Curly
smokes
directly
weed.
knocking on the wall. Encrypted is there as well. That's Webster's duo still up in this game for the two initially fighting it out. Tyler gets third party just a little bit, but it's not slowing him down because he's landing an immense amount of damage on the Pete.
Scrapper.
Peterbot recognizing
Almost all
this is a
athletes.
really tough fight to
smoked,
take.
though.
He's probably second guessing what duo this
I
is as
could
well.
start
Don't forget,
naming off
you
NBA
obviously
players
have the
who
likes
smoke.
of Acorn and Cold and everyone else that lands not too far off. They tend to kind of get and rotate and position near each other. But no information downloaded just yet. This is just, again, a battle. A real scrappy one at that.
Well,
Curly
yeah,
and
you
Tyler
have to
put up
think
a
about this.
really good
I just
defense.
found out that
And it's not just
Uh,
encrypted in the
the
distance. It's
NBA
playing for
wasn't,
Webster.
like,
It's Nut and CDZ on the
as
top side
cool
of that
with
mountain.
it
Probably watching the feed,
until
waiting
like
for one of these guys to fall.
2023,
Hope it gets
and I
another
was like, dude,
elimination
that
on
was
the
like
quick as
3
well,
years
keeping it
ago.
going
Holy
on the
shit.
Golden Grove side of the map of Pollo. Any open space, the shots from Tyler Curly are connecting, but there goes a big shot to kind of slow down the roll that Curly has been on so far in this fight, but no extra
Come on,
HP heals.
Pete.
Peterbot
Goddamn.
has just gone down. Game 12, the pressure is on Pollo yet again. Shockwaving to try to create distance, but that
Oh,
one's not
no.
going to work, and in comes that third party. Oh no is right. CDZ and Nut are the ones to take down Pollo and eventually lead to them getting sent back to the lobby.
That's the first time we've seen Peterbot and Pollo fall in a final game when they're on the hunt for a first place run. And who knows how long, to be honest, or ever for that matter. But either way, I like what was going on there. I like the idea they needed to close the gap.
I'm not gonna
with
lie,
eliminations. The
I
same
think
way
I'm about to
other
fucking
teams
cry
looking
for
to push it
Peterbot
right
and
now.
Pollo right now.
However,
Holy shit.
Tyler and Curly, where was this all tournament long? They have dug in deep, and they're in the trenches right now playing very well.
And even now the third party is on the back foot. Nuts already down. CDZ just trying to survive. And he meets that same fate. Tyler and Curly, a couple quick eliminations here to rise up that leaderboard. Just trying to get into the next money pocket threshold. Just trying to increase their earnings for this tournament. But again, the struggles. Not sure how Rapid went down, but Clicks is literally by himself. And he is that line.
This is really bad. This is even worse for Moneymaker and Phenom because they were so close to Clicks and Rapid. Like, all they have to do is genuinely outperform them and then outplace them by a decent margin. And we'll wrap it down. Contrap and Darcy have actually singled out Clicks. They know he's here. Clicks has to play very well. How badly does he want it? We know he's got a big gap between him and everyone else, but again, you don't want to give Victor V and Queasy the runway, because if you do, they might run away with it. Pressure's on
Especially
Clicks.
Queasy and Victor V are not even necessarily the target or anybody's radar. This is a
Rapid
huge
step.
moment
Oh
here
God,
for Clicks,
please no.
essentially playing for a
Please
global
no.
championship spot.
Not
in
to
this
Clicks
fight.
too, bro.
In a 1v2. There is a whole nother team just to the right of them at a mending machine. Maybe Clicks is hoping somebody else hears that and looks to crash the
Please
party,
don't
but
do
as of
it.
now, you can see he's burning through every single resource that he has. Material being dwindled down. He does have some extra bigs, but he hasn't taken too much damage
No.
to dig that deep into his resources. And it's Boji and Alongo,
No.
the ones on the other side.
I was
Stay
gonna
the
say,
fuck
you also
away
haven't
from Clicks.
given damage either. So because you haven't given the damage, that team's not going to respect you enough to back off just yet. Instead, they're taking shots, trying to fish through the builds, weakening them so they can get visuals to look through. Clicks just has to kind of wait this one out. Darcy, Contrap keeping their HP up. The fact that they're using Chug Jugs is telling us that they're probably
Yo,
looking
this
to
is
stick
a
around for quite a
46th
while.
place team, and they're griefing Clicks right now.
Goes
Get the fuck
Versus
out of
Boss
here!
2v1. This is where they're trying to use their numbers.
Uh-oh.
But it doesn't
Nice.
necessarily
Uh-oh.
work for him. Big shot from Clicks, slowing
Come
him
on,
down.
Clicks.
Now Alongo
Show 'em
and
what
Boji
you're
have heard
about.
Enough noise. They're making their way on over. And
Yep,
this
heal
could
up,
be the
heal up.
miracle he's looking for. He's been using this Chug Jug the entire time to keep himself topped off. So one shot or a move like this doesn't take him down. And he is like water flowing through these builds to stay alive. Misses that first shot, but he is doing so much
Oh!
to keep him and
Knocked
Rapid
one.
in contention. That first first down is going to be the biggest one. Trying to alleviate some of that pressure. Contrap drops right back on down, and Clicks is missing a couple shots here, but he is still keeping ahead in this fight.
Come on.
He's playing.
Come
He's
on,
playing
Clicks.
well right now.
Come
4
on.
points. A new team.
Oh, he's
comes
getting
in
third
and takes
partied.
the little bit there. He does get a
Oh, he's
couple
getting
extra
full
back.
lobby
Can he
now.
scramble
What
out
the
of
fuck is
box here? I'm not sure if he's going to be able to survive, but another duo comes crashing in. He actually gets bailed out. Clicks might be able to go just a little bit further here.
Yeah, he tries to stop the heals. He doesn't want to give up too much information here. Curly and Tyler, they don't know, but they have just rescued Clicks here out from the depths of potentially going down. And since Bochi is still here moving around, they can't even shift their focus on over to see how many players are still here. And he's going to use that, Monster. He's going to use this as a moment to finally disengage. But without too many white heals, he is on a clock.
And remember,
Just
he's earned a
there-
couple more
no.
points. So for anyone who's
That's
trying
where
to
they
push
are.
onto the heels of Clicks and Rapid, these points are the worst
go.
case
Clicks got away
scenario
at
for you.
least.
And now Clicks gets to sit in the distance. He still has that med kit. He's got a little bit
He
more to
needs
work
to
with.
get the hell out of
He can
here.
comfortably rotate here. What a turn of events there, Jacob.
Wow. That's all I can really
Big
say
fucking
after
Clicks,
watching
dude.
all that shakeout.
Holy
wow,
shit.
This is some of the best Fortnite we have seen Clicks play in such a long time. Don't let the position on the leaderboard fool you, because he right now is the sole reason why they are still in this game. As you see, Veno Agers much higher up on that leaderboard in a much more comfortable spot for sure, but don't like what they're seeing here out of Reet and Cooper. They could potentially try to take this fight, but if they go down, it was almost all for nothing because they are literally right there, 18 points away from the next placement.
18 points away. Cold and Ritual, just 30 for Muzz and Rise. Taking a look at what's happening right here. Zone's pulling to the top left
Oh my
of the map here. It's
god.
the first time in a while we've seen one actually draw this far up. It's gonna be pretty
I'm
interesting.
starting to freak out.
Kind of see how everybody, there's a couple teams outside of the zone.
This
most
is
of the teams that you
because
see up close
it's
to coast,
game 12,
that
the last
little
game,
arrow
like,
down below on the
I'm already
side. That's
freaking
Clicks
sad, but, like,
trying to
at the
survive
same
down
time,
there.
I'm just
Only
like,
one arrow,
holy
so
shit.
Rapid is not up just yet, but you can see the journey they have in front of them.
Clicks
Cluster,
is still
Shaken,
alive,
Sinister,
solo clutching,
Frosted,
like,
and then they reach
big
the zone of
motherfucking
the
Clicks. Let's go,
Battlewoods.
baby.
Yeah, look at how much of a long way he's got to go. But he is still very much motivated and in this game. And hey, at the end of the day, with how fast the
5
lobby
seconds.
has
No,
continued to cut its way out, for all we know, he might steal away some cheeky placement points before we even get there. But we'll just have to see. Veno and Agers still fighting to close the gap here. No elims just
Probably.
yet. That's going to be the first one onto Cooper. Reed shortly after. They
I feel like
finished
this
the
is a
job, and
conversation
Reed and
that we
Cooper's
would have
run
to have
the
with
finals
Mikey,
is
you
now
know?
over. Just like that, Agers and Veno
But-
secure 8 points.
I don't know.
That's a team. This isn't the first time they face each other throughout this tournament. And even with this one kind of being over, Reet and Cooper, game 12 sent back to the lobby, I can assure you, Monster, this is the last time we're going to see these two teams face off in an FNCS tournament. Particularly with maybe something on the line. As we see towards the Battlewood, closer towards the zone, Bolts and Acorn, our first place team with a little bit of a cushion.
Acorn's
they
about to
managed to
get
rotate
another
very
fucking
quickly away
FNCS.
from
Here it
Frosted
comes.
Flats and trying to get one of those priority positions
Unless someone
where
can
they're near
fucking
one of the
take 'em
buildings,
out.
elevated up so they can't get stuck down low towards the bottom.
Must be nice having a nice little lead coming into
We
the
just
game,
rebooted.
pulling the zones.
Oh
getting
shit, Rapid's
rotates,
back.
like
Let's
Bolts and
fucking
Acorn
go.
are just
Clicks
doing
isn't
it
solo
right now.
clutch no more.
How many wins is this for Acorn at this point? He is starting to really rack them up.
Be done for.
Definitely one of the better IGLs that we have in the history.
Oh, look
of
at that.
Fortnite.
So
He
you
had a
got
streak
Bat
winning
out of
major
Battlewoods
runs. That
on
one,
there. You
once
just need
again,
to take.
got stopped here, but
We might have
we can go
answers.
ahead and make up for it with a major 2 victory, especially for Bolts coming on over from NA West. Before Central became one region, Bolts won the last FNCS on West, came over, had multiple top placings like we saw on day 1 with Kelly, Vivid, and Zeke breaking it down. Bolts is just that guy. You pair him with one of the greats, these are the results you will see. Muzz and Rise looking good. You can kind of see
Oh, yeah.
a decent amount of our players at the top side of the leaderboard have no real contention at this side of the game.
Well, here's our next team that's looking to claw their way to globals. Queasy and Victor V, they have the damage, but I think they will need a win. I think they will also need over 10 elims, and more importantly, they will have to stomp out Josh, Yamzo, or Clicks and Rapid, and that is no easy task right now.
Now you're hurting my brain, dude.
I will say, though, the blessings are in their favor. You see where the zone is at? Not too far away from their actual POI. They're 300 above the damage threshold. So while Storm Surge pops, other players going to probably trade off shots in the distance, get close quarters, box-to-box type fights. They have created themselves a distance away from everybody else and potential danger. So it shouldn't necessarily be a problem, or at least not for now. We'll see where the zone continues to flow. And again, Monster, it's working in Queasy and Victor V's favor as we move towards the north.
Wait, did we ever get that update with Clicks? Did he actually make it? I don't even know at this point. Because remember, he is the line as well. Last we saw him, he was deep in the storm trying to rotate. On the other side, though, look at Bolts and Acorn making these very fast rotates. They are wasting no time. They're putting everything on the line, using these shockwaves early, make it to the half and half out. Meanwhile, Muzz and Rise are down.
No.
The championship run has come to a close, and we wanted to see them do well. They came so close there, Jacob, but in the end, third place is where they sit now.
Yep, gotta be happy that you kind of essentially qualified for the global championship. But, you know, you're so close to the win. It all depends on how you look at it, and we know how these competitors are. If they're not first, they're last, or at least that's what they have in their minds. But maybe tomorrow they'll begin to celebrate. Clicks does get Rapid. This is the update you were looking for. I know he had the reboot off, but I was questioning the material. I was questioning the loadout. I don't know where this key leads, but I'm sure it is long gone behind him because he was carrying that when he was at the Sanctuary.
Hey, he's got it, though. It's in his pocket. That's all that matters. Hopefully it brings him a little bit of luck right now. Well, 27. As far as the remaining duos in the game, 26 now. Placement points are going to start being given out here shortly. Yamzo, Josh still cooking here on the low ground. For Yamzo and Josh at this point, it's a fight for the dollar signs as they're earning their weight closer and closer through. Globals is only getting more and more interesting as you start looking at who is going to be earning their qual spots now.
Trying to go ahead and get that next money placement. Every placement, as you were saying, you've been alluding to, is just more and more money. They're past the pockets and into the individuals. As ritual. They're not just fighting for money, still fighting for that first place spot. I see a lot shaking out.
He ugly as shit,
dude. Look just a little bit and continue to progress with their surge. And you're kind of seeing the check-in from multiple teams around the lobby. Clicks and Rapid still looking strong, and now we've reached the meat and the potatoes, which is those placement points. They've gotten 2 so far, which isn't many, but the longer Clicks and Rapid stay in this game, the more chances of it becoming mathematically impossible for anybody else.
Yeah, that's right. I did see Victor and Queasy still rotating through. Remember, they need a win at this point, and they are playing for the high ground. But if Clicks and Rapid are still standing, that win condition is out of the window. Curve, BATMANBUGHA trying to fight for a top 3 spot. Can they overtake Peterbot and Muzz's position? For Ritual and Cold, it's a race to maintain first place here and win this entire tournament.
Nobody said it was going to be smooth sailing. 50 below the damage threshold, gets worse, falls to 67, but they're not necessarily losing focus. They know what it feels like to be below surge, the back of zone, so they're trying to take it one step at a time, get towards the front, open up that window, and look back, and that's how they're going to try to get
kind of
those
how
numbers.
I
Victor
felt
being
every
Queasy
time.
up above. It's just something they're not going to have to deal with here. 6 players need to go down. Storm Surge will turn off.
Even when it was just me and you, brother, played, I was just like, dude, I just want this to be over.
And eventually damage from Vic.
This is what they need. Clicks falls on the rotate. 24, 41 below. Couple players still have to fall here. Rapid needs to jump in. He gets Tyler. 4 more points for Rapid and Clicks, keeping the tournament dream alive.
Listen.
55 above now. That's going to alleviate a little bit of pressure. Rapid gets to clutch this one out by himself now. A little bit of lobby focus, though, as he's in the ultimate low ground. But look at high ground. Position up. Victor and Queasy need to start finding eliminations before
what you talking about? You rock this game?
Yeah, that's going to be the most important thing, because when it's
I hate
not
it
going to be
sometimes
enough,
too, but
Bolts
It's a
Acorn, they
hate-love
find themselves their
relationship.
first elimination of this game. 4 more points. There's
Oh,
Rapid and Clicks go down.
Clicks and Rapid are
place.
dead.
All eyes on
No.
Queasy and Victor V. They are the ones that are next up.
They're the ones that could potentially qual if they can win the game and pull through. But first, you gotta get through all the other teams. Veno, Ager still standing now. Take a look at who's alive.
still got
you see Ritual and Cold here.
motherfucking Big
find their
Higgs
first
down there
elimination.
still.
Finally,
Come on,
they're
Higgs.
also starting to close the gap. But
That's
if
who
you
I
want
go
the
for now, I
championship run,
guess.
You need to do more, and Cold
Oh.
and Ritual are starting to do it.
They find another
I felt that,
elimination,
E-Rock,
taking apart
for
Golden
real.
and Ozone. The
This game-
materials, even though it might be few, it's plenty for them in this situation.
Almost a lot of
They
the time
too
serve
soon.
as a
They
pain
bleed
in
through
the ass.
fields. Ritual goes down. Cold thinks about the decision for the revive, but more spray comes their way. He has to abandon ship, and now if he wants to win this FNCS, it's going to be as a solo.
That was to the hands of Curve there. Meanwhile, a fight for high ground.
Bolt's
Batman
still
Bugha,
alive.
Curve coming through. Higgs and Curve want to do it. They're putting it all on the line. Barely any mats to work with. Bolt's holding on here. Bolt's is also a solo. That means that
Nah,
the points
you
are going to
see,
get even more
Higgs
condensed
just
now,
made
but
the
Cold is
story
still in this. Does
for
Cold want
tonight
it
a
more
lot
than
better.
Bolt? Can he outperform him here and now and overtake him by 30
Big shout out
plus
to
points?
Higgs.
Who's going to be the first to fall? Who's going to be one step
What
closer to
the
winning the championship?
Cold, what are you doing?
First though,
Never
Bolt's
mind.
with a monster shot there, gets the knock shortly afterwards. Jacob, this is close.
Yeah, Bolts goes down outside of the top 10. Cold can still win this. Placement points alone without getting another elimination, but you can see the struggle he's going through. Even Bolts on the other side has to figure out a way down, but Cold is going to get eliminated, and
Is that
going to
Bugha
be
still
it.
alive
Bolts and
too?
Acorn
What
are your
the hell?
FNCS Major 2 champions. Even with 0 builds left, you can see he wants to win this game because winning is not enough. He wants to be the best in the world, and there goes a big
Oh my
elimination onto
God.
Vert. He is not done just yet.
It's over.
Way to put the
Bolts
icing on the
is
cake. Bolts
Acorn
really
and Bolts
flexing
are the
what he is
Major 2
capable of.
FNCS
The
champ.
adrenaline's running.
Maybe?
Another knock for good measure, and just
Maybe?
like that, the highlight
Wait,
reel
who's
starts
second
to
place?
rack up. Meanwhile,
Ritual,
Veno
Cold.
Agers
Oh,
fighting for
yeah, no.
more placement
It's done.
points, more eliminations, more points
It's
for the
done.
money and the dollar signs here at the end of the day. Agers playing the tree.
I think
He's got
Acorn
plenty to
and
work
Bolts
with.
won it.
What a tournament so far it has been.
No, it definitely
Even with
has.
them
And for
dead.
Veno and Agers, they can overtake Higgs and Curve. They can overtake Peterbot and Boyo. They can maybe overtake Muzz and Rise. So they're still fighting for a potential top 3 spot here in the finals. BMJ from the backside, out of Chug. Chug has to go forward. Good amount of damage onto Veno, trying to cut their momentum short. But Agers trying to save the day. He gets the elimination, bringing it down to our final 2v2 situation. Marops and QK are going to be the ones down below. They're trying to strike, not give them time to heal. There goes the first knock, so it's all up to Agers. There's a 9-point difference just for the win, and it's not going to go their way. Marops and QK out of nowhere win the last game of the day.
Nice job for them to go ahead and just pad the stats and finish off their tournament well. But at the end of the day, Jacob, it was a fight for first place there. And it looks like we have our champions. Congratulations there to everyone that competed. Zeke, that's going to be it from us.
Jacob, PR, MDF, fantastic set of games, fantastic cast. Oh my gosh. Of course, Kelly, of course. This comes down to a solo clutch of Cold versus a solo clutch of Bolts. And of course, Fortnite is and does what it does. Acorn and Bolts, though, coming out on top. I can't believe it. And as our casters called out, Bolts going for those moments, making sure he is trying to prove he is the best in the world. Congratulations, Acorn and Bolts, your major
Yep,
2
I'm going to
champions.
because
We
Gonna
saw
do
in
that,
day number
take a
1
shower,
just how
and then
consistent they were, getting an
I'll
average
probably
placement
play
of
some
7 over the
matches
whole 6 games we
afterwards
saw from day
until,
number 1,
the
but
session.
they never placed above 5th place. And then as we started day number 2, Acorn and Bolts looked like they started a little slow, not necessarily bad, but of course it
Dude,
was the
no
penultimate game
way.
where they grabbed their victory royale and 7 eliminations, and that really is where things just
What does that make Acorn freaking how many time 5-time champ now? Holy fuck. Dude, I'm still in like shock right now. Like, dude, fucking crazy. What a movie. The pros were not lying about it. Again, absolute cinema, dude. Holy shit. Bolts and Acorn just went live. I gotta see this. He still got it. Acorn. Alright. My side at least. I'm watching this and not even paying attention. We're gonna raid out though. I got stuff to go fucking do before the session tonight, and yeah, I gotta just take a shower. That's pretty much it. Fucking get this already uploaded. What? I already ate. I ate during the freaking stream. I thought dinner wasn't gonna be done until like, yeah, like that was diabolical. I what was it? I think I ended stream and was like, I'm going to get ready to go eat, and then freaking my mom messaged me saying I just woke up from a nap, getting ready to go get dinner soon, and then I was like, okay, still waiting, and then as soon as I was like, I'm just gonna go get some food, she literally walked in through the door with everything and was getting ready to start, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, dude? It's almost like 10:30.